Chapter 311. The surprising result of the competition. After the martial arts tournament to win partners, the 7th round of matches began, and the top 8 competitors were finally determined. In Xia State's cultivation world, 3 individuals made it into the top 8. Those entering the 8th round included Mount Shu's Lu Changsheng, Blackwater Sect's Pang Yuan, Immeasurable Temple's Monk Wu Li, Great Martial Dynasty's Wu Yu, Inquiry Immortal Pavilion's Xia Ningxiu, Dragon Tiger Sect's Zhang Qinglong, Profound Heaven Sect's Xuanyan Elder, and Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan of Star Pavilion. These 8 individuals were either at the peak of the Unity Realm or possessed the strength of the peak Unity Realm. I hadn't expected that 3 sects from Xia State would have such strong competitors. It's truly surprising. It's quite possible that someone could take victory at the Zhongzhou Convention. After this Zhongzhou Convention, many unparalleled geniuses will surely go to Xia State to seek teachers and learn skills. Strong individuals from sects across all the major domains expressed their surprise. Even Zhongzhou, with only 2 individuals making it into the top 8, couldn't keep up with Xia State's 3. The 8th round of contests began, and the first match saw Lu Changsheng face off against Pang Yuan. Blackwater Sect's sect master Pang Yuan was slightly less powerful than Thousand Swords Manor's Sun Jian and, in the end, was defeated by Lu Changsheng. The second match was Monk Wu Li against the Empress of Great Martial. Monk Wu Li has secluded himself for 10,000 years, achieving the great perfection of the decay and prosperity divine skill, and his comprehension of the Dao is inconceivably profound. Unless something unexpected happens, Monk Wu Li will be victorious. Individuals from Immeasurable Temple, Martial Alliance, Hidden Dragon Temple, and others all believed that Monk Wu Li could defeat the Empress of Great Martial. Li Changjai turned to Lu Changsheng. Lu, how do you see it? Lu Changsheng fell into brief contemplation. The Empress of Great Martial possesses exceptional strength. It seems you have a higher regard for this person, Lu. Yes. After advancing in realm, Lu Changsheng was able to discern that among those of the 9th layer of Unity Realm, the difference in strength between individuals was considerably pronounced. Monk Wu Li and Sun Jian's strength should be more or less equal, but Wu Yu gave Lu Changsheng a sense of oppression that was even stronger than what Sun Jian had brought. Amitabha Buddha, please forgive this monk's impertinence. Monk Wu Li activated his decay and prosperity divine skill, and 2 markedly different auras of life and death spread throughout the arena. All within hundreds of miles witnessed the transition from vibrant summer flowers to total desolation, as everything returned to dead silence. Life and death alternated in the area of hundreds of miles, cycling over and over again. When Monk Wu Li's decay and prosperity divine skill was displayed, the crowd was astonished. Although it was just an immortal grade technique, Monk Wu Li's skill was imbued with countless powers of faith. The comprehension Monk Wu Li had between life and death was alarming. To witness my great crushing heaven palm is your fortune across 3 lifetimes, said Wu Yu, her eyes bursting with divine light. In that instant, Wu Yu's aura surged rapidly. A supremely dominating aura emanated from her, as if she ruled over everything. No, this can't be. How can a cultivator from Wu domain have a more imposing aura than the Master of Thousand Swords Manor? It wasn't just Monk Wu Li, the Empress of Great Martial's strength also exceeded everyone's expectations. Sun Jian had already awakened, his expression dark. Having been defeated by Lu Changsheng, his reputation was severely damaged, and now he was even being compared to Wu Yu. The Empress of Great Martial, Wu Yu, made her move, transforming her hand into a mountain thousands of feet tall to directly suppress Monk Wu Li. As Wu Yu made her move, the heavens and earth changed color. The sun and moon lost their light. Monk Wu Li's eyebrows rose, and an incredibly large Buddha statue appeared, half of it shining with radiant light, the other half surrounded by the aura of death. The giant Buddha struck with a palm, carrying endless oppressive force, withering all in its path. The Buddha statue collided with the jade hand, and the 1,000-foot-tall Buddha ultimately succumbed. The ground caved in, 100-ton boulders flew about, waves of energy soared hundreds of meters high, and some of the rocks flew towards the spectator stands, only to be stopped by the barrier around it. As if she was an empress in her own right, Wu Yu struck once more with her great crushing heaven palm, and her palm power covered the ground and Monk Wu Li below as if devouring heaven and earth. This is a martial technique that surpasses the rank of immortal. Grandmaster Chen and others from the Martial Alliance watched Wu Yu's move hysterically. Wu Yu's great crushing heaven palm surpassed immortal grade martial techniques like Beiji Fist and Wing Chun Fist, going beyond the limits of this realm. Not just Grandmaster Chen, but even Tang Wanzan and Zhang Qinglong, the peak Unity Realm powerhouses, were deeply shaken by Wu Yu's power. Wu Yu was not a strong individual from Zhongzhou but a peerless powerhouse born to the royal family of the great martial dynasty from Wu domain, having the potential to compete for the first place in the Zhongzhou discussion of the Dao. Monk Wu Le was completely on the defensive, hoping to wait until Wu Yu's true qi was depleted before counterattacking. However, Wu Yu's true qi appeared to be infinite, suppressing the giant Buddha conjured by Monk Wu Le deep underground. Amitabha Buddha, fair lady, your cultivation is profound, and you are well versed in martial arts, this monk is no match for you and hereby concedes, said Monk Wu Le as he knew he was outmatched and decided to stop there. Wu Yu stopped her attack, and her face, exquisite and majestic, was covered with sweat. Monk Wu Le was not easy to defeat, and it had cost her a substantial amount of true qi. Wu Yu looked towards Lu Changsheng. As she advanced to the top 4, and with Lu Changsheng in the same bracket, her next opponent would be Lu Changsheng. Both were favored children of heaven, and the outcome of their battle was unpredictable. The next match was Xia Ningxiu against Dragon Tiger Sect Master Zhang Qinglong. Come on! Lu Changsheng sent Xia Ningxiu a look of encouragement. He and Xia Ningxiu had spent 700 years alone together in the cultivation space, their hearts understanding each other without the need for words. Xia Ningxiu nodded. Carrying the immortal slaying sword on her back, she proceeded to the battleground. Dragon Tiger Sect Master Zhang Qinglong, although unarmed, was not to be underestimated. His Dragon Tiger skill had reached great accomplishment, and his physique could rival an immortal artifact. Moreover, he was a master of talismans, unpredictable and difficult to defend against. Fairy Xia of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion may be exceptionally talented and has performed admirably, but Zhang Qinglong is the sect master of Dragon Tiger Sect, with strength in Zhongzhou likely second only to Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan of Star Pavilion. It seems Fairy Xia is set for defeat, some opined. Chapter 312. As the Zhongzhou Grand Meeting progresses, the challenges only become tougher, and with numerous experts at every turn, Fairy Xia can only go so far. None of the strong contenders from the great states held a favorable view of Xia Ningxiu. Zhang Qinglong was a long-established figure in Zhongzhou, how could Xia Ningxiu, with just a few years of cultivation, hope to defeat a personage like the sect master of Dragon Tiger Sect? Zhang Qinglong's eyes harbored ill intentions. The disciple of Lu Changsheng, Shen Xiaoao, had stolen the spotlight from his son, Changsheng, and he felt compelled to defeat Xia Ningxiu to teach Lu Changsheng a lesson. With a grand gesture, Zhang Qinglong removed his daoist robe, revealing his practice attire underneath. The attire and his arms, legs wrapped with strips of high-level talismans, not lacking 8th, 9th, and even 10th grade talismans, our Dragon Tiger Sect cultivates the great path of talismans, you stand no chance against me. Xia Ningxiu remained unfazed, and with a gesture from her right hand, the immortal slaying sword behind her soared into the sky, a powerful and extreme killing intent pulsing through it, sending shivers down one's spine. The immortal slaying sword, true to its name, could slaughter even immortals. Upon the sword's unveiling, the sect master of Profound Heaven Sect, Xuanyan Elder, saw a trace of unusual light flicker in his eyes. When Xia Ningxiu unleashed the unnamed swordsmanship of Qingxia ancient cave with the immortal slaying sword, even the space itself shook. Xia Ningxiu's eyes were bright, her white dress pure as snow, her cold ice sword qi intertwined as if she were a sword immortal from the 9 heavens. This is a swordsmanship that surpasses sacred tier. Apart from Thousand Swords Manor and Mount Shu, here's another set of sacred tier swordsmanship. A sect from Xia State, hardly noticeable before, actually possesses swordsmanship on par with the sect defending skills of Thousand Swords Manor, truly inconceivable. The strong contestants from the major states were once more shocked, as this Zhongzhou Grand Meeting saw the emergence of 3 sets of sacred tier swordsmanship, an unprecedented feat. Even the people of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion were taken aback, at a loss as to when Xia Ningxiu had mastered a set of sacred tier swordsmanship, let alone in such astonishing fashion. This was a peerless swordsmanship that every sword cultivator dreamed of mastering. Xia Ningxiu might not necessarily lose. In the cultivation space, Lu Changsheng had sparred with Xia Ningxiu more than once using swordsmanship. With her mastery of the sacred tier unnamed swordsmanship of Qingxia ancient cave, she might not necessarily lose to Zhang Qinglong. The 2 cultivators from Xia State have really taken me by surprise. There's a chance that Zhang Qinglong could be defeated. The Fairy Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion was taken aback by the power displayed by the Pavilion Master of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion. Everyone watched in breathless anticipation as this earth-shattering showdown unfolded, Xiaoningsu's sword moves ever-changing, matching Changsheng, the sect master of Dragon Tiger sect, move for move. The sword light emitted by the immortal slaying sword posed a threat to Changsheng, who had achieved great accomplishment in the Dragon Tiger skill. Xiaoningsu consumed an ancestral dragon multiplying pill of the 11th grade, the brilliance of her sword growing even sharper. Fueled by the unceasing spiritual energy provided by the ancestral dragon multiplying pill, Xiaoningsu swept aside Zhang Qinglong's array of talismans with her supreme swordsmanship. Sword chi left numerous bloody gashes on Zhang Qinglong's body. Half an hour later, in front of the astonished eyes of Dragon Tiger sect's elders and disciples, their sect master was defeated, panting heavily. Xiaoningsu's stunningly beautiful face turned slightly pale. Although she had nearly exhausted her full strength to defeat the sect master of Dragon Tiger sect, in the end, Xiaoningsu was victorious. With a flick of her jade-like fingers, the immortal slaying sword returned to its sheath behind her. There was complete silence among the crowd. Zhang Qinglong, the second strongest contender in Zhongzhou, was actually defeated by Xiaoningsu, who had no prior fame. For Xia State to have two cultivators reach the top 4 in the Zhongzhou Grand Meeting, it's beyond imagination. Thousand Swords Manor stopped at top 32, Dragon Tiger sect at top 8, these two major sects have truly lost face. The crowd murmured secretly amongst themselves, still shocked for a long time. The faces of the elders and disciples of Dragon Tiger sect were ashen, their expressions ugly. Their sect master being defeated by an unknown junior didn't reflect well on them either. Father! Changsheng hurriedly went forward to help Zhang Qinglong, who was half kneeling on the ground. I'm fine. Zhang Qinglong's eyes were fierce. He couldn't believe that, even having mastered the sect-defending Dragon Tiger skill to a great extent and having achieved the Dragon Tiger divine body, he was still defeated by Xiaoningsu with the immortal slaying sword. Moreover, Zhang Qinglong felt humiliated to be defeated under the watchful eyes of the strong contenders from all the major states, leaving in disgrace. Zhang Qinglong, I didn't expect you to lose to a mere woman. Sun Jian of Thousand Swords Manor sent a private message to Zhang Qinglong of Dragon Tiger sect. Sun Jian, don't forget, you stopped at the top 32, even more embarrassing than me. Humph, now is not the time for infighting between us. Zhang Qinglong, both our Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect have been brought down by Mount Shu and Inquiry Immortal Pavilion of Xia State. How about our two sects join forces and later go to Xia State to take back our pride? Sun Jian's eyes flashed with murderous intent. In front of everyone, Lu Changsheng defeated him, filling Sun Jian with hatred towards Lu Changsheng. He was, after all, the Grand Master of Thousand Swords Manor. Zhang Qinglong's eyes hardened. He didn't expect Sun Jian to be so ruthless, failing to defeat Lu Changsheng himself, he actually wanted to use the entire sect's power to annihilate Mount Shu. Mount Shu and Inquiry Immortal Pavilion both have two Unity Realm peak combatants, as well as a group of supreme elders. Even immeasurable temple might intervene. Our two major sects will also pay a hefty price to eradicate Mount Shu and Inquiry Immortal Pavilion. Allow me to consider it. Zhang Qinglong was also harboring a surge of anger. However, as the sect master of Dragon Tiger sect, he had to weigh the pros and cons. Mount Shu and Inquiry Immortal Pavilion's overall strength was not on par with Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect, but if both major sects fought desperately, Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect would, at the very least, lose several or even more than a dozen Unity Realm Supreme Elders. Today's final match will be between our Star Pavilion's Pavilion Master and Swanyan Elder from Profound Heaven sect. A Supreme Elder of Star Pavilion announced the last match. Profound Heaven sect is an unknown sect that has never achieved any significant results in the Zhongzhou Conference. It's already impressive that Profound Heaven sect has made it into the top 8. I think they will stop at the quarterfinals. The Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion is regarded as the strongest in Zhongzhou. With his strength, he should be able to make it to the finals. Let's just wait and see. All the spectators watching the fight were convinced that the Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion would ultimately be victorious. Those entering the 9th round of the competition are very likely to be Lu Changsheng, Wu Yu, Xiaoningsu, and Tang Wanzhen. Both Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong, two peerless powerhouses, believed that Pavilion Master Tang Wanzhen was certain to enter the top 4. Lu Changshen's eyebrows were tightly knit. For some reason, there was a familiar aura about Swanyan Elder. Lu, do you believe the Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion is no match for Swanyan Elder? Zhao Huiyan saw through Lu Changshen's thoughts. Lu Changsheng said seriously, it's hard to say, I can't see Xuanyan Elder's true power. Even you, Lu, can't discern Xuanyan Elder's cultivation level. What is his background? Zhao Huiyan went around gathering information from various sects. Profound Heaven sect was nothing more than the 6th-ranked sect in Dan state. Xuanyan Elder, having long been in seclusion and seldom shown himself, had recently emerged to participate in the Zhongzhou conference, shining brightly and making it into the top 8. Finally, we get to witness the power of Star Pavilion's sect defending skill, the Great Desolation Art. Wu Yu wanted to see the Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion's ultimate technique. Previously, just using his sacred tier martial techniques, the Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion had defeated all his opponents. Xuanyan Elder took the field, leaning on a walking stick. His muddy eyes suddenly turned as deep as black holes, as if seeing through the true form of the Pavilion Master of Star Pavilion. Young man, you have good potential, but unfortunately, you've met me. What arrogance! Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan wanted to see through Xuanyan Elder's cultivation level. However, Xuanyan Elder had obscured his own aura, and even with Tang Wanzan's realm, he could not determine Xuanyan Elder's cultivation level. No, it can't be. How could this happen? Within less than half an hour, all the powerful figures of the various states were shaken. Both the Supreme Elders and Disciples of Star Pavilion, including Tang Linger and the Unity Realm woman, turned pale. Zhongzhou's #1 powerhouse, Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan, was defeated by Xuanyan Elder from Profound Heaven sect. Huff, huff, huff. Tang Wanzan was gasping for air, and bright red blood trickled down his arm, dropping to the ground, blurring his vision. In front of him, Xuanyan Elder had only suffered minor injuries, looked relaxed, and seemed to have not yet exerted his full strength. Who exactly are you? Tang Wanzan couldn't believe it. The sect defending skill of Star Pavilion, the Great Desolation Art, was unable to inflict serious damage on this man. Instead, he was injured by Xuanyan Elder's cold energy in his meridians, almost having his cultivation disabled. This is the end, Great Profound Yin Finger. Xuanyan Elder pointed out, and his finger force pierced through space, penetrating Tang Wanzan's chest. Father! Tang Linger's face turned pale with fright. Tang Wanzan might be killed. Chapter 313. Pavilion Master. The Star Pavilion's elders and disciples were greatly shocked, each rushing to the competition stage to check on Tang Wanzan's condition. Zhongzhou's #1 expert, Tang Wanzan, had actually been defeated by the obscure Xuanyan Elder. Rest assured, I am aware of the rules of the Zhongzhou conference. I will not kill him, and he is not my target anyway. The Xuanyan Elder looked towards Lu Changsheng, who felt like he had fallen into an abyss as a chill enveloped him. The Xuanyan Elder was very strong. The Star Pavilion's Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan was stronger than Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong, but completely no match for Xuanyan Elder in his presence. Even at the highest realm in this world, Unity Realm Layer 9, Xuanyan Elder's combat instincts and cultivation technique completely suppressed Tang Wanzan. Despicable! The elders of Star Pavilion were filled with righteous indignation, wanting to kill Xuanyan Elder. Do not act recklessly. Our Star Pavilion is not a sore loser. With Tang Wanzan down, Lady Tang stopped the people of Star Pavilion. As the host of the Zhongzhou conference and the #1 sect in this realm, what would become of Star Pavilion's reputation if they could not accept defeat and resorted to murder? Who would dare to attend the Zhongzhou conference in the future? Lady Tang spared no expense with elixir pills, giving Tang Wanzan a heavenly fragrance life renewal pill to save his life. Tang Linger asked anxiously, Mother, is father all right? Lady Tang's face showed concern. Your father's life is not in great danger, but his dantian was damaged by the force of the Great Profound Yin Finger, which will likely affect his ascension to the immortal realm in the future. Given your father's proud nature, I'm afraid his Dao heart will collapse because of this. Tang Linger saw Xuanyan Elder intentionally targeting and damaging Tang Wanzan's dantian even when Tang Wanzan was bound to lose, her eyes blazing with fury. After the conclusion of this Zhongzhou conference, Tang Wanzan was supposed to ascend to the immortal realm, but now with his dantian damaged, he certainly could not survive the heavenly tribulation. Linger, do not be impulsive. Lady Tang held back Tang Linger. If Tang Wanzan, the strongest in Star Pavilion, was no match for Xuanyan Elder, then with just a flick of his finger, Xuanyan Elder could kill Tang Linger should he wish to. The watching powerhouses from all major territories were utterly horrified, even the Unity Realm great achievers like Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong were stunned into silence. The unanimously acknowledged strongest, Star Pavilion's Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan, had actually lost to a common sect master. Xuanyan Elder was clearly a level above Tang Wanzan. The victor of today's fourth match is the sect master of Profound Heaven Sect, Xuanyan Elder. The Supreme Elder of Star Pavilion, in his shock, announced the results of the 8th round. Lu Changsheng of Mount Shu, Martial King Wu Yu of the Great Martial Dynasty, Xianingsu of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, and Xuanyan Elder of Profound Heaven Sect advanced to the top 4 of the Zhongzhou Conference, while the 3 powerhouses of the 3 great sects of Zhongzhou were all eliminated. Such an outcome left everyone in utter shock. No one had anticipated this result for the Zhongzhou Conference, that the most favored strong experts of Zhongzhou would all be defeated by cultivators from other territories. In the next match, you will face Xuanyan Elder. You are no match for him, and if you cannot hold on, concede as soon as possible. Having witnessed Xuanyan Elder's methods, Lu Changsheng knew Xuanyan Elder was extremely powerful. Even Lu Changsheng himself was not sure he could defeat Xuanyan Elder, much less Xianingsu. Xianingsu's eyes were firm, not resembling someone who would easily admit defeat. Xiaoao, after this you'll accompany me to visit Star Pavilion. As the Star Pavilion's in-law, Lu Changshen's disciple Shen Xiaoao naturally couldn't be without a gesture of goodwill. Before visiting the Star Pavilion, Lu Changsheng called his eldest disciple Lin Qingzi and rewarded him with a 9th grade immortal pill, the Heavenly Fragrance Life Renewal Pill. With Tang Wanzan's Danshan injured and considering his level of cultivation, even the Heavenly Fragrance Life Renewal Pill could not heal him. Unless he received a higher quality elixir pills. Ding! You have gifted your disciple Lin Qingzi with a 9th grade elixir pill Heavenly Fragrance Life Renewal Pill, and received a 100-fold return reward of a 10th grade elixir pill Heaven Fragrance Immortal Herb Pill. Lu Changsheng gifted his disciple 5 times in a row, and each time the returned elixir pills were Heaven Fragrance Immortal Herb Pills. It was estimated that even the 10th grade elixir pill could not resolve the profound yin energy within Tang Wanzan's body. Today, there was only one last opportunity left to instruct a disciple. Ding! You have gifted your disciple Lin Qingzi with a 9th grade elixir pill Heavenly Fragrance Life Renewal Pill, and received a 10,000-fold return reward of an 11th grade elixir pill 9 Yang Revival Pill. 9 Yang Revival Pill, an 11th grade immortal pill created by an immortal realm alchemist using 9 types of Yang attribute immortal herbs. It can repair meridians, Danshan, Qi-Si, nascent soul, and Dao Palace, turning decay into something miraculous. Lu Changsheng had found precisely the kind of pill he wanted. Lu Changsheng was elated within his heart. The 9 Yang Revival Pill, a priceless 11th grade immortal pill, was something even a mighty sect like Star Pavilion might not possess. Although Star Pavilion had a deep foundation of a million years, such elixir pills would be consumed and were not always kept in reserve. Having obtained the 11th grade immortal pill 9 Yang Revival Pill, Lu Changsheng, accompanied by Shen Xiaoao, went to visit Star Pavilion. The entire Star Pavilion was panicking due to their sect master Tang Wanzan's injury. Tang Wanzan was Star Pavilion's strongest, on the verge of taking the last step to transcend the 9-fold heavenly tribulation and ascend to the immortal realm. But now that Tang Wanzan had been seriously injured and his aptitude damaged, Star Pavilion might lose a place for ascension to the immortal realm. Fortunately, Star Pavilion had a profound foundation, with other Unity Realm great achievers to support the sect. Otherwise Star Pavilion's status as the number 1 sect in Zhongzhou could not be preserved. According to our Star Pavilion's records, there are a few elixir pills that can repair our Pavilion Master's damaged Danshan, including the 11th grade Immortal Pill 9 Yang Revival Pill. Our Star Pavilion historically had 3 9 Yang Revival Pills, but they have all been used up. Now, no one in the world can refine a 9 Yang Revival Pill anymore. Chapter 314. I am the Chief Alchemist of Star Pavilion, and it's regrettable that my skills are not refined enough. At most, I can only create 10th tier immortal pills. As for the 11th tier immortal pills, in the million years of our Star Pavilion, only 2 alchemists have been able to produce them. Otherwise, the Pavilion Master would not have to worry about injuries to the Danshan. An elder with white hair, leaning on a walking stick, arrived. His daist robe bore the pattern of a bagua furnace, identifying him as the Chief Alchemist of Star Pavilion, with an astonishing cultivation of the 6th level in the Unity Realm. Yet, even with his abilities, he could not craft 11th tier immortal pills. Lady Tang's gaze was somber. With Tang Wanzan's pride, he would never resign himself to being mediocre. At that moment, a Star Pavilion disciple came in to report, the sect leader of Mount Shu, along with his disciple Shen Xiaoao, requests an audience, expressing the desire to assess the pavilion master's injuries. What could he possibly do? If the chief alchemist of Star Pavilion couldn't create 11th tier immortal pills and was helpless against Tang Wanzan's injuries, he did not believe Lu Changsheng would have a solution after learning about the injuries. Bring him in. After considering for a moment, Lady Tang decided that, regardless of whether Lu Changsheng had a solution or not, Shen Xiaoao was the fiancé designated by Tang Wanzan, and Lu Changsheng was Xiaoao's master. Ultimately, she had to meet him. Soon, Lu Changsheng and Shen Xiaoao, led by a Star Pavilion disciple, arrived at the upper levels of the Star Pavilion. Seeing Tang Linger's eyes red in her unceasing tears, Shen Xiaoao's heart ached. Linger, I will certainly avenge your father. Once we reach great accomplishment in the Unity Realm, we'll go and settle the score with the Swanyan Elder, eye for an eye. Tang Linger wiped away her tears, feeling much better because of Shen Xiaoao's words. Cough cough, Lady Tang, I have some understanding of medicine. May I be allowed to examine Pavilion Master Tang's injuries? Perhaps I can offer the right remedy. Lu Changsheng had brought quite a few immortal pills, so Tang Wanzan's injuries might not be much of an issue. Lady Tang's eyes brightened. Sect Master Lu has an exceptional cultivation, and you're knowledgeable in medicine as well. The chief alchemist said from the side, Sect Master Lu, I have already examined our Pavilion Master's injuries, and only an 11th tier immortal pill like the 9 Yang Revival pill can heal them. Even if you're proficient in medicine, without such pills, not even a divine healer could do anything. 9 Yang Revival pill? Lu Changsheng actually did possess such a high tier immortal pill. Lu Changsheng flipped his palm, and a purple gold bagwagord appeared in his hand. Is this the kind of elixir the elder is referring to? Everyone from Star Pavilion was utterly shocked. Could it be that Lu Changsheng truly had such high-tier immortal pills? It should be noted that even the chief alchemist of Star Pavilion could only produce 10th-tier immortal pills. With skepticism and hope, the chief alchemist received the purple gold bagwagord, removed the stopper, and a wave of warmth filled the hall, like basking in a spring breeze. This is truly a 9 Yang Revival pill. Inconceivable, there's actually another place in the world that possesses this supreme grade immortal pill. The chief alchemist's pupils dilated, he took a deep breath, and when he looked at Lu Changsheng again, his eyes could no longer harbor any disregard. Instead, he held Lu Changsheng in extremely high regard. Lu Changsheng actually possessed a long-lost immortal pill. Sect Master Lu, what is the value of this pill? Regardless of the cost, our Star Pavilion is willing to discuss it. Lady Tang, who had lost all hope, felt that if the 9 Yang Revival pill could heal her husband's injuries, then Star Pavilion was prepared to pay a tremendous price, no matter what. My disciple is about to marry Miss Tang, and we at Mount Shu must surely provide a wedding gift. Consider this immortal pill as our gift from Mount Shu. As long as Star Pavilion treats my disciple kindly in the future, that will be enough. Lu Changsheng casually gave away the 11th tier immortal pill. An 11th tier immortal pill didn't mean much to Lu Changsheng. As long as he continued teaching his disciples, the number of 11th tier immortal pills would only increase. For Star Pavilion, however, the 11th tier immortal pill was the highest grade elixir they could currently obtain. An 11th tier immortal pill as a dowry? It was indeed excessively extravagant. The members of Star Pavilion were all stunned. No one expected the sect leader of Mount Shu to be so generous. Even among the grand sects of Zhongzhou during alliance marriages, they would not present an 11th tier immortal pill. Lady Tang was deeply moved, originally believing that it was Shen Xiaoao who was reaching high, only to find that it was her daughter who was marrying up. This kindness, our Star Pavilion will surely remember. I won't treat my son-in-law unfairly. Lady Tang was a Unity Realm powerhouse, a peerless genius of her generation when she was young, just like Tang Linger, not one to be sentimental. The 11th grade immortal pill, 9 Yang Revival pill, could heal Tang Wanzan's injuries, so Lady Tang graciously accepted it. As for the favor owed, it could be repaid to Shen Xiaoao in the future. Lady Tang administered the 9 Yang Revival pill to Tang Wanzan and then circulated her cultivation technique to help Tang Wanzan refine the medicine's power and repair his injuries. The people of the Star Pavilion held their breath in concentration, anxiously waiting for the final result. It worked. Surprise and joy flickered in Lady Tang's eyes. The 9 Yang Revival pill lived up to its reputation as an 11th grade immortal pill, capable of repairing even the dantian of a peak Unity Realm powerhouse. Cough cough. Tang Wanzan awoke, roughly aware of what had happened. If it were not for Liu Changshen's gift of the 9 Yang revival pill, Tang Wanzan's cultivation level might have dropped, possibly never returning to its current state in his lifetime. I, Tang Wanzan, owe you a favor. The Xuanyan elder is far from an ordinary cultivator, you and your little lover must be cautious when facing him. The Xuanyan elder seems to bear you animosity, if you lose to him, he's likely not just going to cripple your cultivation but may kill you. Tang Wanzan's expression was grave. Having personally clashed with the Xuanyan elder, he knew of the elder's frightfulness. Most likely, the Xuanyan elder still feared the power of the Star Pavilion and did not dare to kill Tang Wanzan, but if the opponent were Liu Changsheng, the outcome might be different. I will deal with him myself. Liu Changsheng did not have complete confidence in defeating the Xuanyan elder, but he was not without strategies. Up to now, Liu Changsheng had yet to exert his full strength. He had never used the 2 ultimate treasures, the Nirvana Flames Red Lotus and the Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda. By merely using his own creation, the Heavenly Earth Mystical Sword technique, Liu Changsheng had defeated Sun Jian from the Thousand Swords manner. Tang Wanzan gazed at Liu Changsheng, and for some reason, the aura Liu Changsheng emitted was similar to that of the Xuanyan elder, both resembled black holes, their exact cultivation level difficult to discern. Tang Wanzan massaged his temples with a headache. In his era, too many powerful figures emerged. He, the pavilion master of the Star Pavilion, had not even entered the top 4. Tang Wanzan was immensely frustrated. Xiaoao, it's time for us to go back. Since Shen Xiaoao and Tang Linger were not yet married, according to etiquette, Shen Xiaoao could not stay in the Star Pavilion, so Liu Changsheng took Shen Xiaoao and left. After Liu Changsheng casually produced an 11th grade immortal pill as a betrothal gift, everyone in the Star Pavilion started to treat Liu Changsheng and Shen Xiaoao with profound respect, no longer underestimating Mount Shu. With the sect leader of Mount Shu possessing the same strength as the pavilion master of the Star Pavilion, and with Mount Shu being able to produce an 11th grade immortal pill, the Star Pavilion had no reason to look down on Mount Shu. There were 7 days left before the 9th round of the competition, so Liu Changsheng continued to teach his disciples during this time, looking to see if the system would return something of good value. However, the 7 days of teaching returns did not yield anything Liu Changsheng was lacking. The 9th round of the competition began, and the first match was between Liu Changsheng and Wu Yu. Wu Yu's style was upright and just, so Liu Changsheng was not worried that the opponent would try to harm him after winning. With a flick of his fingers, the demon-suppressing sword soared into the sky, its sword light reaching for tens of thousands of feet. He intended to use Sacred Tear Sword technique to battle Wu Yu's Great Crushing Heaven Palm. The Taking Heavenly Scriptures cultivation technique circulated, and the Taking True Chi appeared, turning everything around into chaos. Wu Yu's cultivation technique was extremely domineering, her imperial chi of the 9-5 manifesting as a semi-transparent 5-clawed golden dragon, roaring through the 9 heavens. In that moment, Wu Yu was like an empress descending upon the mortal world. Wave after wave of terrifying golden chi surged forward, and Liu Changshen's black sword attire fluttered as he faced the empress's grace. The empress of Great Martial, Wu Yu, was definitely not inferior to the pavilion master of the Star Pavilion. Chapter 315 Great Crushing Heaven Palm. Wu Yu's jade-like hand turned into 1,000 zhang tall divine mountain, pressing towards Liu Changsheng. Before the palm force arrived, the ground where Liu Changsheng stood had already cracked inch by inch. Liu Changsheng summoned the demon-suppressing sword, to meet Wu Yu's sacred tear martial technique. The crowd held their breath and focused their minds, for both Liu Changsheng and Wu Yu were peerless geniuses born into this world, each having created techniques that surpassed the immortal tier. These two are indeed cultivation prodigies, having created sacred tier techniques at the Unity Realm, ascending to the immortal realm is but a matter of time. With their talent, even upon entering the immortal realm, they would outshine the rest of the immortals. The cultivators watching were greatly shocked by the strength of Liu Changsheng and Wu Yu, which reigned supreme over almost all others. The power of their palms and the aura of their swords swept across, causing the earth to sink. Strong figures like Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong, and Tang Wanzan from Zhongzhou were simultaneously moved. Both Liu Changsheng and Wu Yu belonged to the rare geniuses who had created their own cultivation techniques, their talent surpassing that of ordinary prodigies. What is that treasure? It seems not of the level of an ordinary immortal artifact. The crowd exclaimed in surprise as they saw a golden treasure pagoda emerge above Liu Changsheng's head. The treasure pagoda shone with 10,000 beams of golden light, radiating brilliance which blocked the residual force from the great crushing heaven palm. Is that a merit treasure? Wu Yu's eyes lit up as the treasure Lu Changsheng used surpassed all other treasures she had seen. The Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda was a supreme merit treasure that went beyond immortal tier treasures. With the demon-suppressing sword in hand and the Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda above his head, along with both the Taking Heavenly Scripture and the Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Sword technique as his sacred tier cultivation techniques, Lu Changsheng was proficient in both offense and defense. The Empress of Great Martial, Wu Yu's pressure was already substantial, yet Lu Changsheng was not completely suppressed by Wu Yu. Instead, he fought back fiercely and equally. The demon-suppressing sword carried with it a shocking 10,000 zhang long sword light, passing by Wu Yu, tearing through space, and cutting a rip in her golden long dress. Wu Yu's complexion slightly changed. Ever since she stepped into the Unity Realm, she had been unbeatable within the Wu domain, never having been at a disadvantage. Lu Changsheng of Mount Shu is really that strong. Our Empress has been an unrivaled presence in the Wu domain. We truly underestimated him back then. The Prime Minister, Great General, and other cultivators of the Great Martial Dynasty were astonished. When Lu Changsheng passed through the Great Martial Dynasty, his realm was not as high as it is now, but in such a short time, he had fought on equal footing with the Empress of Great Martial and even slightly had the upper hand. Lu Changsheng had an endless supply of immortal pills. Swallowing an ancestral dragon multiplying pill, the terrifying medicinal power surged through his zodiac meridians and filled his qi in the danshan. This sword, unparalleled. Lu Changsheng unleashed the most powerful move of his self-created sword technique, combining the laws of wind, thunder, water, and fire. The howling windstorm, the rumbling thunder, the ruthless Xian water, and the blazing Tianhuo. The four principles merged to form the primordial mysterious yellow qi, and the space around turned into chaos. Knowing that Lu Changsheng was about to unleash his strongest sword move, Wu Yu did not dare to be negligent. She circulated her cultivation technique, releasing a burst of the supreme imperial qi of the 9-5. The shadow of the five-clawed golden dragon behind her solidified further, clawing and biting as it prepared to combat the mysterious yellow qi. The demon-suppressing sword, like a searing white divine sword, crushed the space with the mysterious yellow qi, shattering the five-clawed golden dragon. Such an amazing sword technique that conjures the mysterious yellow qi. Mysterious yellow qi is the most pure nature's spiritual energy from the inception of heaven and earth. Even if the strong onlookers witnessed Lu Changsheng's sword technique again, they were still deeply shaken. There were sword cultivators, seizing every second to comprehend the supreme sword techniques displayed by Lu Changsheng. After all, apart from grand gatherings like the Zhongzhou Conference that attracted many masters, they had no opportunity to see supreme sword techniques surpassing the immortal tier. Sects from various domains attended the Zhongzhou Conference, most of them not expecting to rank. Their focus was rather to witness the greater world. Some supreme skills might be so rare that they would never encounter them in their entire lives. It is my defeat. The five-clawed golden dragon dissipated under the impact of the mysterious yellow sword qi. Wu Yu's golden dress bore dozens of tears, and even her exquisite and noble face had a sword mark. Such an injury meant little to a peak Unity Realm powerhouse and could be healed at any moment. However, it was clear that Lu Changsheng had shown restraint. Otherwise, since Lu Changsheng could mark Wu Yu's cheek with a sword, it indicated that if Lu Changsheng had been ruthless, Wu Yu might have sustained severe injuries from his sword. Lu Changsheng, unlike the Xuanyan elder, would not deliberately ruin others' cultivation after victory, thus he held back. Wu Yu looked at Lu Changsheng not with unwillingness but with admiration. You are the first to defeat me since I entered the Unity Realm. I hope that we will have the opportunity to spar again in the future. Thank you for holding back. Lu Changsheng sheathed the demon-suppressing sword, steadying his breathing. Wu Yu was stronger than Sun Jian of the Thousand Swords Manor, forcing Lu Changsheng to use the defensive treasure, the Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda. Lu Changsheng also consumed an 11th grade immortal pill, the Ancestral Dragon Multiplying Pill. The people of Mount Shu showed expressions of disbelief. This Zhongzhou Conference, Mount Shu had actually advanced to the finals. This was Mount Shu's best result since Ancestor Daoist Taking's time. Yet, Lu Changsheng's expression was not very good. The next match would be Xuanyan Elder against Xianingsu. Xuanyan Elder was evidently stronger by a tier than the likes of Tang Wanzan, Sun Jian, and other strong figures from Zhongzhou, and even Xianingsu was unlikely to be Xuanyan Elder's opponent. Xianingsu, dressed in a robe whiter than snow, with an immortal sword on her back, resembled a nine heavens fairy. The cold aura spread, icing thousands of miles and sending snow drifting. Chapter 316. Indeed, it's the supreme forgetting emotion art, but it seems you've embarked on a slightly different path, subtly distinct from the orthodox supreme forgetting emotion art. The Xuanyan elder, leaning on his cane, arrived at the dueling ground and recognized Xiaoningsu's cultivation technique. Xiaoningsu's eyebrows knit together, wondering why an ascetic from Dan state like the Xuanyan elder knew about the Inquiry Immortal Pavilion's supreme forgetting emotion art. Please enlighten me. Xiaoningsu called forth the immortal slaying sword. The moment the immortal slaying sword appeared, the surrounding mountains crumbled, and a murderous aura boiled over. Xiaoningsu knew her opponent was a peerless enemy, so she didn't hold back, immediately using the nameless sword technique of the Qingxia ancient cave. With boundless killing intent and formidable pressure, the immortal slaying sword thrust toward the Xuanyan elder. The chill from the supreme forgetting emotion art froze the space around the Xuanyan elder into ice, hindering his movements. This immortal sword surpasses immortal artifacts, pity you cannot unleash its full might. The swordsmanship you use, it's truly nostalgic. Yet, the Xuanyan elder was undaunted by Xiaoningsu's technique and swordsmanship, instead he offered his critique as if judging a bout. As the immortal slaying sword stabbed forward, the Xuanyan elder, the next instant, appeared several miles away, evading the blade's radiance. The icy chill produced by Xiaoningsu's supreme forgetting emotion art failed to confine his movements. Space Law. All the cultivators present knew that those who mastered the space law were extremely troublesome to deal with. With his deviously diverse cultivation techniques and extensive combat experience, the Xuanyan elder proved to be a difficult opponent for Xiaoningsu to harm. Xiaoningsu's eyebrows lifted, as her left hand was already clasping a spatial talisman, pinpointing the Xuanyan elder. Having cultivated for 700 years in a space with Lu Changsheng, where they frequently sparred, Xiaoningsu had a wealth of combat experience. Furthermore, Lu Changsheng had gifted her a batch of elixir pills and talismans. The spatial talisman turned to ashes, and Xiaoningsu had already reached the sky above the Xuanyan elder, her hands grasping the immortal slaying sword as copious true qi poured into it. The immortal slaying sword, with its endless killing intent and chill, slashed toward the Xuanyan elder. Boom! The brilliant sword qi of the immortal slaying sword shattered everything in its path, the fissures spreading across the land and the force of the impact reaching 100 meters high. Fairy Xia's experience and swordsmanship are quite astonishing. Her swordsmanship probably surpasses the sect master of Thousand Swords Manor and is second only to the sect leader of Mount Shu, Lu Changsheng. Powerhouses from the various domains whispered among themselves in private. After her rigorous 700-year training session in the cultivation space, Xiaoningsu's abilities had advanced by leaps and bounds. Although her realm had not reached the 9th layer of the Unity Realm, she already possessed the strength of its pinnacle, having defeated the sect master of the Dragon Tiger sect with her sword. Sun Jian's face turned ashen. Ever since his defeat by Lu Changsheng, his reputation had plummeted, and he was often compared with other strong fighters. Worse yet, Sun Jian couldn't refute it. Indeed, whether it was Wu Yu or Xiaoningsu, both were truly stronger than him. Sun Jian. Did she succeed in defeating him? With bated breath, Zheng Yeqiu, Xiao Menger and the other elders of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion anxiously watched the outcome of the battle. If Xiaoningsu's earth-shattering sword could strike true, then she indeed had a chance to defeat the Xuanyan elder in one blow. Lu Changsheng and Monk Wu Li, two Unity Realm powerhouses, remained with furrowed brows and no sign of relief. The Xuanyan elder was certainly not so easily defeated. Suddenly, a dark shadow burst from the dust and hovered in midair. Half of the Xuanyan elder's body had been torn asunder by the lethal aura of the immortal slaying sword, a ghastly sight to behold. However, the Xuanyan elder appeared unfazed. Ha! With a low roar from the Xuanyan elder, immense true qi mended his injured body. Like a lizard regrowing its tail, he was made whole again. Hiss! The scalp of every powerhouse from the major sects present tingled. The Xuanyan elder not only possessed profound cultivation but also an astonishing ability to preserve his own life. Having been struck by the immortal slaying sword, he still appeared completely unharmed. This is the immortal divine art. Lu Changsheng, who also cultivated the immortal divine art, recognized the technique the Xuanyan elder practiced. Lu Changsheng had not expected the Xuanyan elder to have also cultivated a superior immortal realm cultivation technique, immortal divine art. The Xuanyan elder was proficient in numerous cultivation techniques, far beyond Lu Changsheng's expectations. Let me show you what a real sacred tier cultivation technique looks like. The Xuanyan Elder exuded an overwhelming dark aura, a suffocating presence enveloping the area, causing the ground where Xianingsu stood to collapse. Law of Heaven and Earth. The body of the Xuanyan Elder rapidly grew in height, reaching tens of thousands of feet, eclipsing the sun and sky. The Xuanyan Elder had a green face and fangs with crimson hair, resembling a demon god. Countless cultivators were moved and greatly shocked. The divine skills of the Xuanyan Elder had surpassed those of this realm. The great crushing heaven palm of Wu Yu could only partially realize the law of heaven and earth, but the Xuanyan Elder's divine skills surpassed Wu Yu's palm. Such cultivation techniques should not exist in this realm. Could it be that this Xuanyan Elder? Lu Changsheng had already guessed the Xuanyan Elder's origins, and his face turned even grimmer. The Xuanyan Elder had made his move, and the force of his palm plunged the world into darkness, with the power to destroy heaven and earth. Once the Xuanyan Elder used his divine skills, even those on the viewing platform felt the threat. The four rams divine honor formation protecting the viewing platform might not withstand the Xuanyan Elder's attack. Xianingsu's delicate frame appeared insignificant in the face of the Xuanyan Elder's towering law of heaven and earth. Xianingsu faced the law of heaven and earth head-on, wielding the immortal slaying sword by herself. Insignificant ant, under the palm of this sovereign being, turned to ashes. Enhanced by the divine power of the law of heaven and earth, the Xuanyan Elder's palm force increased 1,000-fold, sealing off the space and covering such a wide area that Xianingsu had nowhere to escape. Under the terrifying divine skill of the Xuanyan Elder, Xianingsu's stunning face showed despair. Although the Xuanyan Elder was only at the 9th layer of the Unity Realm in terms of cultivation, his insights into the Dao far surpassed that of the Unity Realm. Xianingsu stood no chance of victory and might even be killed. She's no match for the Xuanyan Elder and could very well perish. The Xuanyan Elder is too ruthless, either aiming to cripple the opponent's cultivation or to kill them outright. The faces of those present changed. The Xuanyan Elder was extremely ferocious and had profound cultivation, leaving the people powerless against him. Among the entourage from Mount Shu, Lu Changsheng transformed into a shadow and rushed out, disregarding the rules, arriving beside Xianingsu. With her lack of defensive measures and relying solely on her own skills, Xianingsu would certainly perish under the attack of the Xuanyan Elder. The Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda was summoned, emitting 10,000 zhang of golden light and forcefully taking the hit of the Xuanyan Elder's law of heaven and earth on Xianingsu's behalf. The Xuanyan palm force was destroying the golden light of the Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda, shattering it inch by inch. The Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda trembled violently. The Heavenly Earth Mystical Yellow Exquisite Pagoda had grown to a 10-layered golden tower, yet still could not withstand the law of heaven and earth divine skill of the Xuanyan Elder. Lu Changsheng channeled the superior immortal realm cultivation technique Golden Bell Shield to block the remaining palm force. Gang Qi formed a faint golden bell shape, stoutly neutralizing the Xuanyan palm force. Xianingsu, using an unnamed sword technique, alongside Lu Changsheng, together withstood the opponent's attack. Even so, both of them were forced to retreat hundreds of steps. Oh! Your cultivation is beyond my expectations, actually withstanding a strike of my law of heaven and earth divine skill. I am somewhat looking forward to crossing hands with you now. The Xuanyan Elder did not continue attacking and returned to his original form, leaning on a walking stick, and said to the Supreme Elder of the Star Pavilion managing the Zhongzhou Convention. The other party intervened during the match, breaking the rules. You can declare the winner now. Yes, the winner of this contest is Xuanyan Elder from Profound Heaven Sect. Sect Leader of Mount Shu and Sect Master of Profound Heaven Sect will enter the final 10th round of the contest. The Supreme Elder of Star Pavilion was very displeased with the Xuanyan Elder for injuring their pavilion master, but rules were rules, and ultimately it was Lu Changsheng and the Xuanyan Elder who would compete for the title of the Zhongzhou Convention. I am no match for him, his strength far exceeds my imagination. Xianingsu's expression was gloomy. With her talent, under normal circumstances, there was a chance to meet Lu Changsheng in the finals. It was just that she encountered the Xuanyan Elder of unknown origin. If my guess is correct, this Xuanyan Elder has been body snatched, and the one who has taken him over is likely Luo Feng, or to be precise, that heretic cultivator from the immortal realm. Lu Changsheng's eyes flashed with a glint of sharpness. The law of heaven and earth divine skill possessed by the Xuanyan Elder had already exceeded the bounds of this realm, and it was impossible for Profound Heaven Sect to attain such a technique with their resources. The feeling the Xuanyan Elder gave Lu Changsheng was somewhat similar to the mighty beings from the immortal realm he had encountered on Penglai Immortal Island. Chapter 317. It seems that the victor of this Zhongzhou tournament will undoubtedly be the Xuanyan Elder of the Profound Heaven sect. The Xuanyan Elder's law of heaven and earth divine skill has already surpassed the scope of immortal tier cultivation techniques, unparalleled in the world. He is also proficient in the immortal divine art. Sect leader Lu from Mount Shu is probably no match for the Xuanyan Elder. Unexpectedly, the Profound Heaven sect, an obscure sect, will emerge as the ultimate victor of this Zhongzhou gathering. However, how could a small sect like the Profound Heaven sect have someone who has cultivated such a formidable cultivation technique? Powerhouses from the major territories had already come to accept that, 7 days later in the final match, the Xuanyan Elder would defeat Lu Changsheng, becoming the champion of this Zhongzhou discourse on the Dao. The cultivation technique displayed by the Xuanyan Elder dominated the Unity Realm pinnacle experts of this realm. Longevity. Are you suggesting that the Xuanyan Elder has been possessed by a heretic cultivator from the immortal realm? Upon hearing Lu Changsheng's analysis, the people of Xia State exchanged glances, followed by a flash of realization. No wonder the Xuanyan Elder, though also at the 9th level of the Unity Realm, could cultivate the law of heaven and earth divine skill to great perfection, and is proficient in various cultivation techniques, his combat experience far surpassing others. Who knows how many years he has cultivated in the immortal realm, this old monster. He is only suppressed by the world's power, unable to restore his cultivation that surpassed the Unity Realm. Nevertheless, he retains his past great Dao comprehension and combat experience and can cultivate most cultivation techniques. His actual combat strength has already surpassed the Unity Realm. Longevity. Since he has come for you, why not just forfeit the final match? Our Mount Shu managing to achieve second place in this Zhongzhou tournament is already beyond expectations. Situ Kong attempted to prevent Lu Changsheng from confronting the Xuanyan Elder. The Xuanyan Elder possessed terrifying awareness and cultivation technique experience that a Unity Realm expert should not have. If Lu Changsheng were to fight him and if the Xuanyan Elder intended to kill, it was very likely that Lu Changsheng would be killed by the Xuanyan Elder. Despite this, Lu Changsheng said, "Even so, I still wish to give it a try." If the Xuanyan Elder truly was a heretic cultivator from the immortal realm who had come specifically for him, then Lu Changsheng might escape the initial encounter but not the inevitable. It would be better to take this opportunity to eliminate the Xuanyan Elder. Although the Xuanyan Elder had higher great Dao comprehension and more combat experience, he was not without weaknesses. The Xuanyan Elder did not bring any magical treasures or elixir pills from the immortal realm. Aside from the heavenly earth mystical yellow exquisite pagoda, Lu Changsheng also possessed an ultimate treasure that he had never used, the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus, and the Xuanyan Elder was unaware that Lu Changsheng owned this ultimate treasure. Lu Changsheng protecting Xianingshu from one blow of the Xuanyan Elder's law of heaven and earth proved that the heavenly earth mystical yellow exquisite pagoda, coupled with the golden bell shield chi, had at least a certain level of self-preservation ability. In the last 7 days, Lu Changsheng specially rewarded his chief disciple, Lin Qingzi, with the 9th grade elixir Dragon Blood Returning Yuan Pill. By granting his disciple the 8th grade Red Emperor Dragon Strength Pill and the 9th grade Dragon Blood Returning Yuan Pill, one gains the chance to obtain the 11th grade Ancestral Dragon Multiplying Pill in return. The Ancestral Dragon Multiplying Pill can temporarily enhance the cultivation of a Unity Realm cultivator. Lu Changsheng, intending to fight across levels, still needed the help of immortal pills. In the battles against Sun Jian and Wu Yu, Lu Changsheng consumed 2 Ancestral Dragon Multiplying Pills. He also gave 2 to Xianingshu. At this moment, Lu Changsheng had no Ancestral Dragon Multiplying Pills left. On the first day, he rewarded Lin Qingzi with 6 Dragon Blood Returning Yuan Pills, and all return pills were of the 10th grade. On the second day, there was still no return of an 11th grade Immortal Pill. On the third day, one 11th grade Ancestral Dragon Multiplying Pill was returned. On the fourth day, the highest return was a 10th grade Immortal Pill. On the fifth day, all were 10th grade Immortal Pills. On the sixth day, the same. On the seventh day, the last 6 times granting pills to his disciple. Ding! You have granted your disciple Lin Qingzi the 9th grade elixir Dragon Blood Returning Yuan Pill and received a 1 million-fold return as a reward, the 12th grade Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Elixir. Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Elixir, a 12th grade Immortal Elixir, refined from true Dragon Golden Elixir and various heavenly materials and earthly treasures of the immortal realm, grants endless true chi, temporarily breaking through limits, gaining strength beyond one's own realm. It should not be used lightly, as it can easily result in explosive death. A 12th grade immortal pill. Lu Changshen's scalp numbed. He had only wished for 2 or 3 11th grade ancestral dragon multiplying pills, to continue to wear down the Xuanyan elder and attempt to wear him out to death. Unexpectedly, on the 7th day of granting, he received one 12th grade immortal pill in return. This was a 12th grade immortal pill. An ultimate elixir that should not exist in this realm. Even Unity realm powerhouses might not be able to endure the terrifying potency of a 12th grade immortal pill. Lu Changsheng obtained the sealed purple gold bagua gourd, inside which was the supreme dragon origin immortal elixir. Lu Changsheng pondered in his heart whether his body could withstand the potency of the 12th grade immortal pill. Otherwise, if he were to explode to death as a result, it would be an unjust end for Lu Changsheng. If there's no other solution, I'll have to use this 12th grade immortal elixir. My great accomplishment in the immortal divine art allows me to continuously repair my body. I can only hope that the body refined by the immortal divine art can withstand the terrifying potency of the supreme dragon origin immortal elixir. Lu Changsheng often used various immortal pills for body tempering. His physique was extremely strong. Compared to cultivators of the same realm, he could tolerate higher tier elixir pills, and he decided to take the risk. The Nirvana Flames Red Lotus and the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Elixir were Lu Changshen's 2 ace cards. The 7 days had passed, and the final battle of the Zhongzhou tournament began. Powerful figures from sects across major territories arrived at the viewing platform. Although most people saw the outcome as already decided, they still wanted to witness the splendor of the sacred tier cultivation techniques. Only a grand event like the Zhongzhou Discourse on the Dao could showcase the legendary sacred tier cultivation techniques. Chapter 318. For ordinary sects, a single immortal tier cultivation technique is already a sect defending skill, while sacred tier cultivation techniques are something they might never encounter even once in their lifetimes. Xiaoao, is your master really going to take part in the fight? The Xuanyan elder is ruthless and merciless. If he wins, he will certainly not spare your master. The outcome of the Zhongzhou convention is not that important. You should persuade your master to forfeit. Xianingxiu had a favorable impression of Lu Changsheng because he had healed Tang Wanzhen's injuries. Therefore, she did not want Lu Changsheng to lose his life because of this. The Xuanyan elder was far too dominant, his combat power crushing all the other Unity Realm experts, making the outcome very clear. Shen Xiaoao, however, thought differently. My master never does anything he is not sure of. Since master has decided to fight the Xuanyan elder, he must be confident. Can he really defeat the Xuanyan elder? Tang Linger still found it hard to believe. Knowing full well the terrifying divine skills of the Xuanyan elder, Lu Changsheng still chose to join the battle. If it were not due to a lack of self-awareness, then it could only mean that Lu Changsheng indeed had confidence to dare to face the Xuanyan elder. It's too forced. As Tang Wanzhen's injuries had improved, he arrived at the viewing platform with the Star Pavilion Master, only to find out that Lu Changsheng ultimately did not forfeit, and he couldn't help shaking his head. Tang Wanzhen had personally clashed with the Xuanyan elder and thus knew how terrifying he was. He did not think highly of Lu Changshen's chances. The Supreme Elder of the Star Pavilion, who was presiding over the Zhongzhou convention, still had to announce according to procedure, this edition of the Zhongzhou debates, the 10th round will now begin. The contenders are Mount Shu's sect leader Lu Changsheng, and the Profound Heaven sect's sect master, the Xuanyan elder. Please both friends take the stage. As soon as he finished speaking, a mass of dark energy arrived at the arena, with the Xuanyan elder leaning on a cane and looking relaxed. His comprehension of the great Dao far exceeded this world. As long as Lu Changsheng had not ascended to the immortal realm, he could crush him. With a sword coming from the west, Lu Changsheng, wearing a middle-grade immortal artifact harmonizing Dao robe and carrying a high-grade immortal sword, the demon-suppressing sword, appeared in the arena. Lu Changsheng had changed from his previous sword attire and was instead clad in a Daoist robe. The trump card of Lu Changsheng this time was not the swordsmanship that he had already displayed. The Xuanyan elder sinisterly said, I didn't expect you to really have the courage. Having witnessed my law of heaven and earth divine skills, you still dare to fight. Are you not afraid of death, or are you just too confident in yourself? Lu Changsheng began to circulate the taking heavenly scripture, generating the taking true qi. Lu Changsheng had merely entered the doorway of it. If the taking heavenly scripture reached great perfection, then perhaps Lu Changsheng could rely on the sacred tier cultivation technique to defeat the Xuanyan elder head-on. Lu Changshen's self-created sacred tier swordsmanship, the heavenly earth mystical sword art, was also not yet perfected. Lu Changsheng calmly said, "You are probably not the Xuanyan Elder himself, but a heretic cultivator from the immortal realm. You have seized the body of the sect master of Profound Heaven sect. Why have you descended to this world?" The Xuanyan Elder's eyes sharpened. "I didn't expect you to see through my origin. Since today you are going to die by my hand, it doesn't hurt to tell you a bit. Someone from the immortal realm ordered me to come and kill you. As for the reason, you don't need to know. A powerful being from the immortal realm seized the body of the sect master of Profound Heaven sect. If that's true, no wonder the Xuanyan Elder possesses supreme divine skills not of the mortal world. Our sect master of Profound Heaven sect has been possessed." All the strong practitioners from the various great domains were shocked. No one expected that this Zhongzhou convention would involve a powerful being from the immortal realm. In a million years, no being from the immortal realm had descended to the mortal plane. For a being from the immortal realm to descend, the price paid is enormous, and there is also the risk of being obliterated by the world's force. Tang Wanzan found relief. He originally thought he was defeated by the Xuanyan Elder because his own cultivation was not profound enough. But now it seemed that the Xuanyan Elder was an old monster who had cultivated for who knows how many years, and it was understandable that Tang Wanzan lost to him. The disciples of Profound Heaven sect were even more astonished. Their sect master had actually been possessed. The sect master of Profound Heaven sect, the Xuanyan Elder, originally only had a 9th layer void refinement realm cultivation level. Over 100 years ago, his cultivation made sudden leaps and bounds, and the disciples of Profound Heaven sect did not know what realm the Xuanyan Elder had achieved. It turned out that the Xuanyan Elder was taken over by a being from the immortal realm. No wonder his cultivation progressed so astonishingly fast. If he really is a peerless being from the immortal realm, then he must have mastered a multitude of cultivation techniques from the immortal realm. The sect master of Dragon Tiger sect's eyes lit up. The Xuanyan Elder's experience and comprehension of the Great Dao surpassed everyone present. If they could receive guidance from the Xuanyan Elder, the Dragon Tiger sect could benefit immensely. The Dragon Tiger sect has had dozens of individuals ascend to the immortal realm over the years. Perhaps the Xuanyan Elder even knew some peerless beings from the Dragon Tiger sect. Law of Heaven and Earth. The Xuanyan Elder's dark aura shot up to the sky, covering the sun, like a demon god descending. Lu Changsheng was his target, and he used the divine skill, Law of Heaven and Earth, right from the start. The Xuanyan Elder's body rapidly grew taller, reaching 10,000 zhang in height, with a blue face and fangs, and blood-red hair. In front of him, Lu Changsheng was as minuscule as an ant. Lu Changsheng summoned the demon-suppressing sword, its light shining for 10,000 zhang, spewing fierce white divine sword chi as he slashed at the Xuanyan Elder. "Ants, not worth a single blow." The Xuanyan Elder snorted coldly. The force of his great profound yin finger aimed at the blazing sword chi of the demon-suppressing sword. With just one finger, the sword light collapsed, and the force caused the ground where Lu Changsheng stood to collapse, creating a huge pit that was bottomless. The demon-suppressing sword was seriously damaged and lost its luster before returning to Lu Changshen's hands. Lu Changshen's expression grew solemn. The Xuanyan Elder's great Dao comprehension surpassed his greatly, and he could see the flaws in his swordsmanship at a glance. With the Law of Heaven and Earth state activated, the Xuanyan Elder's power clung to the edge of what this world could permit. Theoretically, the Xuanyan Elder was truly invincible in this realm. Although Sect Master Lu is an unparalleled powerhouse born from our realm, he cannot hold a candle to the powerhouses from the immortal realm. After all, the Xuanyan Elder is a mighty being from the immortal realm. Knowing the Xuanyan Elder's origin, the crowd was even less optimistic about Lu Changsheng. As a powerhouse of the immortal realm, just the overwhelming dominance in Great Dao comprehension was enough to make one despair. If longevity doesn't admit defeat, he might be killed by the Xuanyan Elder. The people of Mount Shu were filled with anxiety. The Xuanyan Elder was too strong, and Lu Changsheng seemed to have no chance of victory. Master! The disciples of King Yun Peak were even more anxious. If anything happened to Lu Changsheng, they would be without a master. Xiaoningsu's palms sweated as she paid close attention to every move Lu Changsheng made. Lu Changsheng alone might not be a match for the Xuanyan Elder. If Lu Changsheng and Xiaoningsu joined forces, using the Holy Spirit sword art, then there might be a chance for victory. Otherwise, with Lu Changshen's current cultivation level, he was no match for the Xuanyan Elder. Lu Changsheng retrieved the demon-suppressing sword. Ha ha ha, have you despaired? In the face of absolute power, your struggles are futile. The one who orders your death is all-powerful and holds an unparalleled status. Even if you ascend to the immortal realm, you cannot escape death. It is better to die by my hand and be liberated early. The law of heaven and earth state of the Xuanyan elder exuded a pressure that shook heaven and earth, his voice like rolling thunder, looking down upon Lu Changsheng below. The Xuanyan elder was like a high and mighty deity, and the two of them seemed to exist on different levels of being. Lu Changsheng then took out a purple gold bagua gourd. This purple gold bagua gourd was covered in many talismans, as if sealing medicinal power inside it. Even if you use elixir pills, you cannot bridge the vast gap between us. The Xuanyan elder allowed Lu Changsheng to use the elixir pills inside the purple gold bagua gourd. Any elixir pills in this realm could not possibly make up for the unprecedented gap between them. Lu Changsheng tore off the talismans and opened the wooden stopper of the purple gold bagua gourd, releasing a tremendous force of medicinal power. Dragon's sword and phoenixes danced, the wind surged and clouds billowed, and a beam of light burst from the purple gold bagua gourd. The medicinal power inside the purple gold bagua gourd triggered celestial phenomena, causing the heavens and earth to change color. Even the Xuanyan elder couldn't help but show a change in color. While everyone was still in shock, Lu Changsheng swallowed the 12th grade elixir pills in one gulp. This is madness. He absolutely cannot handle the medicinal power of this immortal pill. Tang Wanzhen's eyesight and insights were exceptional. He didn't know where Lu Changsheng had gotten a 12th grade immortal pill from, but a cultivator of the Unity Realm could definitely not bear the immense medicinal power of a 12th grade immortal pill, let alone Lu Changsheng, who hadn't refining it and swallowed it whole. Chapter 319. The Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill entered his body, and its tremendous medicinal power almost burst his innate Taoist body. Lu Changsheng activated the Immortal Divine Art, continually repairing the body torn by the medicinal power. Without the Immortal Divine Art, Lu Changsheng's body would have been completely torn apart by the terrifying medicinal power of the 12th-grade Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill much earlier. Despite the Immortal Divine Art constantly mending his damaged body, the medicinal power of the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill was too terrifying, and Lu Changsheng's body began to swell. Xuanyan Elder was shocked, a pill like the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill appearing in this world. Even in the Immortal Realm, the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill was no ordinary item. But then Xuanyan Elder realized, a cultivator in the Unity Realm simply couldn't withstand the medicinal power of a 12th-grade Immortal Pill, and burst into laughter. You're truly mad, not even knowing where such a Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill came from, yet you swallowed it whole without knowing the immensity of heaven and earth. Did you think you possess the dragon and phoenix demon body? Xuanyan Elder knew that Lu Changsheng's body could not endure the horrific medicinal power of the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill. Lu Changsheng would play himself to death. Lu Changsheng clenched his teeth tightly. The Immortal Divine Art could no longer keep up with the speed at which the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill tore his body apart. If this continued, he would burst and die. Lu Changsheng took a deep breath and summoned the ultimate treasure within his body, the 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus. The 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus appeared before the world for the first time. Billowing flames surged as the 12 petals of the Nirvana Flames Red Lotus blossomed, drastically increasing the temperature of the surrounding space. The spiritual energy provided by the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill was absorbed by the 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, which emitted a strange crimson light. When the 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus appeared, the oppressive sensation of Xuanyan Elder's law of heaven and earth divine skills ceased, and his smile gradually solidified. The 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus was on par with the law of heaven and earth avatar. Moreover, the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill provided a continuous stream of spiritual energy to the 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, enabling it to unleash its ultimate treasure power and cover Xuanyan Elder with a terrifying sea of fire. Invisible Nirvana flames could burn the 3 souls and 7 spirits, attacking not just the physical body. After the colossal nature's spiritual energy within was absorbed by the 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, Lu Changsheng's originally swollen body started returning to normal. Ah! Xuanyan Elder, trapped in the sea of invisible Nirvana flames, was like falling into the underworld, suffering torment. Sinners enter through the 4 gates, and the gates open as Nirvana flames come forth to meet. The iron juice flows over the knees, creating smoke and flames wherever it touches. Lu Changsheng recited the mnemonic verse, fully activating the 12th-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus with the power of Nirvana Flames, attempting to erase the powerhouse from the Immortal Realm. The Immortal Realm powerhouse, who possessed Xuanyan Elder's body, was a heretic cultivator, tormented by the consequences of his evil deeds. The greater the evil deeds, the stronger the power of the invisible nirvana flames he suffered. The thousand Zhang avatar of law of heaven and earth was still enveloped by the invisible nirvana flames of the 12 grade nirvana flames Red Lotus. The emergence of the 12 grade nirvana flames Red Lotus silenced the onlooking crowd, leaving them breathless. This was a treasure that surpassed an immortal artifact. What level of treasure is this? This suffocating, terrifying presence, could it be the legendary ultimate treasure? Ultimate treasure. Such treasures should not exist in this world. Even the likes of Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan of the Star Pavilion, Sect Master Zhang Qinglong of the Dragon Tiger Sect, Manor Master Sun Jian of the Thousand Swords Manor, and the Empress Wu Yu of the Great Martial Dynasty were moved. This was their first time witnessing an ultimate treasure of the highest caliber. Ultimate treasures exist in the immortal realm and under normal circumstances, do not appear in this world. In the past, cultivators who obtained ultimate treasures from the ancient immortal ruins would use them to counteract the heavenly tribulation during ascension to the immortal realm and would take them to the immortal realm as well. Besides, under normal conditions, a cultivator at the unity realm level would not be able to unleash the full power of an ultimate treasure. Yet now, Lu Changsheng, spurred on by the terrifying medicinal power of the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Pill, forcibly stimulated the 12 grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, providing it with enough spiritual energy. The situation reversed, Xuanyan Elder struggled painfully within the terrifying sea of invisible Nirvana flames, attempting to resist the Nirvana flames with his law of heaven and earth divine skills. Demon Emperor Cauldron, seal the space. Lu Changshen's spiritual energy was still abundant, so he summoned the high-grade immortal artifact, the Demon Emperor Cauldron. Once the Demon Emperor Cauldron appeared, demonic chi filled the sky. Though the rank of the Demon Emperor Cauldron was not as high as the 12-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, the Demon Emperor Cauldron was a spatial treasure, capable of breaking through Xuanyan Elder's space law, giving him no chance to escape. The Demon Emperor Cauldron emitted a strange purple glow, space seemed to solidify, and Xuanyan Elder had no choice but to endure the invisible Nirvana flames burning from the 12-grade Nirvana Flames Red Lotus in this confined space. The law of heaven and earth avatar had been burned by the invisible Nirvana flames, destroyed by 1,000 zhang of its avatar. Xuanyan Elder's face twisted fiercely. He had no plan left. Damn it, if it weren't for being unable to bring the treasures I refined in the immortal realm to this world, how could I be so vulnerable? You're all just a bunch of ants. As a strong figure in the immortal realm, Xuanyan Elder was entrusted by others to descend to this world. But he only possessed Luo Feng's body, retaining his previous great Dao comprehension as well as experience and memories of cultivation techniques, but the treasures and elixir pills from the immortal realm couldn't be brought down. Today is your day of death. Returning to the origin, vast as Taishi, the clear and turbid flow together, mysterious yellow mingles and interweaves. Lu Changsheng summoned the demon suppressing sword, the demon suppressing sword once again soared to the sky, mysterious yellow chi crisscrossing. Lu Changshen's demon suppressing sword, with its mighty sword light thousands of zhang, slashed at Xuanyan Elder, whose soul had been injured. The mysterious yellow sword chi shattered Xuanyan Elder's law of heaven and earth avatar. Lu Changsheng, this is just one of my avatars, you just get to live a little longer, Xuanyan Elder said calmly, as he turned to ash amid the invisible Nirvana flames. Xuanyan Elder's presence disappeared. Lu Changshen's expression was solemn. Chapter 320. The Xuanyan Elder was indeed eradicated by the Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, but the heretic cultivator from the immortal realm who possessed Xuanyan Elder was no easy foe. He had merely controlled Xuanyan Elder while his true body hid in an unknown location. Tens of thousands of miles away, Luo Feng's complexion was pale. He had expended a great deal of magical power to manipulate Xuanyan Elder. The death of Xuanyan Elder ultimately inflicted damage upon his true body. What a pity that I did not bring my magical artifact down to this realm. My realm is suppressed by the world's power, and if I were to break through to the unity realm, it would invite heavenly tribulation and I would have to ascend to the immortal realm anew. I can't kill Lu Changsheng, and even if I return to the immortal realm, I would be on the path to death. It seems I can only resort to the summoning demon great formation to call down other powerful beings from the immortal realm. No matter what, I must kill Lu Changsheng before he ascends to the immortal realm, otherwise. Luo Feng fell deep into thought. He no longer had the power to kill Lu Changsheng, who had grown stronger, and had to find another way. During the Zhongzhou convention, when Lu Changsheng retrieved the Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, his harmonizing Dao robe was soaked with sweat. Lu Changsheng had used the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Elixir to eradicate Xuanyan Elder, exhausting all his true qi in the process. As an ultimate treasure, the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus undoubtedly consumed an astronomical amount of true qi. The crowd fell into an eerie silence. Nobody had expected that Lu Changsheng would be able to bring out a 12th tier immortal pill and an ultimate treasure at the last moment. Such legendary items are rarely seen by mortals. The Supreme Elder of the Star Pavilion, presiding over the Zhongzhou Convention, felt his scalp tingle before finally regaining his composure. The first place in this Zhongzhou Convention goes to Mount Shu's sect leader Lu Changsheng. Wow! The strong representatives from various states and sects were all astounded. Mount Shu has secured the title as champion of the Zhongzhou Convention for the second time after 500,000 years. The champion of the Zhongzhou Convention signifies the strongest being of the present era. The various sects were boiling with excitement. Mount Shu genuinely had something special to have won the championship twice and to produce both an ultimate treasure and a sacred tier cultivation technique. Suddenly, Mount Shu became a super sect standing on equal footing with the Star Pavilion, Dragon Tiger Sect, and Thousand Swords Manor. The people of Mount Shu looked at each other in disbelief, as they had not expected Lu Changsheng to actually win first place at the Zhongzhou Convention. This Zhongzhou Convention featured the Empress of Great Martial, a martial arts genius who developed her own sacred tier cultivation technique, and Xuanyan Elder, a terrifying being possessed by an immortal realm powerhouse. Yet Lu Changsheng defeated them all. Lu Changsheng stood his ground, his eyes closed, digesting the insights from this battle. Using the ultimate treasure, the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus, to its full extent, Lu Changsheng faintly touched upon the great Dao comprehension that transcended the Unity realm. Sect Master Lu, would you honor us with a visit to our Flying Eagle sect? We have a ginseng king that has been cultivated for 100,000 years. As long as Sect Master Lu bestows the honor, our Flying Eagle sect is willing to offer a portion of the ginseng king as hospitality. Our junior temple master from the Five Thunder Temple is an exceptional genius who reached the Void Refinement realm after only 200 years of cultivation. We at Five Thunder Temple are willing to propose a marriage alliance with Sect Master Lu's female disciple. May I inquire about Sect Master Lu's thoughts on this? Senior Lu, I have doubts regarding the Sword Dao and wish to seek your guidance. The leaders of various sects simultaneously sent private messages to Lu Changsheng, seeking to establish a connection with him. As the winner of the Zhongzhou Convention, Lu Changshen's strength was far above theirs, and even a slight hint from him could greatly benefit them. This time, the sect Linger's husband-to-be belongs to Mount Shu, will surely shine brilliantly. Linger has not been wronged. Tang Wanzan held Mount Shu in an even higher regard. With the emergence of an exceptional powerhouse like Lu Changsheng, Mount Shu's status became extraordinary, destined to attract more and more unparalleled geniuses to seek apprenticeship in Mount Shu, and thus enabling Mount Shu to recruit more talents. Since Shen Xiaoao was a disciple originating from Mount Shu, an alliance through marriage between the Star Pavilion and Mount Shu would benefit both parties immensely. The Empress of Great Martial, Wu Yu, watched with admiration as Lu Changsheng displayed an immortal pill and magical treasures she had never seen before, unexpectedly surpassing her anticipation. Lu Changsheng was even better than she had imagined. The Penglai fairy sighed quietly to herself. If it weren't for the likes of Xiaoningsu and Wu Yu, who possessed even more astonishing talents, she, the Penglai fairy, with her spirit sword physique, might have become Daoist partners with Lu Changsheng. Unfortunately, in comparison with Xiaoningsu and Wu Yu, the Penglai fairy didn't shine quite as brightly. Are you injured? Xiaoningsu, carrying the immortal slaying sword on her back, didn't know how to congratulate Lu Changsheng upon his return, so she simply asked. It's nothing serious. Lu Changsheng had the immortal divine art, and as long as he wasn't completely destroyed in both spirit and form, he could be reborn. The Xuanyan Elder had reached great perfection in the immortal divine art, and if it weren't for the formless Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus like a bone-eroding disease completely annihilating him, Luo Feng could still manipulate Xuanyan Elder to continue the battle. However, the heretic cultivator from the immortal realm who possessed Xuanyan Elder's body has not been killed, and he might reappear at any time. Lu Changsheng could sense that the heretic cultivator from the immortal realm had divided part of his divine sense to control Xuanyan Elder, while his true body was still alive. As long as he appears again, the two of us together should be enough to deal with him. Xiaoningsu saw Lu Changsheng defeat the Xuanyan Elder with his own strength. She believed that even if Luo Feng appeared, the two of them using the Holy Spirit sword art could defeat him. Lu Changsheng and Xianingsu had defeated the Demon Lord with the Holy Spirit Sword Art, and as time passed, their cultivation had greatly improved. If they were to use the Holy Spirit Sword Art again, its power would be incomparable to that of the past. I hope so. Lu Changsheng always felt that things were not so simple, but he was not in a hurry. It wouldn't be long before he could ascend to the immortal realm. Before ascending to the immortal realm, Lu Changsheng still wanted to continue teaching his disciples, trying to accumulate more treasures and life-saving methods. According to what Xuanyan Elder had said, there was a supreme being in the immortal realm who wanted to kill him, suggesting that the immortal realm was far from a peaceful haven. The various sects had more or less absolute geniuses who had ascended to the immortal realm, where there were many old monsters who had cultivated for tens of thousands or even millions of years. Even if Lu Changsheng was invincible in this realm, upon reaching the immortal realm, he would still need to find ways to stay alive in the face of old monsters that had ascended long ago. My disciples won't be able to keep up with my cultivation in a short time. When I'm in the immortal realm, I'll need to find a few more disciples in order to continue teaching. Lu Changsheng began to plan for what to do after his ascension to the immortal realm. Without long-term concerns, there will be immediate worries. If he didn't prepare in advance, upon reaching the immortal realm, he wouldn't even know how he died. Old monsters that had cultivated for tens or hundreds of thousands of years only had more terrifying thoughts and methods. After the Zhongzhou Grand Meeting ended, Lu Changsheng and the cultivators from Xia State made a brief stop at the Star Pavilion. Mount Shu's Shen Xiaoao and the Star Pavilion's Tang Linger were to be married, which was a significant event. As Shen Xiaoao's master, Lu Changsheng naturally had to make the arrangements for him. Lu Changsheng had once saved Tang Wanzan's life, and Tang Wanzan treated him with the highest honor, occasionally discussing his doubts about cultivation with Lu Changsheng. Lu Changsheng also took the opportunity to inquire about the immortal realm. Over generations, numerous people from the Star Pavilion had ascended to the immortal realm, many times more than from Mount Shu, so it was possible they had information about the general situation in the immortal realm. Discussing the Great Dao with Brother Lu has brought me enlightenment. As for the state of the immortal realm, our Star Pavilion does indeed have some records, but these records are just fragments and their authenticity has not been verified since none of our ancestors who ascended to the immortal realm have ever descended again. It is said that the higher one's realm, the stronger the resistance from the force of this world will be, even carrying the risk of falling, so those strong beings from the immortal realm will never descend lightly. Whatever fragments Pavilion Master Tang knows, please do tell them to me, I'd take them as a reference. Although the records about the immortal realm from the Star Pavilion might not necessarily be true, they were one of the few legends available. According to the ancient tomes of our Star Pavilion, there exist 3,000 minor worlds, and our realm is merely one of them, while the immortal realm towers above these 3,000 worlds as the ultimate destination for all powerful beings. The immortal realm is vast and boundless, with no fixed abode to be sought, and its beginning is unknown. Tang Wanzan simply described the legendary state of the immortal realm. Why does Lu Changsheng feel like he's listening to a bewildering tale? It seems the Star Pavilion doesn't really know the specifics about the immortal realm. Lu Changsheng pondered that he must wait for his disciples' cultivation to reach the Unity Realm and gather a bag full of 12th grade immortal elixirs and several ultimate treasures before he dares to choose the day to ascend. Chapter 321. 10 years after the end of the Zhongzhou Grand Ceremony, Mount Shu's disciple recruitment ceremony was conducted as usual. Only this time, the ceremony of accepting disciples was extraordinary. Young prodigies from various regions thronged to Xia State to participate in the Mount Shu ceremony of taking disciples. Mount Shu's sect leader, Lu Changsheng, having captured the championship at the Zhongzhou Grand Ceremony, became famous throughout the world, drawing talents from all the major regions to come and learn from him. At the Zhongzhou Grand Ceremony, Lu Changsheng displayed sacred tear sword techniques and even the ultimate treasure, the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus of the 12th grade. Mount Shu had become, in the eyes of cultivators from all regions, a super sect on the same level as the Star Pavilion, Dragon Tiger Sect, and Thousand Swords Manor. In the past, each Mount Shu ceremony for taking disciples saw only over 10,000 candidates, but this time, there were hundreds of thousands of candidates for the Mount Shu discipleship. The Mount Shu elders couldn't stop smiling, and even many supreme elders specially left their retreats to take disciples. This Mount Shu disciple recruitment ceremony saw many talented individuals from other regions, the likes of which were unprecedented. Mount Shu's sect leader is the strongest in the world, soon to ascend to the immortal realm. To become his direct disciple would indeed be an extraordinary fortune. I came all the way from Dan State specifically to join Mount Shu and seek the ultimate sword technique. Give it up, with your talent, you might not even be able to reach great perfection with a heaven-rank cultivation technique, let alone Mount Shu sect leader's ultimate sword technique. What's the difference between a person without dreams and a salted fish? What are you looking at? So what if I am? This is a sacred place in Mount Shu, no noise is allowed. Hundreds of thousands of candidate disciples crowded Mount Shu's Grand Hall Plaza, creating a sea of people, and some talented individuals from different regions got into a brawl due to jostling and were expelled by Mount Shu disciples maintaining order. These candidate disciples came from all regions, with many strong sects sending their elders descendants. If one could learn the sacred tear sword technique independently created by Lu Changsheng, it would be an opportunity of a millennium. Streaks of light arrived at Mount Shu's Grand Hall, with Taiyuan Zhenren, Situ Kong, Li Changzhai, Mirong Shi and other supreme elders of Mount Shu appearing. The current sect leader of Mount Shu, Lu Changsheng, and various disciples of King Yun Peak, arrived together. Lu Changsheng's terrifying presence enveloped the main peak of Mount Shu. Not just the main peak of Mount Shu, but the whole range of Mount Shu trembled as well. Lu Changsheng had reached the 9th layer of the Unity Realm and was already one of the strongest beings in this world. All of Lu Changsheng's direct disciples were in the Void Refinement Realm, and in any sect, they would be considered exceptional geniuses with promising futures. Greetings to the sect leader. Many Mount Shu elders and disciples called out in unison, the momentum immense. The hundreds of thousands of candidates on Mount Shu's Grand Hall Plaza grew solemn and respectful. They had come from far and wide with the goal of taking Lu Changsheng as their master. After all, Lu Changsheng was universally recognized as the strongest of the current era. I have never seen Mount Shu in such a glorious state. Uncle Master Situ Kong stroked his beard and sighed. The scale of this disciple recruitment ceremony was dozens of times greater than previous ones, and even Situ Kong, who had lived for thousands of years, was moved by it. This time, as we select disciples at Mount Shu, we need to raise our standards. The various Mount Shu elders whispered among themselves. Even the solitary elders of Mount Shu were intent on seizing the opportunity to take one or two extraordinary geniuses as their disciples. Lu Changsheng swung his robe sleeve, and the inferior immortal artifact, the gallbladder mirror, was summoned, enlarging as it caught the wind. The gallbladder mirror could reveal a candidate's innate talent. One by one, candidates stepped forward, their talents revealed in the gallbladder mirror. Luo Xintang, Qi Transformation Realm 2nd Layer, Root Bone above average, Comprehension above average, Qi Destiny below average, possesses the special physique 1000 Poison Body. 1000 Poison Body? Such a physique is extremely suitable for cultivating poison skills. As long as the poison skills are used for the righteous Dao, it is not necessarily unacceptable. Exactly. If such a special physique had appeared in the past in the Valley of 10,000 Poisons, it surely would have been cherished as the Holy Maiden. The Mount Shu elders stirred with excitement. Out of the hundreds of thousands of disciple candidates, not even 1,000 had been reviewed yet, and already a special physique like the 1000 Poison Body had emerged. All eyes turned to Lu Changsheng, wondering if he would take this disciple under his wing. Lu Changsheng shook his head. He was about to ascend to the immortal realm and didn't have much time to train another disciple. Even if Lu Changsheng wanted to take disciples, he would do so in the immortal realm to receive the rewards for accepting disciples there. Although the 1000 Poison Body was rare, Lu Changsheng, already having 6 disciples, remained unmoved. After elevating his perspective, Lu Changsheng had higher standards for accepting disciples. The girl named Luo Xintang couldn't help but feel disappointed. With her physique, she could probably be nurtured by the sect leader if she wished to join another sect. Under the protection of her family's powerhouse, she had come a long way to Mount Shu, aiming to join King Yun Peak, not just any elder. Only Lu Changsheng, Situ Kong and Taiyuan Zhenren from Mount Shu were in the Unity Realm, the other Supreme Elders were merely in the Void Refinement Realm. Compared to Supreme Elders from powerful sects like the Star Pavilion, Dragon Tiger Sect, and Thousand Swords Manor, they had far less to offer in terms of resources. Seeing the candidates' concerns, Lu Changsheng said, "Upon ascending to the immortal realm, I will leave all my cultivation techniques behind in Mount Shu. Anyone who contributes to Mount Shu will have the chance to exchange for these techniques." The tens of thousands of candidates below stirred. Even if the sect leader of Mount Shu did not take disciples, would they still get a chance to learn Lu Changsheng's self-created cultivation techniques? Changsheng. Situ Kong and Taiyuan Zhenren were visibly moved. Lu Changsheng, willing to leave all his mastered cultivation techniques in Mount Shu to retain talent, was a generous act for the sect. Thousand Swords Manor had stood for hundreds of thousands of years, drawing countless sword Dao geniuses with its sect defending skills like the selfless sword technique. Now, Lu Changshen's self-created sacred tier Heavenly Earth mystical sword technique, which defeated Sun Jian's selfless sword technique at the Zhongzhou Grand Ceremony, had become the sect defending skills of Mount Shu, attracting even more sword Dao geniuses. Chapter 322. Although ultimately only a few can learn the sacred tier sword technique, even if one joins Thousand Swords Manor, the result is the same. Only true geniuses have the opportunity to learn, and can actually learn, the sacred tier sword technique. Otherwise, to ordinary cultivators, the sacred tier sword technique seems abstruse and incomprehensible. Even if they wish to learn it, they may not be able to grasp the basics and might even leak Lu Changshen's self-created sacred tier sword technique. Lu Changshen's fifth disciple, Ji Xian, saw that Lu Changsheng was preparing for ascension to the immortal realm and had no energy to train disciples again, so she took the initiative and said, "I am the fifth disciple of King Yun Peak, and I plan to take you as my disciple. Are you willing?" Ji Xian, with the demon god physique, ruled over the demons in Huang state. Once she spoke, other Mount Shu elders found it inappropriate to compete with Ji Xian for disciples. Luo Xintang was rather disappointed at first, but since Lu Changsheng did not take on disciples himself, his direct disciples did. Thus, Luo Xintang could still join King Yun Peak. Mount Shu's King Yun Peak had already become the most famous branch in Mount Shu. "Master above, please accept your disciple Luo Xintang's bow." Luo Xintang knelt down and performed the disciple salute, officially taking Ji Xian as her master. "My 6 direct disciples all possess the qualifications to ascend to the immortal realm. That you can become a disciple of my 5th disciple is your honor, do not become arrogant or complacent." Lu Changsheng discovered that his own disciples had the qualifications to take on disciples themselves and couldn't help but sigh that time flies, meanwhile reminding Luo Xintang, who possessed the 1000 poison body, not to be arrogant. The 1000 poison body is a fairly decent special physique, but Lu Changshen's 6 disciples each have the everlasting verdant body, martial king divine physique, body of the literary sage, pure yang body, demon god physique, and 9 heavens mysterious lady physique, all of which are superior to the 1000 poison body. Lu Changsheng had also seen other special physiques like the innate Taoist body, Lingwei holy body, Nirvana phoenix body, and spirit sword physique. At the Zhongzhou conference, Lu Changsheng defeated all manner of experts with great accomplishment in special physiques. The young geniuses, revered as the pride of the heavens in their respective states, didn't seem like much in Lu Changshen's eyes. After Ji Xian, the 5th disciple of King Yun Peak, took on Luo Xintang as her disciple, the disciple recruitment ceremony continued. The supreme elders, like Li Changjai and Mirong Shi, seeing one exceptional talent emerge after another at Mount Shu's disciple recruitment ceremony, could not hold back and each recruited disciples for themselves. Even Elder Zhao Huiyan of Xiao Peak managed to pick up several exceptional geniuses. This goes to show that Lu Changshen's victory at the Zhongzhou conference really made Mount Shu renowned, attracting swarms of exceptional talents from all over, enabling even Zhao Huiyan, who had only recently stepped into the void refinement realm, to select several promising candidates. The recruitment ceremony had several 100,000 applicants, and after one day of selection, only a fraction of the candidates were chosen. The next day, the recruitment ceremony continued. Li Jianfei, 4th level of Qi Transformation Realm, Root Bone Superior, Comprehension Superior, Qi Destiny Superior, possesses a special physique, the Spirit Sword Physique. The Spirit Sword Physique. Another Spirit Sword Physique has appeared. A youth carrying a long sword stood in front of the gallbladder mirror for the aptitude test, and as the mirror shone with golden light, 3 golden ancient characters of Spirit Sword Physique appeared on the bright mirror surface. The Spirit Sword Physique is known as the most suitable special physique for the Sword Dao. Penglai Fairy and Sun Jian, these Sword Dao powerhouses, they all have the Spirit Sword Physique. Full of youthful vigor, Li Jianfei stood upright, chest out and head held high, his gaze sharp as he looked towards Lu Changsheng seated at the center of Mount Shu's Grand Hall. Lu Changsheng, creator of the sacred tier sword technique, would surely value a young spirit sword physique talent. Perhaps Lu Changsheng would not fancy the 1000 poison body, a more unconventional special physique, but he would certainly take a second look at his spirit sword physique. However, Lu Changsheng remained unmoved. So what if it's a spirit sword physique? His eldest disciple Li Changjai's direct disciple, Xiao Xiangdao, is a spirit sword physique. Even Sun Jian, the owner of Thousand Swords Manor, who has great accomplishment in spirit sword physique, still lost to Lu Changsheng, who is not a spirit sword physique. Master, your disciple would like to recruit this person to our King Yun Peak for cultivation. After pondering for a moment, Lin Qingzi, the chief disciple of King Yun Peak, decided to take Li Jianfei as his direct disciple. Lu Changsheng agreed. Once Lu Changsheng ascended to the immortal realm, Lin Qingzi would take over the control of King Yun Peak, and Lin Qingzi would also need to take in disciples, pass on cultivation techniques, and help Lin Qingzi handle some sundry matters. I am Lin Qingzi, the head disciple of King Yun Peak, and I plan to take you as my disciple. Would you be willing? Originally, other Mount Shu elders had intentions of taking Li Jianfei as their direct disciple, but once the head disciple of King Yun Peak, Lin Qingzi, spoke up, everyone respectfully stepped back. Sect leader Lu Changsheng appeared to disdain having too many disciples and showed no interest in taking more, so no one would compete with Lin Qingzi for disciples if Lin Qingzi took them in on behalf of Lu Changsheng. Moreover, Lin Qingzi was now an 8th tier cultivator in the Void Refinement realm, not far from reaching the Unity realm. In all of Mount Shu, there were fewer than 10 people with a higher realm than Lin Qingzi. This disciple is willing. Li Jianfei hurriedly accepted the offer. Though he didn't know why, even a peerless genius with the spirit sword physique didn't seem to catch the eye of Mount Shu's sect leader Lu Changsheng, but since he was the top disciple of Lu Changsheng taking in disciples, surely it couldn't be too different from being taken in directly by Lu Changsheng himself, right? However, what Li Jianfei didn't know was that there was a clear difference between being directly taken in as a disciple by Lu Changsheng and being taken in by Lin Qingzi on Lu Changsheng's behalf, which was that he couldn't receive the power-infusing initiation from Lu Changsheng and could only cultivate slowly. Lu Changsheng had reached the 9th tier of the Unity realm and was continuously solidifying his realm, preparing to transcend the ninefold heavenly tribulation to ascend to the immortal realm, so he had no time to care for more disciples. Lu Qinglian, Shen Xiaoao, Mo Huaji, and Chen Yao also recruited several disciples each, expanding the scale of King Yun Peak's disciples. These disciples who joined King Yun Peak were all peerless talents from various regions, including body temperers, Confucian Dao practitioners, and demon race cultivators. From a single person, Lu Changsheng, King Yun Peak had grown to more than a dozen people, each disciple a peerless talent. This was the legacy Lu Changsheng left for Mount Shu. Even if Lu Changsheng ascended to the immortal realm, King Yun Peak could continue cultivating peerless talents for Mount Shu, ensuring that for thousands, even tens of thousands of years, Mount Shu would remain one of the strongest sects in this realm. Damn it, Lin Qingzi's cultivation has actually surpassed my master's, and the disciple he has taken is also a spirit sword physique like me. Xiao Xiangdao was gnashing his teeth. Lin Qingzi's cultivation speed was simply alarming, having already surpassed Li Changjai. Xiao Xiangdao and Lin Qingzi were from the same generation of Mount Shu disciples. At that time, Xiao Xiangdao's cultivation level was significantly higher than that of Lin Qingzi, but in such a short period, Lin Qingzi was already preparing to break through to the Unity realm, while Xiao Xiangdao was still in the Dao Palace realm. If this trend continued, once Lu Changsheng ascended to the immortal realm, Lin Qingzi would very likely replace him, becoming the 29th generation sect leader of Mount Shu, controlling it for thousands of years. Xiao Xiangdao couldn't accept the thought of his former follower surpassing him in status. Furthermore, the fact that Lin Qingzi had taken on a disciple with a spirit sword physique, just like Xiao Xiangdao, made it even harder for him to accept. However, Xiao Xiangdao was helpless to do anything about it. With his current level of cultivation, there was a huge gap between him and Lin Qingzi, who could defeat him with merely one sword strike. Xiao Xiangdao clenched his fists tightly. I refuse to accept such a defeat to Lin Qingzi. The road to cultivation is long, and if, in the end, we can both ask about the path to longevity, then it is hard to say who will win or lose. The Mount Shu disciple recruitment ceremony went on for a full 10 days before it concluded. Because there were so many peerless geniuses participating in the ceremony, Mount Shu exceptionally took in 30,000 disciples this time, including 3,000 inner sect disciples. This was still with the consideration of Mount Shu's resources being limited, as recruiting even more disciples could actually impede their cultivation. Changsheng, seeing as how you did not take in a single disciple at this recruitment ceremony, it seems you are planning to ascend to the immortal realm in the near future, said the Taiyuan true person, perceiving Lu Changshen's intentions. Lu Changsheng had nothing to hide from the Taiyuan true person, but before ascending to the immortal realm, I want to set a trap to completely eradicate the heretic cultivators from the immortal realm and potential enemies coveting Mount Shu's cultivation techniques, to eliminate future troubles once and for all, so that after my ascension, Mount Shu will not be left unguarded. Lu Changshen's eyes became sharp. It was time to set the stage, to catch all enemies in one fell swoop before his ascension. Chapter 323. This is the mnemonic verse for the Zodiac Star Battle Array of Mount Shu, which can stimulate the Great Formation with the sect defending taking Wuji technique, said the instructor. Although you have created a sacred tier cultivation technique, the Zodiac Star Battle Array draws upon the power of the 365 main stars aligned with Mount Shu's 365 peaks. When fully powered, it can reduce an earth immortal to ashes and must not be underestimated. The only weakness of Mount Shu's Zodiac Star Battle Array is that it can only be used within Mount Shu. This is the foundation left to Mount Shu by our ancestor Daoist taking. He did not lack more advanced techniques to leave us. However, he feared the old adage one may bring trouble to oneself by possessing something valuable. A sacred tier technique might attract unwanted attention, and Mount Shu might not be able to defend such techniques. After the disciple acceptance ceremony at Mount Shu concluded, Grand Master Taiyuan imparted the mnemonic verse of the mountain protecting Zodiac Star Battle Array to Lu Changsheng. The Zodiac Star Battle Array has always been a well-kept secret of Mount Shu, seldom used. Every time the Zodiac Star Battle Array was activated, it utterly destroyed formidable enemies. Only when facing the Demon Lord, since Mount Shu didn't have enough powerful cultivators to operate the Zodiac Star Battle Array, did the effort fall short. Now that Mount Shu has seen the rise of a Unity Realm 9th layer expert like Lu Changsheng, Grand Master Taiyuan confidently taught him the mnemonic verse of the Zodiac Star Battle Array. In fact, Grand Master Taiyuan had long intended to impart the mnemonic verse of the sect defending formation, but Lu Changsheng had been in deep cultivation. Lu Changsheng planned to eliminate any hidden dangers before his ascension, choosing Mount Shu as the staging ground. According to ancient Mount Shu records, even beings like Earth Immortals couldn't withstand the full power of the Zodiac Star Battle Array. I still need to cultivate in seclusion for 100 years. Before ascending to the immortal realm, I should solidify my foundation and perfect my techniques as much as possible, Lu Changsheng said. Lu Changsheng knew his advancing realm was becoming increasingly difficult to suppress. He could forcibly contain it for another 100 years. During this century, he wanted to teach his disciples as much as possible, raise several of them to the Unity Realm, and then ascend to the immortal realm with the treasures his disciples returned, to cling to life in the survival of the fittest immortal realm. By then, we should try to enlist the help of Monk Wu Le from the Immeasurable Temple, Fairy Xia from the Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, Temple Master Yu from the Hidden Dragon Temple, and Grand Master Chen from the Martial Alliance. We could even ask for assistance from Penglai Fairy of Penglai Immortal Island. With her help, I can offer treasures in return. For the sake of security, Lu Changsheng decided to invite many powerful Unity Realm experts to join the plan. Heretic cultivators from the Immortal Realm are targeting him, Lu Changsheng, and if not dealt with, once Lu Changsheng ascended, no one in this realm would be able to match him. Even the disciples Lu Changsheng left behind could not escape the adversary's clutches. Your master and grand uncle will also give it their all, he assured. Grand Master Taiyuan was aware that before his ascension, Lu Changsheng intended to remove all obstacles for Mount Shu. Lu Changsheng returned to King Yun Peak and continued to mentor his disciples. With the addition of the second-generation disciples, King Yun Peak became even livelier. Luo Xintang and Li Jianfei, these second-generation disciples, were outstanding talents of their young generation. After joining King Yun Peak, Lu Changsheng gave each of the second-generation disciples a bag of elixir pills, ranging from 1st tier to 6th tier, sufficient for them to reach the nascent soul realm. After all, the second-generation disciples were only at the foundation establishment realm and chi transformation realm. For them, 6th tier elixir pills were already incredible. Luo Xintang, Li Jianfei, and the other 9 second-generation disciples of King Yun Peak were stunned. The Grand Master was incredibly generous, rewarding them with 6th tier elixir pills just after they were initiated. If they could receive 6th tier elixir pills now, it was unimaginable what they might receive in the future. The only regret was that Lu Changsheng seemed not too keen to engage with the second-generation disciples, instead having the first-generation disciples guide them. Mount Shu has its rules, and we of King Yun Peak have our own. As long as you follow the rules and cultivate diligently, you won't lack money, elixir pills, or techniques. However, there is one bottom line that no one is allowed to cross, and that is you must never betray the sect. You must not resort to the demonic Dao in your eagerness to achieve success. Understood. As the leading disciple of King Yun Peak, Lin Qingzi gathered the 9 second-generation disciples and explained the rules of King Yun Peak. Luo Xintang, Li Jianfei and the other second-generation disciples said in unison, "We will bear it in mind, disciple. And, this Daoist is Mount Shu's mountain guarding divine beast." Lin Qingzi introduced Daoist Earthhound to the second-generation disciples. The 9 second-generation disciples turned their gaze toward the yellow dog by Lin Qingzi's side. How could this ordinary-looking dog be Mount Shu's mountain guarding divine beast? Seeing the confusion in the disciples' eyes, Lin Qingzi said, "Daoist Earthhound is a demon race loose cultivator at the Void Refinement Realm." Void Refinement Realm. The second-generation disciples were taken aback. No one expected this ordinary-looking yellow dog to be a Void Refinement Realm powerhouse. King Yun Peak truly was a place of wonder. "That's right, just like that," said Daoist Earthhound as he took on his human form. "Although I am merely an outer sect disciple, I am the only one accepted by our master, and my talent may not be inferior to yours. If you cause trouble outside, I might be able to cover for you." The Grand Master indeed has an extraordinary vision. A Void Refinement Realm demon race loose cultivator is merely an outer sect disciple. No wonder the Grand Master doesn't want to accept us talents as direct disciples. Then our masters, the first-generation inner sect disciples of King Yun Peak, must have even greater talents than us, right? The second-generation disciples no longer dared to underestimate their masters. Chapter 324. The first-generation disciples of King Yun Peak were absolutely the crème de la crème. Therefore, the second-generation disciples cultivated peacefully at King Yun Peak. Lu Changsheng continued his power-infusing initiations for several direct disciples, striving to cultivate a few Unity Realm disciples before his ascension. At the same time, before ascending, Lu Changsheng needed to accumulate a batch of immortal pills, talismans, and magical treasures. Teaching the demon race disciple, Ji Xian, presented the opportunity to acquire a demon race treasured fragment. Lu Changsheng already had 2 pieces of the demon race's ultimate treasure. Therefore, rewarding Ji Xian with magical treasures raised the hope of obtaining a demon race ultimate treasure before ascending. In the 10th year of Lu Changshen's discipleship, he obtained the 3rd piece of demon race treasured fragment. In the 50th year, Lu Changsheng obtained the 4th piece of the demon race treasured fragment. In the 88th year, Lin Qingzi, the chief disciple of King Yun Peak, his cultivation reached the 9th layer pinnacle of the Void Refinement Realm, on the verge of stepping into the Unity Realm. Lu Changsheng had prepared tribulation elixir pills and magical treasures for Lin Qingzi. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lin Qingzi with the 9th grade elixir pill Convergence Pill, and you have received an 8,000-fold disciple teaching reward, an 11th grade elixir pill Ascension Pill. Ascension Pill, an 11th grade immortal pill, used before breaking through to the Unity Realm or facing the 9-fold heavenly tribulation. It provides an initial glimpse into the Earth Immortal Realm, increasing the success rate of ascension. An 11th grade immortal pill. Lu Changsheng was only a step away from ascension, and the Ascension Pill could increase the success rate of ascending to the Immortal Realm, which was exactly what he needed. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lin Qingzi with the 9th grade elixir pill Jin Jiao Xian Dan, and you have received a 180-fold disciple teaching reward, a 10th grade elixir pill Demon Dragon Golden Core. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lin Qingzi with a lower-tier defensive immortal artifact Suan Jin Battle Armor, and you have received a 100-fold disciple teaching reward, a mid-tier defensive immortal artifact Meteorite Cold Ice Battle Armor. Ding! The number of immortal artifacts that can be returned this month 1. This mid-tier immortal sword, your master bestows upon you, you may use it to overcome the tribulation. Lu Changsheng awarded Lin Qingzi a mid-tier immortal sword, the Greenwood Light Sword. Previously, Lin Qingzi's magical treasure was the lower-tier immortal sword, Azure Light Frost Brilliance Sword. A lower-tier immortal sword would struggle to overcome the 6-fold heavenly tribulation, so Lu Changsheng especially selected a mid-tier immortal sword for Lin Qingzi. Disciple thanks Master. Lin Qingzi infused true qi into the Greenwood Light Sword, and the green light flourished, sword qi spread out, and the entire King Yun Peak trembled. The might of a mid-tier immortal sword was terrifying indeed. In the beginning, the Demon Lord, with the high-tier immortal artifact Demon Emperor Cauldron, almost destroyed the entirety of Mount Shu. A mid-tier immortal sword was already phenomenal. However, Lu Changsheng, possessing the 12th tier Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, didn't place much importance on a mid-tier immortal sword. The second-generation disciples of King Yun Peak looked at each other. The Grand Master was indeed generous, casually bestowing a magical treasure that was a mid-tier immortal artifact. In some powerful sects in various regions, their sect-defending treasure was nothing more than a mid-tier immortal artifact. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lin Qingzi with a mid-tier immortal artifact Greenwood Light Sword, and you have received a 100-fold disciple teaching reward, a high-tier immortal artifact Qing Emperor's Divine Radiance Sword. Ding! The number of immortal artifacts that can be returned this month 1. A sword of the same caliber as the demon-suppressing sword appeared within Lu Changsheng. Green light reaching thousands of miles, divine radiance illuminated all. Aside from the 12th tier Nirvana Flames Red Lotus, other treasures had to evade its sharpness. After Lin Qingzi received the elixir pills and magical treasures, he set about overcoming the tribulation outside Mount Shu. Soon there were lightning flashes and thunder outside Mount Shu. The six-fold heavenly tribulation descended. The six-fold heavenly tribulation Lin Qingzi faced lasted for a full 6 hours before it came to an end. When the heavenly tribulation was over, Lin Qingzi stood in the deep crater it had blasted, retracting the mid-tier immortal sword Greenwood Light Sword. Lin Qingzi formally stepped into the Unity Realm, becoming the 4th Unity Realm powerhouse of Mount Shu. After stepping into the Unity Realm, Lin Qingzi's aura changed, embracing the grace of a generation's great master. All of Lin Qingzi's abilities were taught by Lu Changsheng, and moreover, Lin Qingzi had cultivated the taking Wuji technique to the 10th level, making his temperament the closest to Lu Changsheng's. Li Jianfei was solemnly respectful. It seemed that his master, Lin Qing, had not cultivated for long before already reaching the Unity Realm, becoming one of the strongest cultivators of this realm. Ding! Your eldest disciple Lin Qingzi's current realm is Unity Realm Level 1. Unity Realm disciples can be rewarded with 10th tier elixir pills, 10th tier talismans, and high tier immortal artifacts. Rewarding a high tier immortal artifact guarantees a return of at least a treasured fragment, with the chance to directly return an ultimate treasure. Number of immortal artifacts/ultimate treasure fragments that can be returned this year, 2 halves. As disciples' realms improve, the monthly limit for returning immortal artifacts will increase, with an additional +1 to the limit for every Unity Realm disciple. Oh! It was only then that Lu Changsheng learned that the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator had a limited number of ultimate treasures/treasured fragments that could be returned each year. The more Unity Realm disciples there were, the more treasured fragments/ultimate treasures could be returned. Ding! Your eldest disciple Lin Qingzi has advanced from the Void Refinement Realm to the Unity Realm. You have received a Disciple Advancement Reward, a human race treasured fragment ×1. Another treasured fragment. Lu Changsheng silently collected the ultimate treasure fragments, just to forge an ultimate treasure in the future. In this realm, ultimate treasures were scarce to be seen. Presumably, not everyone in the immortal realm possesses an ultimate treasure, since there are also immortal artifacts, which are a tier below ultimate treasures. Immortal artifacts are the most common treasures in the immortal realm. For Unity Realm disciples, one can directly bestow top-grade immortal artifacts. Thus, Lu Changsheng took out the top-grade immortal sword Qing Emperor's Divine Radiance Sword he had just obtained. This immortal sword would be sufficient for Lin Qingzi to use until his ascension to the immortal realm. This was also, before his own ascension to the immortal realm, the ultimate treasure Lu Changsheng would bestow upon Lin Qingzi. Lu Changsheng had no spare ultimate treasures. Besides, ordinary Unity Realm cultivators could not normally afford to use ultimate treasures. The consumption of true Qi by ultimate treasures was too terrifying, to the extent that early Unity Realm practitioners might not even be able to deploy an ultimate treasure. Lu Changsheng relied on the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Elixir to fully harness the power of the Nirvana Flames Red Lotus. A top-grade immortal sword was enough. Lin Qingzi also had other fellow disciples, and was not afraid of the strong from other sects. When Lu Changsheng took out the Qing Emperor's Divine Radiance Sword, a celestial phenomenon appeared over King Yun Peak, with a majestic phantom descending upon it, resembling an immortal emperor, looking down upon all below. That is a top-grade immortal sword. Grandmaster is being overly generous, isn't he? Just reaching Unity Realm grants one a top-grade immortal sword. Top-grade immortal swords are even rare among some powerful sects, not all of them possess such treasures. The second-generation disciples were stunned by the sight of this newly emerged immortal sword. The sect leaders of Star Pavilion, Dragon Tiger Sect, and Thousand Swords Manor wield nothing more than top-grade immortal instruments. I have no spare ultimate treasures. Before ascending to the immortal realm, the best I can offer you is this one offensive treasure. Lu Changsheng passed the Qing Emperor's Divine Radiance Sword to Lin Qingzi. Ding! You have bestowed upon your disciple Lin Qingzi the top-grade immortal artifact Qing Emperor's Divine Radiance Sword, earning a 100-fold disciple bestowal reward, a human race treasured fragment. Ding! The remainder for this month's return of ultimate treasure/treasured fragment 1. Yet another treasured fragment obtained. The number of fragments Lu Changsheng had accumulated was gradually increasing. Disciple is already immensely grateful for receiving this treasure and dares not covet an ultimate treasure. Even if Master has spare ultimate treasures, please bring them with you to the immortal realm. The immortal realm is perilous, and Master will need ultimate treasures for self-preservation. Lin Qingzi was tearfully grateful. His master was about to ascend to the immortal realm, yet he still thought of his disciple's future. Truly, his master was the best in the world. The second-generation disciples on King Yun Peak were dumbfounded. From Lu Changshen's words, it seemed that if he had spare ultimate treasures, he might even bestow them upon his disciples. Grandmaster surely did not hold back anything. Or could it be that Grandmaster didn't even care for ultimate treasures? The second-generation disciples practiced with even more diligence. Joining King Yun Peak meant that they were not lacking in cultivation resources such as elixir pills, talismans, treasures, or cultivation techniques, they merely needed to diligently cultivate to easily obtain these resources. On Mount Shu, one could receive a top-grade immortal artifact and also cultivate to the sacred tier swordsmanship. This was a privilege only for the geniuses who joined the Star Pavilion, Dragon Tiger Sect, and Thousand Swords Manor. Lu Changsheng continued to mentor disciples. On the 99th year of this seclusion, Lu Changsheng passed a demon race treasure to his fifth disciple Ji Xian, gaining another demon race treasured fragment in the process. This demon race ultimate treasure could be forged with just 5 treasured fragments. Ding! You have used 5 demon race treasured fragments to forge a lower tier ultimate treasure, the Demon God Clock. Chapter 325. An ancient mysterious yellow bell appeared within Lu Changshen's body, surrounded by myriad demonic figures and the elements of earth, water, fire, and wind. The bell's vast tolling sound filled the air, overwhelming with demonic energy and shaking the very space within him, as if a single toll of the mysterious yellow ancient bell could destroy the entire space. The Demon God Clock revealed its power, only rivaled by the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus, whose fiery radiance soared to the skies, matching the Demon God Clock in a standoff, neither yielding to the other. Against the backdrop of the Demon God Clock and the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus, even superior immortal artifacts like the Demon Suppressing Sword and the Demon Emperor Cauldron were subdued, like subjects in the presence of their sovereign. An ultimate treasure is a divine instrument used by immortals, fundamentally different from the earthly immortal artifacts of this realm. This was the second ultimate treasure that Lu Changsheng had acquired. The Demon God Clock, like the Demon Emperor Cauldron, seems to be a spatial treasure. In some sense, spatial treasures are rarer than those for attack or defense. With the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, treasures like the Immortal Sword were commonplace for Lu Changsheng compared to the rarity of the Demon God Clock. I can hardly suppress my cultivation level any longer. I'm about to ascend to the immortal realm. Before I leave, I need to wrap things up. In the 99 years of his seclusion, Lu Changsheng had persistently taken disciples, occasionally bestowing them with power-infusing initiation which required him to return some of his own cultivation. Giving back cultivation made his level rise higher and higher, and Lu Changsheng couldn't refuse. It seems the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator isn't without its drawbacks. Lu Changsheng could ascend to the immortal realm at any time. With such an advanced cultivation level, even Lu Changshen's efforts to suppress it were in vain, and he would eventually be expelled by the world's forces. Although he only had 2 ultimate treasures, they would likely be enough to ensure his survival in the immortal realm. As long as he didn't stir up trouble, Lu Changsheng had a real chance to lie low and achieve sanctity in the immortal realm. In the immortal realm, he could also take disciples. Where there were people, there were rivers and lakes, teacher-student relationships, and the formation of factions. The immortal realm was probably no exception. King Zi, send someone to deliberately leak the news that your teacher intends to ascend to the immortal realm in a year. Lu Changsheng called over his senior disciple, Lin Qingzi, to spread the word. Lin Qingzi was stunned. Ascending to the immortal realm involves facing the 9-fold heavenly tribulation and cannot be interrupted by others. It's best if as few people as possible know of this. Why does Master wish to spread this news deliberately? Lu Changsheng spoke with his hands behind his back. I plan to lure the snake out of its hole. If some people learn that I am about to ascend, they will certainly interfere. Lin Qingzi's eyes brightened as he grasped his teacher's intent. Is Master aiming to deal with the heretic cultivators from the immortal realm? Indeed. Additionally, arrange for a few disciples to go to the Immeasurable Temple, Hidden Dragon Temple, Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, Martial Alliance and Penglai Immortal Palace for assistance. Understood. Lin Qingzi may have been reserved and taciturn, but he was methodical in managing affairs, and Lu Changsheng was confident in entrusting him with the task. The news of Lu Changshen's ascension to the immortal realm in a year spread through Mount Shu like wildfire. A Mount Shu disciple, new to the sect, had a flash of unusual color in his eyes. 30,000 li away, Luo Feng, who was meditating, opened his eyes. He had seized the body of a Mount Shu disciple who was on a training expedition down the mountain and controlled this person, implanting him in Mount Shu to ascertain every move of the sect. The rumor of Lu Changsheng ascending to the immortal realm in a year was a matter of utmost importance to Mount Shu. If Lu Changsheng successfully ascends, my master certainly won't let me off the hook. By then, we will suffer from the endless reincarnation. No matter what, we cannot allow Lu Changsheng to ascend. Do you understand? Luo Feng rose to his feet, his gaze sweeping across the other two supreme beings from the immortal realm. He had used the summoning demon Great Formation, sacrificing millions of lives, to forcibly call forth two strong beings from the immortal realm. The two beings from the immortal realm, a man and a woman, each carried a long sword on their backs. We understand, they said. Upon hearing about their master's punishment, a chill ran through the pair. Their master was a supreme being of the immortal realm, failing to complete the task he had given them would result in the most brutal punishment. Luo Feng said darkly, on the day of Lu Changshen's ascension, we will strike unexpectedly, disrupt his path to immortality, and eliminate future troubles once and for all. A year later, in Mount Shu, on Qingyun Peak, streaks of light descended. Ha ha ha, lad, you're ascending to the immortal realm, and I, Chen, surely must be there to witness it. Grandmaster Chen's hearty voice echoed across Qingyun Peak. Having reached the Unity Realm, Grandmaster Chen was immensely sturdy and he came to lend a hand in the setup. Perhaps I can offer a small contribution, said Yu Suanji, who had reached the second layer of the Unity Realm. By Yu Suanji's side stood her direct disciple, Princess Wu Waner of Yu Country. Wu Waner looked somewhat downcast. She and Shen Xiaoao were early confidants, but Shen Xiaoao's marriage to Tang Ling'er proved that even childhood sweethearts couldn't match Providence. Xiaoao brother, said Wu Waner, forcing a cheerful greeting to Shen Xiaoao, who accompanied Lu Changsheng. Sister Waner, long time no see, Shen Xiaoao replied casually. He was at the Void Refinement Realm, while Wu Waner was still in the Dao Palace Realm. Suddenly, two terrifying presences descended upon Qingyun Peak. Lu Changsheng sensed who was arriving. Monk Wu Li and Master Wu Xiang from the Immeasurable Temple have come. A venerable monk with an aura of majesty and a monk who looked like a withered old man both arrived simultaneously, Master Wu Xiang of the Unity Realm's first layer and Monk Wu Li of the Unity Realm's ninth layer. Amitabha Buddha. Lu Benefactor is about to face his tribulation, and we two monks have come to offer a helping hand, said Master Wu Xiang, and Monk Wu Li's presence spoke to his sincerity. Monk Wu Li was among the top 8 contenders in the Zhongzhou Grand Meet. Fairy Sua and Fairy Xia have arrived, said Daoist Earthhound, who was responsible for welcoming guests at the mountain gate, as 2 more streaks of light arrived. Chapter 326. 2 graceful figures arrived at Qingyun Peak. The Master and Disciple of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, Su Jianer and Xiaoning Xiu, appeared. This time, the plan was to confront powerful beings from the immortal realm, so Lu Changsheng only invited Unity Realm powerhouses to assist. On Mount Shu's side, there were 4 Unity Realm powerhouses, Lu Changsheng, Lin Qingzi, Situ Kong and the real person of Taiyuan. Counting Grandmaster Chen, Yu Suanji, Su Jianer, Xiaoning Xiu, Master Wu Xiang and Monk Wu Li, there were a total of 10 major Unity Realm powerhouses. How could this be happening without me? A sweet voice rang out as the Penglai fairy arrived on her flying sword, with the sword chi naturally forming around her. Not long after the Zhongzhou Grand Assembly ended, Lu Changsheng casually imparted some advice to Penglai fairy. Now she was already a 4th layer Unity Realm powerhouse. The Penglay Fairy had been invited and naturally came immediately. Penglay Fairy's beautiful eyes roamed. Not long ago, Lu Changsheng was only at the level of the Wind Thunder Pavilion Master. Yet in such a short time, he was about to ascend to the Immortal Realm. The number of Unity Realm powerhouses had reached 11. If nothing unexpected happens, the strong beings from the Immortal Realm will appear within a few days. Lu Changsheng, through the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, simulated the lives of his disciples and had already predicted the arrival of a formidable enemy. The crowd looked at Lu Changsheng as if by prior agreement, astonished that not only was his cultivation exceptional, but he could also predict the future so accurately, even the actions of his enemies. It should be noted that the time law is far more difficult to master than the space law. The cultivators of this world who claim to deduce the workings of heaven only have a glimpse of understanding. 7 days later, Li Jianfei of the nascent soul realm was practicing his swordsmanship. Suddenly, Li Jianfei fiercely looked up at the sky above him. All he saw was demonic qi billowing over Mount Shu, boundless and vast. Such terrible demonic qi, how can it appear over Mount Shu? Li Jianfei, Luo Zintang and the other second-generation disciples of King Yun Peak were alarmed by the anomaly of the demonic qi and stopped their cultivation. Master! Luo Zintang looked towards his master, Ji Xian, with worry. Ji Xian was now a fully formed, great accomplished practitioner in the void refinement realm, and she was beautifully enchanting, captivating all beings. Don't worry, everything is according to Grand Master's expectations. Ji Xian was full of confidence in her master. Following her master, she had never suffered a loss. They're here. There are at least a dozen strong presences. It seems there are quite a few who covet Mount Shu. The 11 Unity Realm powerhouses staying at King Yun Peak were all moved. Lu Changsheng was fishing, but unexpectedly, more than a dozen strong enemies came all at once. Lu Changsheng, don't count on ascending to the Immortal Realm, because today, you will die by my divine skills, Luo Feng's voice sounded, echoing through Mount Shu, stunning all the elders and disciples of Mount Shu. This was the second invasion of powerful enemies Mount Shu had faced in recent years. This time, the enemies were even stronger than the Demon Lord. Lu Changshen's trap was only known by a few at the top of Mount Shu, not even Zhao Wen, Murongxi and others knew what was happening. Streams of light gathered rapidly at the main hall of Mount Shu, and the elders and disciples were panic-stricken. Such a terrifying aura, is this Luo Feng? Zhao Wen recognized Luo Feng, the traitor of Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, and at this moment, Luo Feng's aura was extremely strong. Luo Feng was accompanied by more than a dozen powerhouses, all of them Unity Realm powerhouses. Many of these Unity Realm powerhouses had their faces covered, obviously not wishing to reveal their identities. Luo Feng and these Unity Realm powerhouses looked down disdainfully at the people below. In their eyes, the ordinary elders and disciples of Mount Shu were like ants, barely worth a strike. All Mount Shu disciples, enter into my treasure. The voice of Mount Shu's sect leader, Lu Changsheng, rang out. Lu Changsheng brought out the Demon Emperor Cauldron, taking 10,000 elders and disciples of Mount Shu into the treasure space of the Demon Emperor Cauldron. With the space treasure Yaishin Bell now in his possession, Lu Changsheng no longer used the Demon Emperor Cauldron, instead treating the Demon Emperor Cauldron as a storage space. With the winning ticket in his hands, Luo Feng looked on indifferently as Lu Changsheng took the elders and disciples of Mount Shu into the Demon Emperor Cauldron. All I need to do is kill you and take your treasure, then even if they hide inside the treasure, they won't escape their fate. The cultivators surrounding Luo Feng scoffed, Lu Changsheng, don't even dream of ascending to the Immortal Realm smoothly. We'll make our move. Lu Changsheng, with the demon suppressing sword on his back, swept his gaze over Luo Feng and the helpers he had brought along, among whom a few emitted an aura with which Lu Changsheng was quite familiar. Lu Changsheng furrowed his brows, Sun Jian, Zhongqing Long, there's no need to disguise your intent. You've brought the best from Thousand Swords Manor and the Dragon Tiger sect to face our Mount Shu. Taken aback, the two masked figures removed their black cloths. We didn't expect our identities to be revealed by you. You disrupted our plans at the Zhongzhou conference. We've been entrusted by others, don't blame us for this. These two were indeed the Unity Realm pinnacle powerhouses Sun Jian and Zhongqing Long from Zhongzhou. Aside from the two Unity Realm pinnacle experts, there were also formidable members from Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect. Real figures like Tai Yuan, Situ Kong, Grand Master Chen, Yu Suanji, Master Wuxiang, and other Unity Realm powerhouses were greatly shocked, their expressions turning solemn immediately. Although Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong were each defeated by Lu Changsheng and Xia Ningxu at the Zhongzhou conference, they remained formidable adversaries. Not only did the pair attack personally, but they also brought several trusted masters with them. These trusted masters, just as Lu Changsheng had guessed, were all supreme elders from Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect. Though Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect didn't mobilize their entire force, the mere presence of a segment of their experts was already overwhelmingly powerful against Mount Shu. However, compared to sect powerhouses like Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong, Lu Changsheng was even more concerned about the male and female cultivators by Luofeng's side. The auras of these two cultivators were unfamiliar, yet no weaker than Luofeng's. Could it be? Lu Changsheng's expression shifted subtly. The two cultivators by Luofeng's side had a look and aura that suggested they, too, might be formidable beings from the immortal realm. So many strong figures from the heavens were willing to fall in realms just to deal with him. Weren't they a bit too fixated? Lu Changsheng was uncertain whether Mount Shu's zodiac star battle array could withstand 3 experts from the immortal realm at the same time. Oh? Since you've all gathered, it seems you've set this trap deliberately. But do you really have the capacity to face us? Luofeng, noticing Xia Ningxu, Monk Wu Li, and others at the location, realized Qin Kai had intentionally lured him here. We too are likewise significant figures from the immortal realm. We are experts of the earth immortal realm. To us, you're nothing more than feudal resistance. The male and the female cultivators looked at Lu Changsheng and the others with eyes full of disdain. Earth immortal realm. A wave of shock swept through the cultivators. Luofeng and these two male and female cultivators had surpassed the unity realm. Only the power of the world restrained them, suppressing their cultivation to the level of the unity realm. Even so, their cultivation was stronger than that of many unity realm experts. Longevity, this is bad. The other party has more than a dozen unity realm experts, mostly those who have reached great accomplishment. Our Mount Shu's mountain protecting divine formation may not be able to handle so many. Tai Yuan covertly broke into a cold sweat. The people of Mount Shu had not anticipated that Luofeng would bring so many experts. Unexpectedly, Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong, you two actually covet Mount Shu. A booming voice resounded, and all eyes turned toward the source of the sound. Star Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan arrived with several supreme elders from Star Pavilion. By Tang Wanzan's side was a young woman who playfully winked at Shen Xiaoao. Linger. Shen Xiaoao was overjoyed. He had secretly informed Tang Linger about this matter, never expecting that she truly would persuade her father Tang Wanzan to help. Tang Wanzan, the sect leader of the mightiest sect, could mobilize quite a few supreme elders of Star Pavilion. With Tang Wanzan and Tang Linger's support, Shen Xiaoao finally could assist his master. Even Lu Changsheng was somewhat taken aback. Though Tang Wanzan was no match for Luofeng, he was more than enough to handle people like Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong. The people from Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect's expressions changed drastically. They had not expected Star Pavilion to become Mount Shu's reinforcement, arriving just in the nick of time during this dire situation. The Empress of Great Marshal has arrived. Suddenly, a contingent of Imperial Guards came forth, and the Great General, a peak 6th layer Unity Realm expert from the Great Marshal dynasty, personally cleared the way. A dignified figure descended as Empress Wu Yu appeared, uninvited and escorted by the Imperial Guard. Chapter 327. Wu Yu. Lu Changsheng had never anticipated that the Empress of Great Marshal, whose acquaintance he had made by chance, would descend upon Mount Shu at this time. Wu Yu was a peak Unity Realm powerhouse, her strength not inferior to that of Tang Wanzan from the Star Pavilion, definitely one of the strongest beings born in this world. With Tang Wanzan and Wu Yu lending their aid, the people of Thousand Swords Manor and the Dragon Tiger sect grew apprehensive. Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong, you suffered losses at the Zhongzhou conference, that is a fact, but your magnanimity is too little, Tang Wanzan said coldly. To trouble Mount Shu over a matter of face, privately, just because you are seething with resentment. Since my son-in-law is a disciple of Mount Shu, and for the sake of my daughter, how can I just stand by and watch? Tang Wanzan looked down upon Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong and their cohorts with pride. Although Tang Wanzan was no match for Luofeng, he could defeat either Sun Jian or Zhang Qinglong. Not to mention the relationship between his daughter Tang Linger and Shen Xiaoao. The fact that Lu Changsheng helped Tang Wanzan heal his wounds was sufficient reason for Tang Wanzan to take action. Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong exchanged glances, and finally, Sun Jian said coldly, Pavilion Master Tang, your strength indeed surpasses ours. However, these 3 seniors are Earth Immortal Realm experts from the Immortal Realm. So long as we assist them, they could inform us about the situation in the Immortal Realm and even impart sacred tier cultivation techniques to us. Our purpose here is not solely for personal vengeance. Zhang Qinglong said ominously, Tang Wanzan, if you insist on interfering in our grudge with Mount Shu, then the Star Pavilion will no longer be the strongest sect in this world. 3 Earth Immortal Realm powerhouses. Tang Wanzan and the Supreme Elders of the Star Pavilion he brought with him were shocked to the core. Earth Immortal Realm experts were not supposed to exist in this world but belonged to the Immortal Realm. And now, 3 of them had actually appeared in Mount Shu. No wonder the powerhouses of the Thousand Swords Manor and the Dragon Tiger sect were willing to be driven by Luo Feng. Unity Realm cultivators of this world knew nothing of the Immortal Realm, sacred tier cultivation techniques were even rarer. Now that there were experts from the Immortal Realm, they naturally sought to curry favor. As long as Luo Feng gave them some guidance, there could be more geniuses from the Thousand Swords Manor and the Dragon Tiger sect ascending to the Immortal Realm. Even if they ascended, with Luo Feng, an Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse to rely on, they would have a backer once they reached the Immortal Realm. Sect Master. Several Supreme Elders of the Star Pavilion looked simultaneously at Tang Wanzan, unsure if he was still willing to offer his help. If they offended 3 Earth Immortal beings for the sake of Mount Shu, then the Star Pavilion would face a terrible crisis. At the Zhongzhou conference, Tang Wanzan was defeated by Xuanyan Elder, who was controlled by Luo Feng, and now, there were 3 Earth Immortal Realm experts of Xuanyan Elder's level. Even though Earth Immortals from the Immortal Realm were repressed by the world's power, Unity Realm cultivators were still no match for them. Dad. Tang Ling'er was somewhat anxious. If Mount Shu were annihilated by Luo Feng, then Shen Xiaoao would surely lose his life. Tang Wanzan glanced at Lu Changsheng, only to see his expression remaining calm, without any sign of desperation. All they could rely on now was the ultimate treasure that Lu Changsheng possessed. Tang Wanzan took a deep breath. We in the Star Pavilion have always prided ourselves on being part of the righteous Dao, ordained to act on behalf of heaven, clear of debts and grievances. How can we forsake our morals out of fear and greed? Indeed, what of the Earth Immortal Realm? For hundreds of thousands of years, our Star Pavilion has seen several hundred peerless geniuses ascend to the Immortal Realm. Those people, having reached the Immortal Realm, must at least be Earth Immortals. Among them, it's possible that supreme beings have emerged. Should they learn their descendants are being targeted, they will not let you off easily. Sooner or later, we too can ascend to the Immortal Realm. Earth Immortals have merely cultivated for a bit longer than us. Seeing Tang Wanzan's statement, several Supreme Elders of the Star Pavilion gathered their courage. The Star Pavilion had several hundred peerless geniuses who ascended to the Immortal Realm. If they established sects up there, their strength wouldn't be weak. Earth Immortal Realm truly seemed terrifying to them, yet it wasn't entirely out of reach. A hint of ruthlessness flashed in Luo Feng's eyes. The founder of the Star Pavilion, Immortal Venerable Xingchen, was indeed a fierce figure, but he has long perished. Tang Wanzan frowned. Just like Daoist Taking, who founded Mount Shu, Immortal Venerable Xingchen, who founded the Star Pavilion, was a peerless genius that came once in a million years. However, Tang Wanzan already knew that Immortal Venerable Xingchen had fallen, which is why the Star Pavilion could precisely locate his immortal ruins, allowing Tang Ling'er to successfully receive the pure yin body. Lu Changsheng felt a shock in his heart. The immortal ruins he encountered in the Huang state were actually those of Immortal Venerable Xingchen, the founder of the Star Pavilion. Shen Xiaoao had obtained the pure yang body, cultivated by Immortal Venerable Xingchen for 1,000,000 years. Shen Xiaoao had received the inheritance of Immortal Venerable Xingchen and eventually joined the Star Pavilion. It seemed like a twist of fate. Lu Changsheng quickly reviewed the situation in his mind, counting himself, Xiaoning Xiu, Monk Wu Li, Wu Yu, Tang Wanzan, and 2 Star Pavilion Supreme Elders of the Unity Realm, Great Accomplishment Stage, making a total of 7 Unity Realm, Great Accomplishment powerhouses on his side. On Luo Feng's side, there were 3 Earth Immortals whose realms were suppressed, along with Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong, and 4 other Unity Realm, Great Accomplishment powerhouses. Both sides had 7 Unity Realm, Great Accomplishment powerhouses. However, Luo Feng's 3 were Earth Immortals, extremely strong, potentially possessing power beyond the Unity Realm. Aside from those of the Unity Realm, Great Accomplishment, both sides also had a number of ordinary Unity Realm powerhouses. I'll handle Sun Jian. Sun Jian, Last time we fought, we didn't determine a victor. This time, I'll let you experience my self-created great crushing heaven palm. Wu Yu stood supreme, selecting Sun Jian, the Manor Lord of the Thousand Swords Manor, as her opponent. Chapter 328. Out of gratitude, Tang Wanzan came to cheer for Lu Changsheng, while Wu Yu arrived uninvited, simply to admire Lu Changsheng. Sun Jian's face turned pale. Although Sun Jian mastered the sacred tear sword technique, selfless sword technique, it was the legacy sword technique handed down by the first owner of Thousand Swords Manor, not a sword technique he created himself. On the other hand, Wu Yu was an unrivaled genius who created the sacred tear martial technique Great Crushing Heaven Palm in the Unity Realm. Sun Jian had no confidence in defeating Wu Yu. Amitabha Buddha, let this humble monk experience the famous Dragon Tiger skill of the Dragon Tiger sect, the monk said, bringing his hands together in prayer, radiating Buddha light and locking onto Zhongqing Long, the sect master of Dragon Tiger sect. At the Zhongzhou gathering, Monk Wu Le was defeated by Wu Yu but was confident in having a match against Zhongqing Long. Monk Wu Le was a figure from over 20,000 years ago. His lifespan extended far beyond that of ordinary cultivators in the Unity Realm due to his cultivation of decay and prosperity divine skill. Thus, in terms of seniority, he ranked above Zhongqing Long. Zhongqing Long frowned. The decay and prosperity divine skill of Monk Wu Le from Immeasurable Temple was greatly accomplished, having cultivated life and death qi, making him not so easy to deal with. Wu Yu had the strength of Tang Wanzan, which is why he could overpower Monk Wu Le with brute force. The strength of Zhongqing Long, however, was not much different from that of Monk Wu Le. To decide a victor between them would depend on their performances. You will handle the Supreme Elders of Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect. I will personally take on the Earth Immortals, Tang Wanzan commanded, directing the Supreme Elders of Star Pavilion to confront the Masters of Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect, as he stood opposite Luo Feng. With Tang Wanzan's pride, he would never settle for choosing weaker opponents. Lu Changsheng, Xiaoning Xiu and Tang Wanzan faced off against the three Earth Immortals, and the terrifying aura of all six sword, shaking the heavens and the earth. It seems the ants of this world have no idea of our strength. Like a mantis trying to stop a chariot, they overestimate themselves. The earth-shattering male and female Earth Immortals who had recently descended to the lower realm dismissed the aura of Lu Changsheng, Tang Wanzan and the others. As beings of the Earth Immortal realm, they stood on a plane above that of the Unity Realm cultivators. Even though their realms were suppressed to the Unity Realm by the world's power, their strength was still superior to that of the Unity Realm. Let me show you what a true powerhouse is. The two Earth Immortals exclaimed as they circulated their cultivation techniques, unleashing their full aura. Boom! The very space exploded into sound, and Mount Shu itself trembled. Dark clouds gathered thickly, and thunder roared with lightning flashes. The ninefold heavenly tribulation was brewing. The two Earth Immortals, by utilizing power beyond the Unity Realm, risked calling forth the ninefold heavenly tribulation at any moment. Tang Wanzan's face drastically changed. He hadn't expected the two Earth Immortals to be so ruthless, willing to risk being erased by the ninefold heavenly tribulation just to kill Lu Changsheng. What powerful being from the immortal realm had Lu Changsheng provoked? The aura of the Earth Immortals is too strong, it's not a power that should exist in this world. These two forces, even stronger than Xuanyan Elder at the Zhongzhou gathering. Could it be they planned to kill Changsheng before facing the ninefold heavenly tribulation and then force their way through it to return to the immortal realm? It's not impossible. But they didn't bring any ultimate treasures or elixir pills. The ninefold heavenly tribulation they've attracted is extremely terrifying. Even with the consciousness of an Earth Immortal, they are likely facing a slim chance of survival. It seems they are resolute, determined to doom Changsheng to death. We simply cannot bear the power of the Earth Immortals. Grandmaster Chen, Yu Suanji, the great general of the Great Martial Dynasty, and other Unity Realm powerhouses fell into endless despair. The two Earth Immortals, having released cultivation vastly exceeding the Unity Realm, appeared like descending celestials, making these Unity Realm powerhouses feel profound helplessness. Their gap was as vast as the difference between the clouds and the mud. You ants, now do you understand the might of our Earth Immortal realm? To avoid punishment, Lu Changsheng, you must die, the male and female Earth Immortals declared coldly, as if they were beings of a different order from the native cultivators of this world. Fireflies cannot comprehend the ice. Lu Changsheng, entrusted by others, your death is certain. After you die, Xiaoningsi will be left in my care. Luo Feng's gaze towards Xiaoningsu became completely crazed. Even though he had taken over Luo Feng's body, Luo Feng's consciousness influenced him, coupled with Xiaoningsu's unrivaled beauty, stunning as a celestial being, he could hardly wait to possess her. Yet, Xiaoningsu's eyes showed a trace of disgust. Tang Wanzan was not confident. Lu Changsheng, with your cultivation, even if you use the ultimate treasure, you can at most handle one Earth Immortal Realm opponent. Xia Fairy and I are not strong enough to deal with two at the Earth Immortal Realm. Do you have any other means? Lu Changsheng remained silent, rapidly calculating any remaining options in his mind. Ordinary methods were useless against Earth Immortal Realm experts. The only methods that could threaten an Earth Immortal Realm expert now were the ultimate treasure, the Holy Spirit Sword Art, and Mount Shu's Zodiac Star Battle Array. With Lu Changshen's true Qi at the Unity Realm, he could at most activate one ultimate treasure. Once he activated the ultimate treasure, he wouldn't have enough true Qi left to operate the Zodiac Star Battle Array. If he gave up the ultimate treasure and used all his power to operate the Zodiac Star Battle Array, Lu Changsheng wasn't sure the array could eliminate 3 Earth Immortal Realm adversaries. If those at the Earth Immortal Realm were to use their original cultivation, it was feared that the whole of Mount Shu would be obliterated. They definitely can't recover their original cultivation in a short time. Early Earth Immortal Realm cultivation is probably their limit. After weighing all options, Lu Changsheng finally decided to partner with Xiaoningsu to use the Holy Spirit Sword Art and kill an Earth Immortal Realm first. Tang Wanzan could barely hold off an Earth Immortal Realm opponent. However, when Lu Changsheng teamed up with Xiaoningsu, they would no longer be able to maneuver the Zodiac Star Battle Array. Only those who cultivated the Taking Wuji technique could operate the Zodiac Star Battle Array, but Grandmaster Taixu, Situ Kong, Li Changjai and Lin Qingzi were not at a sufficient realm. Even if they were to operate the Zodiac Star Battle Array, they couldn't possibly hold off an Earth Immortal Realm foe. No matter what choice Lu Changsheng made, even if he exerted his full strength, he could at most forcibly kill one Earth Immortal Realm opponent, while Tang Wanzan and Xiaoningsu would be killed by the other two. This sense of despair is indeed quite enjoyable. The male Earth Immortal smiled wickedly, looking down at the cultivators below with contempt. There were countless strong beings in the Immortal Realm. With their strength, they dared not be rampant in the Immortal Realm, but in this world, they were near invincible. The cultivators of this realm are really weak, said the female Earth Immortal with equal disdain. Apart from Lu Changsheng, who had the troublesome ultimate treasure, other cultivators seemed as insignificant as ants in her eyes. The female Earth Immortal casually struck out her palm, the force of which targeted Tang Wanzan. Tang Wanzan immediately activated the Great Desolation Art to counter the terrifying palm force. Boom! Tang Wanzan was repelled by the palm force, crashing into the peaks of Mount Shu. 4 peaks collapsed. The onlookers of Mount Shu, Star Pavilion and the Great Martial Dynasty were shocked. The demonstrated strength of this Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse surpassed that of the Xuanyan Elder. Despair. 3 Earth Immortal Realm foes created an immense pressure, making it difficult even for Unity Realm powerhouses to breathe. Suddenly, from the direction of 10,000 Swords Peak, a brilliant sword light arose, like a dazzling white column piercing through the sea of clouds into the sky, dispelling the collective despair. Sword Qi materialized from nothing, rising sharply. What's happening here? Everyone's attention was captured by the great commotion at 10,000 Swords Peak. Lu Changshen's gaze pierced through the sea of clouds, spotting an old servant in front of the myriad sword walls of 10,000 Swords Peak, wielding his sword Qi like an unmatched sword Dao master. Impossible! Lu Changsheng knew this old servant was no ordinary man, but the old man was supposed to possess not a trace of cultivation, so how could he demonstrate such awe-inspiring aura? Lu Changsheng turned his eyes to Grandmaster Taixu and Situ Kong. Surely, they knew the old servant's identity, which is why they kept the old servant in Mount Shu. The senior has finally regained his cultivation. Both Grandmaster Taixu and Situ Kong showed fervent excitement in their eyes. Grandmaster Taixu spoke slowly. 10,000 years ago, the sect leader of Mount Shu was the unparalleled genius of Xia State, born with the spirit sword physique, and together with Inquiry Immortal Pavilion Master Fairy Qingxia, subdued an era. Later, because Fairy Qingxia ascended earlier, he attempted to ascend on the same day by forcing his tribulation, but his efforts failed at the last moment. However, as he practiced a unique cultivation technique, he did not fall, instead reincarnating in the mortal realm over and over, only able to break and establish anew after living 1,000 lives. This person is none other than our 20th sect leader of Mount Shu, Grandmaster Taixu. Chapter 329. Grandmaster Taixu is actually still alive, it's truly unbelievable. While Lu Changsheng was at a disadvantage, Grandmaster Taixu's cultivation had recovered, and Mount Shu now had someone who could preside over the Zodiac Star Battle Array. His aura is nearing the Earth Immortal Realm. How can there be such a master in this world? Luo Feng and the other two Earth Immortal Realm experts were shocked and appalled. They miscalculated, as no one expected Mount Shu still harbored an existence like Grandmaster Taixu. Grandmaster Taixu possessed 100,000 years of Sword Dao comprehension, no less than the three of them. Moreover, Grandmaster Taixu was just a step away from entering the Earth Immortal Realm 100,000 years ago. After accumulating 100,000 years of Sword Dao comprehension, his current cultivation was even stronger than it was 100,000 years ago. In terms of consciousness, Grandmaster Taixu was already at the Earth Immortal Realm. Amitabha Buddha, this humble monk is fortunate enough to witness Grandmaster Taixu, the unparalleled genius of 100,000 years ago. Master Wuxiang and Monk Wu Le were both deeply moved. According to rumors, Grandmaster Taixu fell because he failed his tribulation, but only Mount Shu knew that Grandmaster Taixu did not fail due to lack of talent. Instead, it was because of his agreement with Fairy King Xia he ascended prematurely, only just failing to complete his great achievement. Grandmaster Taixu possessed the qualifications for the Earth Immortal Realm. Incredible! Xiaoningsia was extremely astonished. She had always thought that Fairy King Xia, the former pavilion master of the Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, had parted from Grandmaster Taixu forever in life and death. She never imagined that Grandmaster Taixu still had hope of undergoing tribulation a second time to ascend to the Immortal Realm and see Fairy King Xia once again. This is the power of the Earth Immortal Realm. King Xia, I have finally awaited this day. However, before ascending, I still need to eliminate threats for Mount Shu. Grandmaster Taixu swept away his former aged and frail appearance, his gaze sharp, his entire being like a divine sword unsheathed, surrounded by a sea of boundless sword qi. 100,000 years ago, Grandmaster Taixu and Fairy King Xia were the unrivaled double pride of Xia state, sweeping through the four great demon sects, truly peerless in their time. Now, having assimilated 100,000 years of Sword Dao comprehension, Grandmaster Taixu's actual realm had already entered the realm of immortals. Young man, join me in slaying demons and exorcising devils. Zodiac Star Battle Array, activate. Grandmaster Taixu transmitted his voice to Lu Changsheng, then he channeled the Taking Wuji technique to activate the Zodiac Star Battle Array. Boom! Mount Shu's underground trembled violently, as if a dragon were roaring from the depths of the earth. At King Yun Peak, a dazzling white column of light shot into the sky, piercing through the Fighting Bull formation, stirring up the sea of clouds. Not just King Yun Peak, but the other peaks of the Mount Shu range as well, each emitted a fiery white light, an incredibly magnificent sight. 365 peaks corresponded to the 365 main stars of the zodiac. The prime peak of Mount Shu, the power of pure yang transformed into a fiery divine light, corresponding to the sun star. 10,000 Swords Peak, the power of pure yin emerged as a bright white column of light, corresponding to the Taiyin star. To harness the power of the zodiac stars with the mountain of the mortal world, to suppress all enemies under heaven. With his own strength, Grandmaster Taixu activated the Zodiac Star Battle Array, its power far more than 10 times stronger than when Grandmaster Taiyuan and Situ Kong had jointly operated it in the past. The 365 principal stars of the Zodiac responded to the Zodiac Star Battle Array, and beams of star force descended, mighty in their power. The Zodiac Star Battle Array is said to be capable of causing the fall of immortals, and has protected our Mount Shu from danger time and again. This is the true power of the Zodiac Star Battle Array. Grandmaster Taiyuan and Situ Kong were both fervent in their expressions. Not just the people of Mount Shu, but even the sect experts from Zhongzhou were moved. Tang Wanzan climbed out from the rubble of several peaks and, watching the terrifying star force descending upon the peaks of Mount Shu, was also astonished. Mount Shu is just a faction established for 500,000 years. How could it possess such an extraordinary and amazing grand formation? This formation could even take down an immortal. Tang Wanzan, as the pavilion master of Star Pavilion, had never seen such a terrifying grand formation in his own pavilion. The extraordinary grand formation of Mount Shu was beyond his understanding. Not good, we've been deceived. Luo Feng and a pair of male and female earth immortals who had come from the sky looked at each other, their faces twisting. Even with their earth immortal consciousness, they might still perish within the Zodiac Star Battle Array activated by Grandmaster Taixu. Schwer, let's use the Holy Spirit Sword Art. Seeing the zodiac star battle array trap the three Earth Immortal Realm experts, sealing the space and the star force tearing at their bodies, Lu Changsheng knew this was the best opportunity to strike. Lu Changsheng, having closed door cultivated for 700 years in the cultivation space, not only created the heavenly earth mystical sword technique but also cultivated the ungraded Holy Spirit sword art with Xiaoningsu. The Holy Spirit sword art was the only swordsmanship Lu Changsheng cultivated that required the cooperation of two people, its power without limit. All right. Xiaoningsu gestured with her right hand, and the immortal slaying sword behind her flew out. The boundless sword chi formed from concentrated cold killing intent seemed as if it would tear apart heaven and earth. This is... The male and female earth immortals were unbelieving at the sight of the immortal sword Xiaoningsu summoned. This divine sword, famous in the immortal realm, should not exist in this world. Lu Changsheng refrained from using the Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus or the Demon God Clock, an ultimate treasure, and only wielded the demon-suppressing sword. Without the Supreme Dragon Origin Immortal Elixir, it was impossible for Lu Changsheng to fully wield the power of an ultimate treasure with his cultivation alone. Two experts with great accomplishment in the Unity realm, using the Holy Spirit sword art together, launched an attack comparable to the strike of an ultimate treasure. Once the Holy Spirit sword art was unleashed, the web of sword chi further suppressed the three Earth Immortals. What kind of swordsmanship is this? How can Mount Shu's heritage be so terrifying? Tang Wanzan, as the pavilion master of the Star Pavilion, was shocked by Mount Shu's seemingly endless depth, almost as if he had never seen the world before. The ultimate treasure Nirvana Flame's Red Lotus, the Zodiac Star Battle Array, the Holy Spirit Sword Art Mount Shu wielded methods that even the current Star Pavilion didn't possess. Chapter 330. The tier of the Holy Spirit Sword Art was beyond Tang Wanzan's judgment. But our Star Pavilion's Great Desolation Art is no less impressive. Tang Wanzan concentrated a massive amount of true chi in his palms, and the terrifying force surged like a landslide towards the female Earth Immortal Realm expert. Our Star Pavilion has had several hundred peerless geniuses ascend to the Immortal Realm. We're not afraid of you Earth Immortals. With a roar of rage from Tang Wanzan and veins bulging on his forehead, his palm strike became even more formidable, capable of easily destroying mountains. At the Zhongzhou conference, he was nearly crippled by Luo Feng's control over the Xuanyan Elder, and now was the perfect time for vengeance. Law of Heaven and Earth. The three Earth Immortal Realm experts under Luo Feng desperately tried to use their sacred tier divine skills to break the Zodiac Star Battle Array. Dream on! Grandmaster Taixu, with his robe fluttering, had already completed the Zodiac Star Battle Array, and its overwhelming star force suppressed the three Earth Immortal Realm experts, forcibly preventing them from unleashing the Law of Heaven and Earth divine skills. The three Earth Immortal Realm experts turned red with effort, and under the suppression of the world's power, they ultimately couldn't exert their true Earth Immortal Realm strength. If, as beings of such high status, they were to die under the siege of Unity Realm mortals, it would be utterly humiliating for these Earth Immortal Realm powerhouses. Die! Lu Changsheng activated the demon-suppressing sword, while Xiaoningsu boosted the immortal slaying sword, both divine swords glowing with a fierce white light as they tore through the fabric of space, making a faint buzzing sound, aiming at one of the Earth Immortal Realm men. The Earth Immortal Realm experts, suppressed by the Zodiac Star Battle Array and unable to bring ultimate treasures to the lower realm, could only rely on their own cultivations to fiercely resist the two divine swords. The two divine swords, as if blocked by an invisible wall of chi, could not advance any further. Ha! Lu Changsheng channeled the taking heavenly scripture while Xiaoningsu employed the supreme forgetting emotion art, going all out. The two divine swords pierced through the Earth Immortal Realm expert's wall of chi, slowly closing in on the Earth Immortal Realm expert's actual body. No. The Earth Immortal Realm expert never imagined that there would be a risk to life in this small world of Unity Realm's pinnacle, and in the instant that the demon-suppressing sword and the immortal slaying sword pierced into his body, he grabbed both immortal swords with his hands, trying to break the two treasures that threatened him. Crack! Lu Changsheng, with his keen senses, heard a faint sound. The superior grade immortal sword, demon-suppressing sword, had developed a slight crack. The power of this Earth Immortal Realm expert was so terrifying that he could even damage a superior grade immortal artifact. However, the demon-suppressing sword and the immortal slaying sword ultimately pierced through the body of the Earth Immortal Realm expert, their sword chi destroying the life force within the Earth Immortal Realm expert. Even with his mastery of the immortal divine art, the life force within the Earth Immortal Realm expert was completely extinguished by the sword chi of the superior grade immortal sword, demon-suppressing sword, and the immortal slaying sword, whose precise tier was unknown, leading to both his body and spirit being eradicated. The Earth Immortal Realm Expert, fell. An Earth Immortal Realm Expert, to die in this realm. The female Earth Immortal trembled with fear, finding out the hard way just how formidable the native cultivators of this seemingly insignificant world could be. Spinning Star Shift. Tang Wanzan went all out with his strike, and the female Earth Immortal dissipated the force with her martial technique. But her realm was suppressed to that of the Unity realm, and she still had to endure the full force of Tang Wanzan's great desolation art, which was no small matter for her. Zodiac Star Force, eliminate the formidable enemy. The next moment, the star force drawn by the mountain protection array of Mount Shu came crashing down, shattering the chi walls around the female Earth Immortal. In utter despair, the female Earth Immortal completely disintegrated. This was the second Earth Immortal to fall at Mount Shu. Seeing two companions fall, Luo Feng knew that if he didn't escape, he would undoubtedly suffer the same fate. Luo Feng attempted to forcibly tear apart space. The Star Force, gathered by the Zodiac Star Battle Array and used by Grandmaster Taixu to eradicate the female Earth Immortal, had left a breach through which Luo Feng, keenly aware of an Earth Immortal realm's consciousness, found his chance to escape. We must not let him escape, or the trouble will be endless. Tang Wanzan knew that if Luo Feng, at his level of Earth Immortal, remained when powerful individuals like Liu Changsheng, Xiaoning Xiu and Grandmaster Taixu ascended to the Immortal Realm, then no one would be able to confront Luo Feng anymore. Moreover, it was possible that Luo Feng, driven to a fury, could continue to exploit mysterious formations to summon other strong practitioners from the Immortal Realm to descend, and out of spite, annihilate this world. Luo Feng had already broken the rules by intruding into this realm. It's too late. Grandmaster Taixu hadn't anticipated Luo Feng's ability to tear apart space. In his effort to forcibly eradicate the female Earth Immortal, he had unintentionally created an unavoidable flaw in the Zodiac Star Battle Array, and Luo Feng, with the sharpness of an Earth Immortal realm's consciousness, seized the opportunity to break free. Once Luo Feng successfully escaped, no one knew whether Mount Shu would be destroyed by Luo Feng after Liu Changsheng's ascension. Liu Changsheng, before ascending, set a trap to lure out Luo Feng, who was hidden in the shadows, precisely to eliminate future troubles. I will not let you go. Luo Feng gritted his teeth. With just one step, he could enter the spatial turbulence and escape from Mount Shu. Suddenly, Luo Feng's body was immobilized, unable to take that step. Luo Feng looked towards the direction of Liu Changsheng in horror. You have another ultimate treasure. Hovering in the air was a mysterious yellow ancient bell, carved with myriad demon forms and the elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, its oppressive might making it hard for Luo Feng to breathe. Liu Changsheng channeled the taking heavenly scripture with all his might, activating the ultimate treasure, the Demon God Clock. The Demon God Clock was even more tyrannical than the Demon Emperor Cauldron, its demonic chi crisscrossing and fixing the space, so that Luo Feng, under the pressure of the Zodiac Star Battle Array and the Demon God Clock, could not move at all. A second ultimate treasure. Tang Wanzan, Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong, Monk Wu Li, and even Grandmaster Taixu and other Unity Realm great accomplishment experts were all shocked. At the Zhongzhou Convention, Liu Changsheng had already shocked the world by producing the Nirvana Flames Red Lotus. Now that Liu Changsheng had brought out the ultimate treasure, the Demon God Clock, it was even more staggering. Luo Feng, as long as you reveal who instructed you to descend to the lower realm and kill me, I might spare your life. After the male and female Earth Immortals were killed, Luo Feng was the only one left from whom Liu Changsheng could obtain information. Luo Feng and 3 Earth Immortal Realm experts, upon orders, had descended to execute Liu Changsheng. If Liu Changsheng did not know who was behind the orders, then after his ascension to the Immortal Realm, he would have to tread on thin ice. Bound by the Demon God Clock, Luo Feng was in utter despair. Suddenly his expression turned ferocious. Ha ha ha, Liu Changsheng, even though I die at your hands today, you will never be that person's opponent. Once you reach the Immortal Realm, you will only find a dead end. Luo Feng's body suddenly began to swell alarmingly. This is bad, he's going to self-destruct. Grandmaster Taixu urgently used the Zodiac Star Battle Array to suppress Luo Feng, intending to confine the range of the self-destruction within the Zodiac Star Battle Array, to avoid the destruction of Mount Shu. Clang! A resonant bell sound rippled through space. Liu Changsheng swallowed an 11th grade immortal pill and activated the Demon God Clock. The spatial force of the Demon God Clock spread like ripples. The space where Luo Feng was located got shattered by the sound of the bell, space tearing apart inch by inch. Precisely at the center of this space, Luo Feng was annihilated along with the collapse of space, obliterated both in body and spirit. 3 Earth Immortals, one after another, had fallen. Hiss! Everyone felt a chill down their spine. The Nirvana Flames Red Lotus and the Demon God Clock, both ultimate treasure-grade magical treasures, were terrifyingly powerful. Wait, we are willing to concede, at your mercy. Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong, seeing 3 Earth Immortals laid low at Mount Shu, knew they were no match and quickly admitted defeat. Conceding now might preserve their sects and even their lives. Continuing to oppose Mount Shu could result in the destruction of both Thousand Swords Manor and the Dragon Tiger sect by Lu Changsheng before his ascension. Mount Shu now had 2 Unity Realm Great Accomplishment experts, Lu Changsheng and Grandmaster Tegzu, as well as 2 ultimate treasures, making it truly invincible under heaven. Even foes from the heavens had been felt at Mount Shu. Lu Changsheng stowed the Demon God Clock. This spatial ultimate treasure was infinitely powerful, and in the Unity Realm, Lu Changsheng could yet hardly utilize its full potential. Once he ascended to the Immortal Realm, he might have to rely on this magical treasure to save his life. Retrieve. Grandmaster Tegzu ceased operating the Zodiac Star Battle Array, and Mount Shu returned to peace. However, after this battle, no one dared to look down on Mount Shu. Mount Shu not only possessed the Zodiac Star Battle Array that had caused the fall of immortals, but also sacred tier cultivation techniques and ultimate treasures. The Demon Emperor Cauldron's demonic chi filled the sky as it released the 100,000 elders and disciples of Mount Shu from the treasure space. The younger generation of disciples who had recently joined Mount Shu gazed at sect leader Lu Changsheng with even greater admiration, feeling a deeper sense of belonging to Mount Shu. They knew their sect leader could even slay immortals. Chapter 331. Sect leader can actually fell even the immortals from the heavens. What kind of cultivation is this? I don't know when we will need to cultivate until we can possess 1/10 of the sect leader's cultivation. The young generation of disciples from Mount Shu witnessed in the treasure space of the Demon Emperor Cauldron the great battle between Lu Changsheng, Xiaoningsu, Grandmaster Tegzu, and 3 Earth Immortal Realm powerhouses. 3 immortals from the Immortal Realm were trapped and fell in battle to mortals using the Zodiac Star Battle Array, the Holy Spirit Sword Art, and the Demon God Clock. Such a scene was too shocking, greatly impacting the fragile minds of the second-generation disciples from King Yun Peak. Originally many prestigious families admired Lu Changsheng for his supreme swordsmanship and came to witness it, but now the power displayed by Mount Shu has utterly shaken everyone, giving the younger generation of Mount Shu disciples an even greater sense of belonging to the sect. What do you plan to do with these 2? Pavilion Master Tang Wanzan had captured several powerhouse elders from Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect and handed them over to Lu Changsheng for disposition. The law does not punish the masses. I can spare Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect, but these individuals, with their scheming against Mount Shu, must have their cultivation crippled. Lu Changsheng usually valued peace, but he was certainly not a pushover. Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong sought his death, and even if they surrendered, Lu Changsheng would not easily let them go lest they become a future threat. The disciples of Lu Changsheng were not yet a match for Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong. Sun Jian, Zhang Qinglong, and several Unity Realm Supreme Elders turned pale. They did not expect to meet with disaster at Mount Shu, and for private grievances, their millennia of cultivation were ruined in an instant, but since Lu Changsheng decided to spare their sects, only crippling their cultivation was already the best outcome. You need not do it, we will cripple our cultivation ourselves. Several Unity Realm powerhouses began to cripple their cultivation, dispersing all their true chi and becoming no different from ordinary people. Falling from the Unity Realm to a state without the slightest true chi was harder for them to endure than death itself. Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong, however, did not dare to show the slightest anger. Lu Changsheng could slay immortals, and those at the Unity Realm simply could not resist and would also implicate their sects. Tang Wanzan's face was expressionless. This is the result of your own actions. Why not exterminate Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect? The Empress of Great Martial, Wu Yu, was even colder and more merciless. Her methods were far stronger than those of Lu Changsheng. Lu Changsheng said indifferently, the sins of the fathers should not be visited upon the children. Moreover, if Thousand Swords Manor and Dragon Tiger sect wish to seek revenge, it would be a good opportunity to temper my several disciples. After I ascend to the Immortal Realm, if they are invincible in this world, it would not be beneficial for their cultivation. Wu Yu silently realized the wisdom in his words. I see. After becoming mortals, Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong returned to their respective sects. Mount Shu returned to tranquility. After witnessing the realm of the current sect leader Lu Changsheng and the former sect leader Grandmaster Tegzu, the elders and disciples of Mount Shu dared not be arrogant but cultivated modestly. Xianingshu stood at the summit of King Yun Peak beside Lu Changsheng, her 3,000 strands of black hair moving with the wind. Are you ascending to the immortal realm? My realm has already become difficult to suppress. After this battle with the Earth Immortal Realm adversaries, I've had another epiphany. In less than a month, I must ascend to the immortal realm. But before that, I need to leave enough cultivation techniques, magical treasures, elixir pills, and talismans for my disciples. Lu Changsheng possessed the special physique of the innate Taoist body, and even without the return from teaching disciples, his realm was progressing rapidly. Lu Changsheng's realm had reached the peak of the unity realm, and even if he wanted to suppress it, he could not hold it back any longer. Xianingshu's eyes revealed a touch of worry. My realm is always a step behind yours. I'm afraid I might not be able to ascend with you when the time comes. You can choose a later date to ascend. I will wait for you in the immortal realm. Lu Changsheng also worried that Xianingshu, like Grandmaster Tegzu 10,000 years before, might attempt to face the tribulation prematurely due to an insufficient realm, ultimately failing miserably, so he asked Xianingshu to continue cultivating in this world until she was fully confident before ascending to the immortal realm. Xianingshu's heart warmed, and she nodded earnestly, okay. In his last month before ascending to the immortal realm, Lu Changsheng initiated his disciples one last time with a power-infusing initiation. From then on, these first-generation disciples from King Yun Peak had to cultivate on their own and ascend to the immortal realm by their own merit. The second-generation disciples from King Yun Peak did not even have the chance for power-infusing initiation and could only cultivate normally. However, Lu Changsheng left behind a large quantity of high-level elixir pills, allowing these disciples to have enough resources to assist their cultivation and make it twice as effective with half the effort. Lu Changsheng also left the complete cultivation technique, Supreme Purity Limitless Technique, totaling 12 volumes, at Mount Shu. The complete Supreme Purity Limitless Technique was an upper-grade immortal class cultivation technique. To enshrine this technique, Mount Shu's scripture pavilion was expanded to the 6th floor. The Supreme Purity Limitless Technique was sufficient for Unity Realm cultivators to use. Moreover, the Supreme Purity Limitless Technique was the key to activating the Zodiac Star Battle Array. When combined with the Zodiac Star Battle Array, even immortals could be brought down. Apart from the Supreme Purity Limitless Technique, Lu Changsheng also left behind techniques such as Divine Sword Commanding Wind Art, Divine Sword Thunder Commanding Art, Divine Sword Fire Commanding Art, Divine Sword Commanding Water Art, Primordial Sword Scripture, Heaven Escape Sword Skills, 7-Star Sword Formation, Grand Thousand Sword Formation, Tiangang Sword Formation, Immortal Divine Art, 9 Revolutions Divine Demon Body Refining Skills, and more at Mount Shu. Since he might obtain more advanced techniques in the immortal realm, there was no need to let those techniques become lost in this world. The immortal class techniques left by Lu Changsheng numbered at least 100, more than enough for Mount Shu's elders and disciples to cultivate in the future. As for the Heavenly Earth mystical swordmanship created by Lu Changsheng, it was still incomplete, so he transmitted it only to his eldest disciple, Lin Qingzi. Chapter 332. Lu Changsheng at this moment also didn't care whether the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator had returned anything or not. After all, this was a form of inheritance. Grandmaster Taiyuan, Situkong, and even Grandmaster Tegzu, when they saw Lu Changsheng donate a plethora of previously unseen cultivation techniques and secret manuals to the Mount Shu Scripture Pavilion, were all astonished beyond measure. These cultivation techniques were imparted to me by the ancestral master in my dreams. Now that I am about to ascend to the immortal realm, I am following the ancestral master's instructions to leave these techniques in Mount Shu. Lu Changsheng continued to let the ancestral master take the blame. This lad is truly a blessing to our Mount Shu. From now onwards, our sect will also be one of the super sects in this realm. Grandmaster Tegzu stroked his beard and sighed. Even though he had lived for 100,000 years, Grandmaster Tegzu had never seen so many divine-level cultivation techniques. May I ask when you plan to ascend to the immortal realm, Senior? Lu Changsheng discovered that Grandmaster Tegzu's true cultivation level had surpassed the Unity Realm and entered the Earth Immortal Realm, which meant he could not stay in this realm for long before being repelled by the world's forces. I have waited for 100,000 years, I am not in a hurry at this moment. After you ascend to the Immortal Realm, I will soon ascend and undergo my tribulation. Then, I will be able to see Qingxia again. It's just that, having cultivated in the Immortal Realm for 100,000 years, Her cultivation must have advanced by leaps and bounds, and I do not know if she will still remember our agreement by then. No, she definitely will remember. Grandmaster Taixu looked towards the sky, his eyes growing increasingly sharp, like an unsheathed immortal sword ready to pierce through heaven and earth. Grandmaster Taixu, after accumulating 100,000 years of sword Dao comprehension in this realm and restoring his cultivation, found ascending to the immortal realm as easy as flipping his palm. However, Fairy Kingxia was also a spirit sword physique who had reached great accomplishment and had been cultivating in the immortal realm for 100,000 years, so her realm was definitely far above that of the current Grandmaster Taixu. Lu Changsheng did not meddle in Grandmaster Taixu's affairs. Grandmaster Taixu had his own path to follow. In the last month before his ascension, his second disciple, Lu Qinglian, passed through the 6 heavenly tribulations in advance, stepping into the unity realm before Lu Changsheng's own tribulation. Master, your disciple has finally reached the unity realm. But I can't bear to part with you, Master. Lu Qinglian successfully overcame her tribulation, yet the thought of Lu Changsheng soon ascending, potentially separating disciple and master for thousands of years, saddened her deeply. Lu Qinglian, pear blossoms with tears, her eyes rimmed red, flung herself into Lu Changsheng's embrace, sobbing. Since being accepted as Lu Changsheng's direct disciple at the age of 5, and now having become a powerful figure in the unity realm, she still seemed to be the same little girl in front of her master. Lu Changsheng gently stroked Lu Qinglian's hair, tinged with the glow of fire, feeling somewhat moved. His several disciples were kind-hearted, making his hundreds of years of devoted teaching not in vain. In the future, you must listen to your senior brother and avoid stirring up trouble. Before I ascend, I will reward you with some magic treasures for your protection. Lu Changsheng took out the medium-grade immortal artifact Profound Heavenly Fire Dragon Spear and the lower-grade immortal artifact Red Lotus Auspicious Clouds Immortal Skirt, rewarding Lu Qinglian with magic treasures for the last time. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with the lower-grade immortal artifact Red Lotus Auspicious Clouds Immortal Skirt and received a 1,000-fold return reward from the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, high-grade immortal artifact 9 Heavens Divine Flame Skirt. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with the medium-grade immortal artifact Profound Heavenly Fire Dragon Spear and received a 300-fold return reward from the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, high-grade immortal artifact Flame Emperor's True Dragon Spear. The Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator returned 2 high-grade immortal artifacts consecutively. But for Lu Changsheng, these 2 high-grade immortal artifacts seemed to have little use. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with the medium-grade immortal artifact 9 Dragon's Divine Fire Shield and received a 500-fold return reward from the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, high-grade immortal artifact Fire Spirit Pearl. Lu Changsheng obtained yet another high-grade immortal artifact, which also had little use for him. Lu Changsheng then all at once rewarded the 3 high-grade immortal artifacts he received to Lu Qinglian. Lu Qinglian's medium-grade immortal artifact had not even gotten warm yet when she received high-grade immortal artifacts. Lu Qinglian's eyes widened in disbelief. Was the master able to produce 3 high-grade immortal artifacts just like that? Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with the high-grade immortal artifact 9 Heavens Divine Flame Skirt and received a 100-fold return reward from the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, Human Race Ultimate Treasure Fragment ×1. Remaining returns for Ultimate Treasure/Treasured Fragments this year 1. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with a superior immortal artifact, Flame Emperor's True Dragon Spear, and obtained the Disciple Apprenticeship 100-fold return reward, 1 Human Race Ultimate Treasure Fragment. The number of returnable Ultimate Treasure/Ultimate Treasure Fragment opportunities for this year 1. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with a superior immortal artifact, Fire Spirit Pearl, and obtained the Disciple Apprenticeship 100-fold return reward, 1 Human Race Ultimate Treasure Fragment. The number of returnable Ultimate Treasure/Ultimate Treasure Fragment opportunities for this year 1. Ding! The current number of returnable Ultimate Treasure/Ultimate Treasure Fragment opportunities is 0. Lu Changsheng obtained 3 Ultimate Treasure Fragments in one breath and used up the chances for returning Ultimate Treasures and Ultimate Treasure Fragments. The first and second generation disciples of King Yun Peak were stunned as if turned into wooden chickens. Within a single day, Lu Changsheng had awarded Lu Qinglian 6 immortal artifacts, including 3 superior ones. The master was really generous with his gifts. However, the fact that the master awarded Lu Qinglian so many superior immortal artifacts for protection seemed a bit like overkill. Having reached the unity realm, strong opponents like Sun Jian and Zhang Qinglong had their cultivations crippled, and Earth Immortal Realm powerhouses like Luo Feng were killed. There really weren't many who could pose a threat to Lu Qinglian in this world. Before ascending, Lu Changsheng giving Lu Qinglian 3 superior immortal artifacts for protection was overly cautious. Lu Changsheng didn't mind, after all, he wouldn't be able to use those superior immortal artifacts himself. It was better to reward his disciple, return ultimate treasure fragments, and potentially combine them into an ultimate treasure. Lu Changsheng simply treated it as if he was raising a daughter. The next day, Lu Changsheng imparted cultivation techniques to Lu Qinglian. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with a middle-tier immortal cultivation technique Primordial 9 Harmonies Divine Spear Art, and obtained the Disciple Apprenticeship 100-fold return reward, an upper-tier immortal cultivation technique Spear God Slaying Heaven Technique. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with a lower-tier immortal cultivation technique Red Lotus Karma Fire Art, and obtained the Disciple Apprenticeship 10,000-fold return reward, an upper-tier immortal cultivation technique Endless Karma Fire True Technique. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with an upper-tier immortal cultivation technique Endless Karma Fire True Technique, and obtained the Disciple Apprenticeship 800-fold return reward, a lower-tier sacred tier cultivation technique Chaotic Red Lotus Holy Art. Ding! You have rewarded your disciple Lu Qinglian with an upper-tier immortal body tempering technique Immortal Divine Art, and obtained the Disciple Apprenticeship 1,000,000-fold return reward, an upper-tier sacred tier body tempering technique 3000 Demon Gods Visualization. An upper-tier sacred tier cultivation technique. Lu Changsheng originally only planned to impart cultivation techniques to Lu Qinglian one last time before ascending to the Immortal Realm, to help her quickly advance her cultivation in the Unity Realm and ascend to the Immortal Realm as soon as possible. He didn't expect to trigger a 1,000,000-fold return from the apprenticeship. This time, the system returned a complete upper-tier sacred tier body tempering technique 3000 Demon Gods Visualization. It was a complete upper-tier sacred tier technique whose value exceeded lower-tier sacred tier techniques like Selfless Sword Technique, Great Crushing Heaven Palm, and Great Wilderness Meteor skills, and it was even higher than the incomplete sacred tier Heavenly Earth Mystical Sword Art. If this upper-tier sacred tier body tempering technique were to spread, all body cultivators in the world would go crazy for it, treating it as the supreme body tempering secret technique. Of course, even if they obtained this upper-tier sacred tier body tempering technique, they wouldn't have enough high-level immortal pills and heavenly materials and earthly treasures to cultivate it. The amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures required for an upper-tier sacred tier body tempering technique is unimaginable. However, Lu Changsheng never lacked high-level elixir pills. This upper-tier sacred tier body tempering technique 3000 Demon Gods Visualization could still be cultivated by Lu Changsheng even in the Immortal Realm, as long as he managed to take disciples there. Judging by the performance of Luo Feng and the other 3 Earth Immortal Realm powerhouses, even in the Immortal Realm, upper-tier sacred tier cultivation techniques are rare treasures, perhaps even the sect-defending skills of some immortal sects, Lu Changsheng thought, recognizing the value of 3000 Demon Gods Visualization. Besides rewarding Lu Qinglian with superior immortal artifacts, Lu Changsheng also prepared various middle and superior immortal artifacts for his disciples Mo Huaji, Shen Xiaoao, Ji Xian, and Chen Yao, regardless of whether they had reached the Unity Realm or if there were any apprenticeship return rewards. With superior immortal artifacts to protect them, the chances of these disciples ascending to the Immortal Realm in the future would greatly increase. Lu Changsheng even reserved corresponding immortal artifacts in advance for the second-generation disciples of King Yun Peak, to be passed on by King Yun Peak's first seat top disciple Lin Qingzi in the future. If the first and second-generation disciples of King Yun Peak all ascend to the Immortal Realm in the future, Lu Changsheng could even use this group of geniuses to establish Mount Shu in the Immortal Realm. Chapter 333. On the day of Lu Changsheng's ascension to the Immortal Realm, powerful figures from the 8 great sects including Mount Shu, Martial Alliance, Immeasurable Temple, Hidden Dragon Temple, Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, Star Pavilion, Great Martial Dynasty, and Penglai Immortal Island all came to see him off. As the number 1 master of this realm, Lu Changsheng's ascent and passing through the tribulation was a significant event. Longevity, have you chosen the next sect leader of Mount Shu? After witnessing Lu Changsheng's terrifying strength, Grand Master Taixu knew that Lu Changsheng's ascension to the Immortal Realm was almost certain. Before Lu Changsheng began his tribulation, Grand Master Taixu asked him to designate his successor as sect leader. Lu Changsheng, this term sect leader of Mount Shu, was perhaps the shortest reigning in history, ascending to the Immortal Realm after just a few short years. King Zi is prudent and cautious, his cultivation has reached the Unity realm, and he has become familiar with the affairs of Mount Shu over the years and has quite grasped my true teachings. Let him succeed as the 29th sect leader of Mount Shu. Lu Changsheng held the demon-suppressing sword, releasing a streak of sword qi. This streak of sword qi contained all the sword Dao comprehension Lu Changsheng had attained until this point, leaving a mark on the myriad sword walls of Mount Shu. Clang! Lu Changsheng reversed his hand, and the demon-suppressing sword returned to its scabbard. Fellow Daists, we shall meet again in the immortal realm. Lu Changsheng bowed to the strong figures from the various sects, especially taking a deep look at Xianingshu and the disciples of King Yun Peak, then flew alone towards the place of his tribulation. Anticipating that the ninefold heavenly tribulation he would draw would be extremely terrifying, Lu Changsheng asked everyone to remain at Mount Shu to protect it, to prevent harming others. Lu Changsheng. Xianingshu was just one step away from being able to ascend with Lu Changsheng, she had no choice but to wait patiently for hundreds of years. But Xianingshu's bright eyes were filled with determination. Just a few hundred more years, and she would be able to reunite with Lu Changsheng after a long separation. Grandmaster Taixu, with his hands behind his back, looked towards the direction of Lu Changsheng's tribulation and couldn't help but remark with emotion, "This child is probably the most prodigious talent with the fastest cultivation speed in the history of our Mount Shu, like a meteor illuminating the night sky." Tang Wanzan said, "Not only is he Mount Shu's fastest cultivating talent, but among the several hundred geniuses of our star pavilion who have ascended to the immortal realm, none have cultivated as swiftly. Even immortal Venerable Xing Chen, who established our star pavilion, took 3,000 years to ascend after achieving his Dao. In that case, this child may well be the fastest legend of ascension in our realm." Grandmaster Taixu was even more astonished. His spirit sword physique, in the presence of Lu Changsheng's innate Taoist body, didn't really have anything special. Rumble. In a desolate land thousands of miles away from Mount Shu, thunder roared and lightning flashed, with blinding 9 heavens divine thunder striking down from the skies. Even from 1,000 miles away, Mount Shu could see the endless thunder light illuminating the heavens and the earth. The ninefold heavenly tribulation called forth by sect leader Lu is so astounding, it's 10 times more terrifying than the 9 heavens divine thunder my master drew during his tribulation. The Penglai fairy, who had witnessed the former sect leader's tribulation, saw that Lu Changsheng's heavenly tribulation was 10 times what she had witnessed. The ninefold heavenly tribulation lasted an entire day and night before it gradually faded away. At the same time, everyone saw a beam of light descending through the clouds, resembling steps to heaven. Lu Changsheng, carrying the demon-suppressing sword, ascended the heavenly steps. The heavenly tribulation has ended, and the immortal gate opens. Our realm has gained another strong figure ascending to the immortal realm. Tang Wanzan sighed endlessly. Having successfully passed the ninefold heavenly tribulation, Lu Changsheng had stepped into the earth immortal realm, joining the ranks of the immortals. There were still many powerful beings in this realm, supreme figures like Grandmaster Taixu, Monk Wu Li, Tang Wanzan, Wu Yu, Xianingshu, and other geniuses were also on the cusp of ascending. "Just wait another 300 to 500 years, I will definitely come to find you in the immortal realm," Xianingshu vowed, watching Lu Changsheng's departing figure. Grandmaster Taixu said to Su Jianer of the Inquiry Immortal Pavilion, "Jianer, the path to immortality is long and arduous. Why don't we journey together?" You old man, how can you say such things at this time?" Su Jianer hadn't expected that after more than 3,000 years, Grandmaster Taixu would come to his senses, and even choose to say so at this moment, causing her pretty face to blush. Disciple pays respect as teacher takes leave. Grand Disciple pays respect as Grandmaster takes leave. Lin Qingzi, Lu Qinglian, Mo Huaji, Shen Xiaoao, Ji Xian, Chen Yao, Li Jianfei, Luo Xintang, and other first and second generation disciples from King Yun Peak bid farewell to Lu Changsheng as he stepped into the immortal gate. Lu Changsheng, however, didn't feel much different. Ascending to the immortal realm felt almost the same as entering the immortal ruins. But at the moment of entering the immortal gate, Lu Changsheng felt the terrifying world powers of the immortal realm on the other side. In front of the vastness of the immortal realm, the small world where Mount Shu resided seemed like a mere speck in the ocean. In the 3,000 lesser realms, the ultimate destination for all supreme beings is the immortal realm. I wonder how many eons the immortal realm has existed. If the human strong beings reproduce there, then ultimately, there are bound to be more mortals in number. It's just that even the mortals of the immortal realm, being descendants of supreme beings, will have some degree of cultivation. Although Lu Changsheng had yet to arrive in the immortal realm, he could roughly estimate the situation there. Between the immortal realm and the 3,000 lesser worlds, there exists endless void and the circumpolar stars. All of a sudden, Lu Changsheng sensed several terrifying divine senses sweeping across from the immortal realm, causing him to shudder. The supreme beings of the immortal realm, with cultivation too frightening to comprehend, could penetrate the world powers of the immortal realm itself, sweeping the void between the immortal realm and the 3,000 lesser worlds. One of the supreme divine senses even transformed into a black hole, devouring stars along its path and hurtling directly towards Lu Changsheng. Not good. Lu Changsheng never expected that on his journey to the immortal realm, there would actually be supreme beings from the immortal realm trying to cut off his path, preventing him from entering the immortal realm. With Lu Changsheng's realm and abilities, he had no power to resist against the vast black hole. Chapter 334. Even stars cannot escape black holes. Suddenly, a bundle of white light from the immortal realm enveloped Lu Changsheng and whisked him into the chaotic flows of space. When the white light faded, Lu Changsheng had entered the immortal realm. Surrounding him were pristine mountains and clear waters, birdsong and fragrant flowers, groups of immortal cranes, not much different from the mortal realm, but Lu Changsheng could distinctly feel that the nature's spiritual energy of the immortal realm was much purer, at least twice that of Mount Shu. Mount Shu was a famous cultivation holy land in Xia State, where its great formation gathered nature's spiritual energy from thousands of miles around, yet here in the wilderness, the density of the nature's spiritual energy was already more than twice that of Mount Shu, in which case, how exaggerated would the spiritual energy be in the immortal realm's cave heaven-blessed lands? In the immortal realm, even disciples from Mount Shu of the Golden Core realm with mediocre aptitude could manage to cultivate to the Dao Palace realm. Release a dog into the immortal realm, and it might just cultivate. If it were a three-eyed divine canine like Daoist Earthhound, it might even make it into the ranks of the immortals. With such rich spiritual energy in the immortal realm, numerous powerhouses are born. I need to be extra careful to survive until achieving sainthood. Moreover, I must find a suitable disciple recognized by the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator as soon as possible. Without taking on a disciple each day, I feel as if something is missing. My cultivation speed will also be greatly affected. Lu Changsheng concealed his aura, revealing only the cultivation of the Dao Palace realm. Only by making people in the immortal realm think he was a harmless loose cultivator could he survive. Lu Changsheng took to sword flight, searching for signs of habitation. A massive cityscape came into Lu Changsheng's view, and carved on the plaque above the city gates were the characters for Kongwu, clearly the name of the city. The city saw many cultivators coming and going on their swords, each with a formidable presence, including many Dao Palace realm and Void Refinement realm experts. Excessively cautious, Lu Changsheng remained outside the city meditating for 3 days and nights without understanding the true state of the city, assessing the strength of the cultivators coming and going. He estimated the power within the city. In 3 days, only one Unity realm expert entered the city, which suggests that even in the Immortal realm, Unity and Void Refinement realm experts are considered strong among mortals. However, it's also possible that given the vast expanse of the Immortal realm, immortals are still a minority, and mortals are the majority. This is just an ordinary city after all, there shouldn't be any presence inside that can threaten me. I can enter the city with confidence. Lu Changsheng, as an ascended powerhouse, began his journey already at the Earth Immortal realm, while the natives of the Immortal realm are still predominantly mortals. Given the vastness of the Immortal realm, an ordinary city is unlikely to be overseen by an Earth Immortal. As a loose cultivator, Lu Changsheng entered Kongwu City without attracting any attention. Lu Changsheng used his soul-searching skills, sending several strands of divine sense throughout the city to gather information about the Immortal realm. This place was originally a city under the Great Jian dynasty, which a millennium ago, was established by an unrivaled genius who ascended from one of the 3,000 minor worlds. The Great Jian dynasty began with just a few cities and later expanded to a powerful immortal dynasty with 100,000 cities and billions of subjects. The founder of the Great Jian dynasty shares some similarities with the Empress of Great Martial, Wu Yu, whom I've met. Except that he has been a terrifying entity cultivating for millions of years, absolutely not someone to be provoked. After learning about the Martial Emperor's history of the Great Jian dynasty, Lu Changsheng thought of an old acquaintance. Wu Yu once said that once she ascended to the Immortal realm, she intended to unify it. The Martial Emperor of the Great Jian dynasty was an Earth Immortal a million years ago. After such a long time, his cultivation is unfathomable, one wonders to what realm he has reached, and whether he too has achieved longevity. Kongwu City is overseen by a city protector dispatched by the Great Jian Court, with the cultivation of great accomplishment in the Unity realm. In the Great Jian dynasty, where strength is paramount, only when one steps into the Earth Immortal realm can one be promoted to County Protector. County Protectors are all Earth Immortal level experts without equal. Strength is paramount, the iron law, within the Great Jian dynasty, that even prestigious families must adhere to. Within Kongwu City are three major families, the Xiao family, Chen family, and Zhao family, among which the Chen and Zhao families are the strongest, with Xiao being the weakest. All three families have Unity realm experts, but the family head of the Xiao family holds the fifth layer of the Unity realm, whereas the family heads of the Chen and Zhao families respectively hold the 8th and 7th layers of the Unity realm. Although the Xiao family is weaker, its influence within the city is not small, sharing Kongwu City's business with the other two families. Due to the fact that the eldest son of the Xiao family is rumored to be betrothed to a direct disciple of the Divine Lightning sect, the leading sect of the Great Jian dynasty, the other two families are wary of the Xiao's connections, and even though there had been conflicts, each gave up 10% of Kongwu City's share to the Xiao family. Lu Changsheng, knowing the grudges of the three major families of Kongwu City, was unconcerned. The affairs of the three major families of Kongwu City were irrelevant to him. Even among the families of the Great Jian dynasty, the Kongwu City's three major families wouldn't count as third-rate, but they still had Unity realm experts, which shows the abundance of talent in the Immortal realm. He must be even more careful. I wonder if Kongwu City has a suitable disciple. Lu Changshen's purpose was to find a suitable disciple in the Immortal realm as soon as possible to use the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator. Ding! The system has searched for a suitable disciple candidate, one has been found. Ding! The system has identified a disciple candidate named Xiao Fan. The Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator suddenly rang with a notification, finally finding a suitable disciple. Judging by the surname, could it be someone from Kongwu City's Xiao family? Lu Changsheng decided to visit the Xiao family's estate to learn more. With no Earth Immortals in Kongwu City, Lu Changsheng was undeniably the supreme presence in this city. Even the joint forces of the three major families in Kongwu City were likely no match for him. Chapter 335. In the Xiao family's martial arts platform in Kongwu City, the young generation of the Xiao clan gathered to spar and exchange martial skills. The third level of the Dao Palace realm? Xiao Fan, 50 years have passed, and you have only improved by one realm, you truly are a waste. Two young members of the Xiao family clashed, one of them was defeated, his expression ugly, while the winner, a Xiao family member, had a smile curling on his lips, his demeanor full of scorn. So what if he is the Xiao family's eldest son? Is he not still just trash? If it weren't for Xiao Fan's engagement to a direct disciple of the Divine Lightning sect, he would never have been able to access the Xiao family's substantial cultivation resources. Even with cultivation resources several times greater, after cultivating for 500 years, Xiao Fan was merely at the third level of the Dao Palace realm. In the mortal world's Mount Shu, Li Changjai, having cultivated for 500 years, could have reached the 9th level of the Dao Palace realm and would have easily stepped into the Void Refinement realm. The spiritual energy of the Immortal realm is even more abundant than Mount Shu's, and the Xiao family also has a Qi gathering formation, hence, to the rest of the Xiao family's young generation, Xiao Fan's attainment of only the third level of the Dao Palace realm after 500 years of cultivation is undoubtedly a waste, squandering the family's resources. Several of Xiao Fan's younger clan members were, at this point, at higher realms than him, successively reaching the great accomplishment realm of the Dao Palace or even the first or second layer of the Void Refinement realm, looking down on the waste who occupied a large amount of the family's cultivation resources. Xiao Fan, feeling the disdainful gazes of his younger cousins and clan sisters, involuntarily clenched his fists. He was not willing to accept this. Before reaching the Dao Palace realm, he was the genius of the Xiao clan, his cultivation improving by leaps and bounds. But upon reaching the Dao Palace realm, Xiao Fan's cultivation progress slowed down, overtaken by other geniuses within the clan, becoming the laughingstock of the younger generation. Xiao Tianyun, the clan leader of the Xiao family, furrowed his brows. His son was engaged to a direct disciple of the Divine Lightning sect, but now with Xiao Fan's cultivation stalled, how was he to be worthy of a direct disciple from the Divine Lightning sect? The Divine Lightning sect is a powerful force in the Immortal realm, there is no way Xiao Fan, at the third level of the Dao Palace realm after 500 years, could be suitable for a direct disciple of the sect. The looks of the other Xiao family elders were even more disdainful. The more of a waste the clan leader's son was, the better their chances of replacing him. They could hardly wait to see the jokes that were Xiao Tianyun and Xiao Fan, father and son. Lu Changsheng, with his cultivation at the Earth Immortal Realm, was secretly observing the Xiao family's eldest son, Xiao Fan. The system is loading the other party's information. Name, Xiao Fan. Race, human. Talents, War Heaven Tyrant Body, Fire Spirit Root, Alchemy Grandmaster, Indomitable. Cultivation, third layer of the Dao Palace Realm. Identity, son of the Xiao family in Kongwu City. War Heaven Tyrant Body, special physique of the old ancestor of the Xiao family, capable of contending with the heavens. It requires a large amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures to grow. If lacking these, it will affect the increase in one's cultivation realm. Oh? So the Xiao family's good for nothing, Xiao Fan, has been impeded by his special physique, the War Heaven Tyrant Body, which is why his cultivation progress is slow. When Xiao Fan was at a lower realm, the cultivation resources provided by the Xiao family were enough for his body tempering, but as he reached the Dao Palace realm, he needed more heavenly materials and earthly treasures. The Xiao family was not aware, and the cultivation resources they provided were insufficient for body tempering, while Xiao Fan himself did not realize, still thinking that he was a waste, spending so much on resources with little improvement to show for it. This child has exceptional aptitude. Lu Changsheng intended to observe his character further. In taking disciples, Lu Changsheng considers not only aptitude but also character. With poor character, cultivating such a disciple could lead to betrayal of the sect. Lu Changsheng hid his presence and remained in the Xiao family for 3 days. The next day, 2 unfamiliar auras suddenly descended upon the Xiao family. One of them was incredibly terrifying, a clear sign of the Earth Immortal Realm's cultivation. Chapter 336. An Earth Immortal Realm, a Void Refinement Realm. Lu Changsheng, hiding in the Xiao family, identified the cultivation levels of 2 unwelcome guests. Lu Changsheng finally saw a true Earth Immortal Master. The Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse was an elderly man with white hair at his temples, while the Void Refinement Realm was embodied by a cold and beautiful young girl. The girl was dressed in a light aqua-colored dress, her 3,000 strands of black hair fastened with a cyan ribbon, her hands were delicate and her skin was as smooth as jade. She moved with a grace that seemed to be a dance on rippling waves. The nature's spiritual energy around the girl was boiling, cheering and leaping, clearly indicating her exceptionally high talent. What concerned Lu Changsheng more was the 5-colored auspicious cloud emblem on the chest of the Daoist robes worn by the Earth Immortal Elder and the cold beautiful girl. This must be the emblem of the Divine Lightning Sect, the #1 sect of the Great Jian Dynasty. Could this person be the direct disciple of the Divine Lightning Sect engaged to the Xiao family's eldest son? Then this Earth Immortal Realm Elder might be her master. No, his demeanor is too humble, he could only possibly be her protector, definitely not her master. The Divine Lightning Sect is indeed a powerful entity in the Immortal Realm, to dispatch an Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse as a protector for a direct disciple. Lu Changsheng quickly deduced their identities. The 2 intruders stirred the Xiao family members. Several Void Refinement Realm experts appeared, as did Xiao Tianyun, the Xiao family head of the Unity Realm, who was also alerted. Xiao Tianyun saw the cold beautiful girl, scrutinizing her carefully before exclaiming with surprise, "Niece Murong, what brings you here after so many years?" Xiao Fan was also extremely delighted, "Miss Murong." The other members of the Xiao family looked solemn. This was a direct disciple of the Divine Lightning Sect. As the #1 sect of the Great Jian Dynasty, even an ordinary disciple from the Divine Lightning Sect held an incredibly esteemed status, let alone a direct disciple. The Xiao family of Kongwu City seemed like mere ants compared to the Divine Lightning Sect. If it were the ancient Xiao family, that would be a different story. Unfortunately, the Xiao family had now declined, and even their strongest, family head Xiao Tianyun, was only at the 5th level of the Unity Realm, which was not even on par with an ordinary elder of the Divine Lightning Sect. Murong Lan cast a sidelong glance at Xiao Fan and said coldly, "Uncle Xiao, I have specifically come to Kongwu City this time to annul my engagement with Xiao Fan. You should be aware that Xiao Fan's realm advancements are too slow. Now, I have reached the great accomplishment of the Void Refinement Realm, while Xiao Fan is still at the Dao Palace Realm. In the future, I must take charge of my own destiny and cannot be dragged down by him." What? The many members of the Xiao family were shocked and dismayed. Murong Lan, the Divine Lightning Sect's direct disciple, was actually intending to break off the engagement. Xiao Tianyun realized the Xiao family was overreaching, but was still unwilling to give up, and forced a smile. Niece Murong, our Xiao family did a good turn for the Murong family in the past, which is why the engagement was arranged. Now you possess amazing talent and have been taken in as a direct disciple by the sect master of the Divine Lightning Sect, but the engagement is still an engagement. The Earth Immortal Realm expert snorted coldly. Do you, a mere Xiao family, really think you can marry into our Divine Lightning Sect? Do you know that even a Void Refinement Realm direct disciple of our sect master is at least equivalent to an Earth Immortal Realm elder in status? How could a Xiao family good for nothing be worthy of our sect master's direct disciple? Xiao Fan clenched his fists so tightly that his nails almost pierced his palms, blood flowing down his clenched hands. Xiao Tianyun still wanted to persuade them, but Xiao Fan stepped forward and said loudly, "Father, if she wishes to annul the engagement, so be it. From now on, I, Xiao Fan, have nothing more to do with you, Murong Lan." Murong Lan and the Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse were moved. Having thought Xiao Fan would put up a protracted struggle, they didn't expect him to so readily agree. "I, Murong Lan, am not one to be ungrateful for kindness shown. This middle-grade immortal sword-chasing moon is presented to the Xiao family as repayment. Henceforth, the Murong family owes the Xiao family nothing." Murong Lan took out a middle-grade immortal sword, carried it with true qi, and presented it to Xiao Tianyun. Alas! Xiao Tianyun accepted the middle-grade immortal sword. Having once extended a helping hand to save the Murong family, now that Murong Lan wanted to break off the engagement, accepting this middle-grade immortal sword as compensation was not unacceptable. The Divine Lightning Sect truly lived up to its reputation as the #1 sect in the Great Jian dynasty, with the Void Refinement Realm direct disciple casually bestowing a middle-grade immortal artifact to repay a past kindness. Farewell. Murong Lan didn't linger any longer and left with the Earth Immortal Realm powerhouse, breaking through the air and departing. The engagement between the Xiao family and the Murong family was not her wish to begin with. Now that she, with her astounding talent, was admitted into the Divine Lightning Sect, the #1 sect of the Great Jian dynasty, it was fated that she and Xiao Fan would go their separate ways, never to cross paths again. Her goal was to become a Deluo Golden Immortal, and with Xiao Fan's talent, it was doubtful he could even reach the Unity Realm, let alone become a Deluo Golden Immortal. You can't discuss ice with a summer insect. After Murong Lan's departure, Xiao Tianyun sighed deeply and patted Xiao Fan on the shoulder. "Fanner, you were too impulsive. With the loss of the Divine Lightning Sect's connection, Kongwu City will surely face great turmoil." The other Xiao family elders also looked rather grim. Although Xiao Fan's annulment greatly diminished his status within the clan, empowering other branches of the Xiao family to have a greater say, the Xiao family's loss of the Divine Lightning Sect as a backing meant their business affairs in Kongwu City would inevitably be squeezed by the other two major families, the Chen family and the Zhao family. The business interests in Kongwu City were related to the number of spirit stones. Losing the business there, the Xiao family might fall from a third-rate clan to a not-worth-mentioning small family. The news of the Xiao family's annulment of the engagement with the Murong family spread far and wide, and as expected, the Chen family and the Zhao family began to join forces to suppress the Xiao family, wanting to snatch away their business. The cultivation resources of Kongwu City were divided between two families, which was always preferable to being split among three, as each family could secure more resources for themselves. The Xiao family had no choice but to voluntarily concede a portion of their business to the Chen family and the Zhao family. Chapter 337. Xiao Fan, no longer connected to Murong Lan, was further looked down upon by the disciples of the Xiao family. "If only I were a peerless genius, becoming a direct disciple of the Divine Lightning Sect, our Xiao family wouldn't lose business, and Miss Murong wouldn't have called off the engagement," he lamented. Xiao Fan went alone to the forest outside Kongwu City to cultivate, but his body's absorption of nature's spiritual energy had almost ceased, plunging the bewildered Xiao Fan into deep despair. "Could it be that I, Xiao Fan, am a complete failure? No, I, Xiao Fan, must defy the heavens. Even if the heavens hinder my cultivation, I shall become an immortal," he vowed. The pride in Xiao Fan's bones quickly spurred him on. Good. The old must become stronger, and never shift from their will. Though poor, we must remain resolute and never abandon our aspirations, he encouraged himself. A strange voice suddenly echoed, and Xiao Fan turned to look behind, only to see a daoist of refined appearance and a handsome face, smiling faintly. At the third level of the Dao Palace realm, Xiao Fan hadn't noticed when this person had appeared. I am but a loose cultivator who has noticed your exceptional talent and wish to take you as my disciple. Would you be willing? The stranger proposed. Lu Changsheng knew that being new here, it wasn't realistic to take someone from the Earth Immortal Realm as a disciple in the Immortal Realm. Lu Changsheng, being at the first level of the Earth Immortal Realm himself, knew he was no match in terms of cultivation techniques or experience compared to Earth Immortals who had practiced for tens or even hundreds of thousands of years. So, conning this naive lad into being his disciple was the best strategy for now. Me? Exceptionally talented. Xiao Fan was stunned by Lu Changshen's assessment. With his realm having advanced only one level in 50 years, and having been publicly rejected by Murong Lan, he was known as the famous good-for-nothing of Kongwu City. Yet, Lu Changsheng considered him to be a peerless genius. Deist, this can't be right, can it? Xiao Fan said, scrutinizing Lu Changsheng, who, with his otherworldly bearing, seemed like a true ascetic sage rather than a common swindler. As long as you accept me as your master, I can help you rapidly improve your cultivation, Lu Changsheng claimed. Knowing that he would need to demonstrate his abilities for Xiao Fan to trust him unconditionally, Lu Changsheng activated the Taking Heavenly Scripture, revealing his Earth Immortal Realm cultivation without a doubt. Boom! The entire forest trembled, startling countless immortal cranes. An expert of the Earth Immortal Realm. Xiao Fan was utterly shocked. In Kongwu City, there was not a single expert at the Earth Immortal Realm. This loose immortal from the Earth Immortal Realm, although not as unfathomable as the elders of the Divine Lightning sect, was undoubtedly an unbeatable presence in Kongwu City. He, Xiao Fan, was simply a Dao Palace realm good for nothing. To be able to take this Earth Immortal loose cultivator as his master was his great fortune. Moreover, this loose immortal seemed to be able to solve his stagnation in cultivation. Xiao Fan respectfully performed the disciple's salute. Master above, please accept Xiao Fan's bow. Lu Changsheng nodded. He had finally taken his 7th direct disciple in the Immortal Realm. However, Xiao Fan's realm was only at the 3rd level of Dao Palace, limiting him to receiving rewards such as Grade 6 elixir pills, Grade 6 talismans, and lower-tier innate spirit treasures. Lu Changsheng wasn't bothered. Having disciples to reward was better than having none at all. Lu Changsheng felt an urgent discomfort whenever he went a day without taking on a disciple. This is a body-tempering elixir I refined using various heavenly materials and earthly treasures, which should aid in your body tempering. Your physique is unique and needs a substantial amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures for support to advance your realm. Your slow advancement at the Dao Palace realm is due to a lack of these treasures for body tempering, he explained. With a wave of his hand, Lu Changsheng conjured a medicine cauldron. It was a superior grade immortal artifact, named the Jishi Xianding, life-saving celestial cauldron. During his retreat on King Yun Peak to mentor disciples, Lu Changsheng had acquired numerous immortal artifacts, half of which he left at Mount Shu and the other half he brought to the immortal realm. He casually took out several immortal pills and used the Jishi Xianding to create a pool of body-tempering elixir. This is the 9 Revolutions Divine Demon Body Refining Method, a lower-tiered immortal realm body refinement method. Follow it for your body tempering, he instructed. After consideration, Lu Changsheng believed Xiao Fan's War Heaven Tyrant body was extremely dominant. Given the dense spiritual energy of the immortal realm, Xiao Fan should be able to directly cultivate the immortal realm technique, 9 Revolutions Divine Demon Body Refining Method even at the Dao Palace realm. Master is too good to this disciple, am I dreaming? Xiao Fan slapped himself. Unfamiliar with this loose immortal and possessing an immortal realm body tempering technique alongside body tempering elixir, Xiao Fan doubted his own reality. Enough chatter, proceed with the body tempering. Your realm is too low, Lu Changsheng abruptly chastised. Back at Mount Shu, when rewarding Unity Realm disciples with superior grade immortal artifacts, he could receive ultimate treasures or treasured fragments in return. Xiao Fan's cultivation was even lower than his 6th disciple at Mount Shu, Chen Yao, which necessitated a rapid improvement. Xiao Fan was beginning to understand the temperament of his master. A stern man of few words. The medicine cauldron expanded to the size of a pool, and Xiao Fan immersed himself, as his War Heaven Tyrant body voraciously absorbed the potency of the elixir, visibly shrinking the pool. The awakening of Xiao Fan's War Heaven Tyrant body from the Xiao family ancestor was far from a failure, it was the lack of sufficient cultivation resources provided by the Xiao family that was the issue. The declining Xiao family, now a third-rate clan, could hardly sustain a War Heaven Tyrant body. The further the War Heaven Tyrant body progressed, the more cultivation resources it required. In the Dao Palace realm, Xiao Fan already needed a vast number of resources, not to mention in the Void Refinement, Unity and Earth Immortal realms. Even if the Xiao family spent all their wealth, they wouldn't be able to sustain a War Heaven Tyrant body at the Void Refinement realm. But with the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator, Lu Changsheng had no such worries. I wonder, between my 7th disciple's War Heaven Tyrant body and my 2nd disciple's Martial King Divine physique, which is the more domineering one? Lu Changsheng pondered as Xiao Fan tempered his body, not missing the chance to sit in meditation himself. The rich spiritual energy of the immortal realm surged into Lu Changsheng from all sides, filling him within. Chapter 338. Disciple does not yet know Master's name. Lu Changsheng. Does Master belong to a sect? Mount Shu. Mount Shu. Have you heard of it? Disciple is ignorant and sheltered, I have never heard of it. Lu Changsheng knew that the immortal realm was vast and boundless, with the great Jian dynasty being but a drop in the ocean. Mount Shu had over a dozen unparalleled geniuses ascend to the immortal realm, but their whereabouts were unknown. Even if Ancestor Deist taking from Mount Shu rebuilt the sect in the immortal realm, it was normal for Xiao Fan to not have heard of it. Since Master is a member of Mount Shu, why then does he claim to be a loose cultivator? Mount Shu now only consists of you and me as Master and Disciple. Xiao Fan suddenly fell silent. A sect of 2 people? Is that really still called a sect? Although our Mount Shu currently has only 2 people, in the future, it will definitely become the most renowned sect in the immortal realm, representing justice and eliminating demons and fiends. Lu Changsheng did not forget his intention to rebuild Mount Shu in the immortal realm. Xiao Fan scratched his head, wondering if his master, who seemed to have come from nowhere, was actually a madman who had run away from some sect. A single Earth Immortal and a Dao Palace realm cultivator aspiring to develop Mount Shu into the most illustrious supreme sect in the immortal realm? After Xiao Fan completed his body tempering, his War Heaven Tyrant body made further progress, and his realm, which had been quiet for a long time, loosened, allowing him to step into the 4th layer of the Dao Palace realm. Inconceivable, my realm has actually broken through. And my strength has grown significantly. Xiao Fan clenched his fists, feeling his cultivation and physique enhanced, he swept away the gloominess that had beset him previously. He was indeed not a waste, but rather an unparalleled genius. Xiao Fan looked at Lu Changsheng with a newfound respect in his eyes. This mysterious master of his had instantly spotted the issues with his cultivation practice, identifying them with a word, he was undoubtedly a hidden expert. Come over, sit down properly, I am going to initiate the power infusing initiation for you. Power infusing initiation? Master, you must not, this method of transmission will harm your own cultivation levels, even if you are a loose immortal, such an action is inadvisable. Xiao Fan was shocked and repeatedly refused. As a member of the Xiao family, he naturally knew of power infusing initiation as a shortcut to enhance one's cultivation. However, power infusing initiation could deplete the transmitter's cultivated strength, and unless one's life was reaching its end, nobody would be willing to give their hard-earned power to someone else. Enough talk. Lu Changsheng forcibly initiated the power infusing initiation for Xiao Fan. The sliver of spiritual energy from Lu Changsheng's Earth Immortal Realm cultivation was almost too much for Xiao Fan's War Heaven Tyrant body to handle. Ding! You have transmitted 50 days of heavenly cultivation to your disciple Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan has actually received 5 days of heavenly cultivation. You have been rewarded with the 10,000-fold return for instructing a disciple, 50,000 days of heavenly cultivation. Lu Changsheng was slightly surprised. Xiao Fan's War Heaven Tyrant body was truly formidable to withstand 5 days of an Earth Immortal's cultivation. But even with the return of 50,000 days of cultivation, Lu Changsheng's realm could not advance to the 2nd layer of the Earth Immortal realm. Advancing even a minor realm within the Earth Immortal realm required an extremely vast amount of nature's spiritual energy. Bang bang bang! After the initiation was over, Xiao Fan kowtowed solemnly to Lu Changsheng, Master's great kindness and virtue will be forever engraved in disciple's heart. From now on, disciple will follow Master in cultivation, and will never betray the sect. Xiao Fan was deeply moved, his master had not only provided body tempering elixir but had also initiated power infusing initiation for him. There really was such a good master in the world. Xiao Fan almost suspected that he might be Lu Changsheng's long-lost illegitimate son. This is just a small greeting gift from your master, it's nothing special. Once you reach the Void Refinement Realm, I will bestow upon you several immortal artifacts. Lu Changsheng casually rewarded a few lower-grade innate spirit treasures to Xiao Fan for temporary usage. To receive several immortal artifacts upon reaching the Void Refinement Realm? Xiao Fan was stunned. Just what was the story behind his master? Chapter 339. Boom! An elder of the Xiao family was defeated and crashed into several Xiao clansmen. The family heads of the Chen family and Zhao family led a group of experts into the Xiao household. Xiao Tianyun, we let your Xiao family move to Kongwu City and even gave you a portion of our business, all out of respect for the Divine Lightning sect. Now that the eldest son of your family has broken off his engagement with the direct disciple of Divine Lightning sect, it's time for you to get out of Kongwu City. Zhao Heng, the head of the Zhao family, said coldly, looking down on the Xiao family members present. The head of the Chen family spoke in an equally icy tone, if your Xiao family knows what's good for you, you'll leave this city willingly, or else you're headed for a dead end. Xiao Tianyun and a group of Xiao family elders had ashen faces. The Xiao family was not local to Kongwu City but had relocated from elsewhere. The Chen and Zhao families were merely wary of the Xiao family's relationship with the Divine Lightning sect. With Murong Lan calling off the engagement, the Xiao family lost its backing, leaving the Chen and Zhao families unencumbered. Barely managing a smile, Xiao Tianyun said, our Xiao family is willing to give up even more shops. We just want to hold a place in Kongwu City and ask you not to push things to extremes. No. The Xiao family must leave Kongwu City. The Chen and Zhao families were relentless. Both family heads had cultivation levels above Xiao Tianyun's, and joining forces, they could easily extinguish the Xiao family with a flip of the hand. Family head, they've gone too far. Let's fight them. A few hot-tempered Xiao family elders erupted when they saw the two families trying to wipe them out completely. Don't act rashly. Xiao Tianyun stopped these Xiao family elders. The head of the Chen family was at the 8th level of the Unity Realm, and the head of the Zhao family was at the 7th level. Combined, the Chen and Zhao families had more than a dozen Unity Realm experts, while the Xiao family had only 4. There was no way they could be a match for the Chen and Zhao families. Just as Xiao Tianyun was about to concede, Lu Changsheng and Xiao Fan returned to the Xiao family riding on swords. Fanner, where have you been all this time? And who is this Taoist priest with you? Xiao Tianyun asked, seeing an immortal like Daoist priest accompanying Xiao Fan, not knowing where this reinforcement came from. This is my master. Xiao Fan stood tall and proud, his master being an earth immortal expert. Lu Changsheng swept his gaze over the elders of the Chen and Zhao families, most of whom were in the Unity or Void Refinement realms. Please, for my sake, spare the Xiao family. The family heads of the Chen and Zhao families sized up Lu Changsheng, this unexpected visitor. Lu Changsheng had always only shown the aura of Dao Palace realm, which made the Chen and Zhao families show expressions of scorn. I thought some incredible expert had come, but it's just someone from the Dao Palace realm daring to intervene. If you don't want to lose your life, then scram. Are you worthy of face? The people from the Chen and Zhao families scoffed. Lu Changsheng frowned. It seemed that even in the immortal realm, human nature remained the same, bullying the weak and fearing the strong. Lu Changsheng activated his cultivation technique, and his earth immortal realm power erupted. The ground shook and the mountains trembled, the entirety of Kongwu City quivered. The smiles of the Chen and Zhao families gradually stiffened, showing disbelief. Earth immortal. There was not a single earth immortal expert in Kongwu City, making Lu Changsheng an invincible existence in this town. In the earth immortal realm, even if you joined the Divine Lightning sect, you could at least be an elder. Not only the Chen and Zhao families, but even the Xiao family was taken aback. Xiao Fan had disappeared for a month, and unexpectedly, he returned with an earth immortal realm master. The family heads of the Chen and Zhao families exchanged glances, seeing shock in each other's eyes. The Xiao family now had an earth immortal realm backer. They reluctantly mustered a smile, in deference to the senior, we'll consider that earlier matter never happened. The Xiao family may remain in the city. And the Xiao family's share of business. The businesses of Kongwu City, the Xiao family will hold 40%, and our Chen and Zhao families will each hold 30%. What do you think, senior? You may leave now. Yes, yes. The Chen and Zhao families, who had been utterly arrogant just moments ago, now nodded and bowed, Fearing Lu Changsheng might change his mind, they quickly departed. The Xiao family members were even more shocked by this outcome. If it weren't for Lu Changsheng, the Xiao family would have been driven out by the Chen and Zhao families. Taking a deep breath, Xiao Tianyun bowed respectfully. Exalted Immortal, please accept a bow from Xiao. The other Xiao family elders and clansmen also showed admiration. Lu Changsheng was a genuine Earth Immortal Realm expert. If your son is my disciple, then it is only right for me to lend a hand, Lu Changsheng said. It wasn't much to just make an appearance. Xiao Fan stated, Father, Master has discovered the cause of my cultivation stagnation. I am now at the 5th layer of the Dao Palace realm. What? Xiao Tianyun had thought his son, Xiao Fan, was of low talent, but now he had met a great teacher. In just a month, he had advanced from the 3rd level of the Dao Palace realm to the 5th. Speaking indifferently, Lu Changsheng said, I am Lu Changsheng. Your son is a genius, he simply lacked a good teacher. With his aptitude, it is only a matter of time before he joins the ranks of the immortals. Young disciples of the Xiao family instinctively turned their eyes to Xiao Fan. The Earth Immortal expert's evaluation of Xiao Fan was incredibly high. Xiao Fan was not the waste they thought he was, but a peerless genius. Many members of the Xiao family regretted becoming enemies with Xiao Fan, thinking that if his cultivation increased rapidly, he would become someone they could not even aspire to associate with. But by then mending relations with Xiao Fan, there would still be a gap. I wonder if the immortal still lacks disciples? I wish to follow the immortal and seek the path of cultivation. Seeing that Lu Changsheng had taken Xiao Fan as a disciple, some astute Xiao family members fancied the idea of also becoming disciples on the spot. Chapter 340. Lu Changsheng shook his head. The Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator showed no response. Your aptitude is not sufficient. The members of the Xiao family looked disheartened. Their aptitude was actually inferior to Xiao Fan's. Please stay at our Xiao family for some more time, Immortal Lu. Xiao Tianyun knew that the Xiao family's capability to establish themselves in Kongwu City was largely due to the support of Lu Changsheng, so he urged Lu Changsheng to remain at the Xiao family and cultivate. That would be fine. Lu Changsheng thought about it. Being new here, he was in need of a place to practice, and although the Xiao family was not a cave heaven-blessed land, it did have a qi gathering formation and was passable. Lu Changsheng needed to cultivate the sacred tier top quality cultivation technique 3000 demon gods visualization. Xiao Tianyun said to Xiao Fan, Fanner, now that you have a reputable master to guide you, you must still diligently cultivate and not become arrogant. Our Xiao family was a powerful prestigious family during the ancient times. Regrettably, with countless years passing by, each generation became weaker, and now we are just a third-rate family. Alas, if you could reach the Earth Immortal Realm, you would be considered to have revitalized our Xiao family. As for the cancellation of the marriage by the Divine Lightning Sect, don't take it to heart. The sect master of the Divine Lightning Sect is a supreme being who has cultivated for tens of millions of years, and even your master is no match for him. You just need to live your life, there's no need to compare yourself with Murong Lan. Child has remembered. Child won't care about the Divine Lightning Sect matter, but Child will find a way to restore the glory of the ancient Xiao family and will never be looked down upon. Xiao Fan's eyes were resolute, carrying the pride of the ancient Xiao family in his bones. The ancient Xiao family was a famous prestigious family in the immortal realm. After the fall of their ancestor, the Xiao family never recovered. By the time of Xiao Tianyun's generation, not even a single loose immortal existed. Having heard the father and son's conversation, Lu Changsheng was quietly astounded by the past of the Xiao family. The Xiao family was a part of the immortal realm's ancient family, no wonder Xiao Fan possessed the heaven-defying war heaven tyrant body. Of the descendants of the Xiao family, only Xiao Fan had awakened the bloodline of the family's ancestor. The war heaven tyrant body was a special physique from the ancient times. It seemed that he was fortunate. The first disciple he recruited upon arriving in the immortal realm possessed such an imposing special physique. Although Xiao Fan's cultivation level was a bit low, with Lu Changsheng's current cultivation, it would be easy to help Xiao Fan elevate his realm. Normally, the lifespan of Earth Immortal Realm cultivators is limited to 100,000 years. Including the 700 years spent in the cultivation space, Lu Changsheng had only cultivated for just over 1,000 years, he was not in a rush. Since the Xiao family was an ancient family, they should have preserved a collection of classics, even in decline. Lu Changsheng would take advantage of the Xiao family's classics to get an overview of the immortal realm. Upon hearing that Lu Changsheng wanted to peruse the Xiao family's classics, Xiao Tianyun readily agreed. Lu Changsheng was his son's master, having imparted body tempering methods and performed power-infusing initiation for Xiao Fan. It was only natural for the Xiao family to allow Lu Changsheng to examine their classics. The Xiao family had lost most of their cultivation techniques, with only a batch of immortal and heaven rank techniques and the Xiao family's collection of classics remaining. Lu Changsheng browsed through these classics, gaining a clear understanding of the immortal realm. Above the earth immortal realm lies the heavenly immortal realm, and even greater are beings like the Luo golden immortals who are supreme beings capable of destroying the heavens and earth, leaving no light in their wake, not to be provoked. The immortal realm is vast and boundless, with terrifying entities like holy sects and immortal dynasties. The immortal realm is rife with heretic cultivators and demon sects, and even an immortal dynasty that has lasted for billions of years could collapse. There are forbidden places in the immortal realm that one must not rashly enter, even the Luo golden immortals might fall there. Lu Changsheng noted the information about the immortal realm from the Xiao family's classics, broadening his horizons. The immortal realm was even more vast than Lu Changsheng had imagined. Kongwu City was but a speck in the ocean. The Great Jian Dynasty, where Kongwu City was located, was only one significant power within the immortal realm. The Divine Lightning Sect, the number one sect of the Great Jian Dynasty, had existed even longer than the dynasty itself, with a sect master whose cultivation was unfathomably deep, not to be lightly provoked. The immortal realm is filled with peerless geniuses from 3,000 minor worlds, ancient cultivators, and terrifying existences that have cultivated for hundreds of millions of years. I must keep a low profile and survive until I achieve holiness. I must also take in a few more disciples and perform power-infusing initiation for them, to quickly enhance my cultivation, otherwise, facing a fully realized earth immortal or even a Luo golden immortal means certain death for me. It would be best to recruit disciples of the Unity Realm, otherwise, without the necessary treasured fragment or ultimate treasure for power-infusing initiation, the returned cultivation will not amount to much. Too bad there are no suitable disciples left in Kongwu City. It seems I'll need to travel far and wide to find more appropriate disciples. Lu Changsheng realized that after arriving in the immortal realm, the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator became even pickier, only accommodating special physiques from the ancient times like the War Heaven Tyrant body, and not meeting the requirements for recruiting disciples otherwise. Today, your master will impart to you alchemy. Lu Changsheng took out the earth-rank top-quality cultivation technique advanced alchemy skills and began teaching Xiao Fan. Xiao Fan, apart from possessing the War Heaven Tyrant body, also had the talent to become an alchemy grandmaster, so Lu Changsheng personally taught him the art of alchemy. The War Heaven Tyrant body required the consumption of a great quantity of heavenly materials and earthly treasures and immortal pills. If Xiao Fan could produce elixirs himself, it would also reduce the consumption on Lu Changshen's part. Under Lu Changshen's guidance, Xiao Fan quickly grasped the alchemy skills. Ding! You have bestowed upon your disciple Xiao Fan the Earth Rank Superior Cultivation Technique Advanced Alchemy Skills, and you have received the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator's 10,000-fold return reward, the Heaven Rank Inferior Cultivation Technique Heaven Rank Alchemy. Lu Changshen's thoughts were indeed correct. Among his disciples, Mo Huaji was a divine talismancer, while Xiao Fan was a divine pill master. Lu Changsheng had 7 opportunities to teach his disciples each day, and even if the disciples in the Dao Palace realm could not return anything too valuable, when added up over time, the various treasures and elixir pills that were returned were substantial. Lu Changshen's stay with the Xiao family lasted 30 years. Lu Changsheng cultivated the Sacred Tier Superior Cultivation Technique 3000 Demon Gods Visualization, and it took him 30 years to achieve the first layer. The Sacred Tier Superior Cultivation Technique has already surpassed the category of Earth Immortal Cultivation Techniques. Xiao Fan became Lu Changshen's disciple, and his cultivation improved by leaps and bounds. In 30 years, he stepped from the 5th layer of the Dao Palace realm into the Void Refinement realm, and he could now be rewarded with immortal artifacts. Xiao Fan underwent the threefold heavenly tribulation outside of Kongwu City. Immortal Lu truly is an esteemed figure. Xiao Tianyun, seeing his son's rapid increase in cultivation, admired Lu Changsheng even more. If it wasn't for Lu Changshen's personal guidance, Xiao Fan would have been hopelessly stuck. However, Lu Changshen's face was expressionless. His stay at the Xiao family was not just for cultivation, but also for another reason. After 30 years in the mortal world, Grandmaster Taixu should have also ascended to the immortal realm, but he did not appear near Kongwu City. Had Grandmaster Taixu ascended and arrived at a different place in the immortal realm? If ascension randomly placed one in a location within the vast immortal realm, how would he wait for Xianingsu? With the immortal realm being so vast, would they ever meet again? Lu Changsheng felt that the yin-yang dual cultivation skills in the area of his heart were still circulating, indicating that Xianingsu was still alive. Ding! Your disciple Xiao Fan's realm has advanced from the Dao Palace realm to the Void Refinement realm, and you have received the reward for your disciple's realm advancement, a fragment of a human race ultimate treasure times 1. Ding! You have 12 unused fragments of the human race ultimate treasure, and currently, these 12 fragments can be combined into one human race ultimate treasure. As Lu Changsheng pondered how he could reunite with Xianingsu, the Disciple Apprenticeship Simulator issued a prompt. Before Lu Changsheng ascended, he accumulated 11 fragments of the human race ultimate treasure through teaching his disciples. Coupled with the fragment rewarded for Xiao Fan's advancement in realm, he could now assemble the third human race ultimate treasure. In the mortal world, within the Star Pavilion, Tang Wanzan was about to undertake his tribulation and ascend. Shen Xiaoao, I entrust my daughter to you. Do not disappoint me. Tang Wanzan had witnessed the power of Earth Immortal Realm experts in the final battle of Mount Shu and was certain he would pass the ninefold heavenly tribulation and ascend to the Immortal Realm. Linger and I will also undergo the tribulation and ascend after a few thousand years. Father, rest assured. Xiaoao brother treats me very well. Shen Xiaoao and Tang Linger bid farewell to Tang Wanzan. One with a pure yang body and the other with a pure yin body, even without power infusing initiation from others, their qualifications meant that ascending to the immortal realm was only a matter of time for them. Lu Changsheng, I am also about to ascend to the immortal realm, and then we shall compete again. If I encounter good fortune in the immortal realm, my achievements may well not fall short of yours. Tang Wanzan had his own pride as he commenced his tribulation. The Star Pavilion is home to hundreds of unparalleled geniuses who are in the immortal realm. I wonder how Master is faring in the immortal realm? I must diligently cultivate to keep pace with Master. Shen Xiaoao couldn't help but reminisce about the days of cultivating under the tutelage of his master Lu Changsheng. With Master's power infusing initiation, advancement in realm was much faster than now.